Australia have been the dominant force in women's cricket for nearly 50 years.
Australia has done it again. Australia clinches the T20 World Cup.
But without a current World Cup title, they face no shortage of challenges in their bid to return to the top. New Zealand, the current T20 champions. England, the constant threat. South Africa, a young team on the rise. India, a new force in the game.
Could be a catch. Yes, taken by the captain. Harmanpreet Kaur. India win the World Cup. Listen to the noise.
Can Australia find their best against the best and claim their 7th T20 crown? ABC Sport brings you every game of the ICC Women's T20 World Cup. Live and uninterrupted on ABC Listen. Just look for the cricket button.
ABC Sport.
We begin this broadcast by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which this match will be played today and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples listening.
Boy, we're going to have some fun.
The AFL in 2026 on ABC Sport.
And the siren sound. Here we go. Listen to the roar. It is showtime.
You take a seat because it don't get better than this.
Right to the goal line. Jamie Elliott, the man who gravity forgot.
That's why we love AFL football.
On ABC Sport, this is the AFL.
Sit back, relax, witness the greatest. It don't get better than this.
From 45 and rise it all the way home.
An ambitious effort. Unbelievable.
The left foot is a goal. Oh, yeah.
Take a seat because it don't get better than this.
Throws it, kicks on goal. The prancing pony.
What a goal.
He's off and running from 45 to get the party started.
Take a seat because it don't get better than this.
It's bouncing, it's through. Bailey Smith, he'll want the cameras on him right now.
Not camera action, baby. Countdown to contact.
Spins around and buries it. Loads up from 55. That's a monster bomb.
40 metres out, snaps towards goal. What a beautiful finish.
Bacon goal square, goes for glory.
He eyes the goals and sends it home.
100% pure footy. Every minute of every match, all season long.
Gathers, snaps, goal.
It's just football at its best.
Take a seat because it don't get better than this.
Kick on goal, dribbles it through. What about that? Took them all on and said, I'll have some of this.
Bailey pinches his pocket and bang, bang, bang. That's the price you pay against the Premier.
Watson snaps. Oh, Watson puts it through. And the Wizard arrives precisely on time. He's built for the big stage. On his left boot, his kick is good.
Inside 50, off a step, turns and goes bang. And snap.
And goal.
There's some bravery through the middle of the ground.
How good is that? What a goal. He wastes no time. He whacks it through for another. It doesn't have to be your night, but it can be your moment. Hands it to Charlie Cameron. He can walk it in. Show him your tail lights, Charlie.
Welcome to ABC Sports coverage of the 2026 AFL Premiership season.
Runs the 50 out. What a way to finish.
On radio
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
and ABC Listen.
You take a seat because it don't get better than this.
North Melbourne enter round 16, chasing a third straight win as they eye a return to finals for the first time since 2016. After being belted by the Fremantle Dockers, a couple of wins against the Tigers and the West Coast Eagles in recent weeks has people questioning, has the time finally arrived for North Melbourne as they look to try and climb up the ladder? While for the Bombers, they're still searching for their first win under new interim coach Dean Solomon. His fifth game this afternoon as the coach of the Bombers following the sacking of Brad Scott early in the season. But the reinforcements have arrived with Captain Andy McGrath, Caldwell, Parrish and Kako returning for the Sash this afternoon. It lets what's the scene for what should be an entertaining contest this afternoon, and can the Bombers get that all-important breakthrough, their second of the season? Matt Clincher called the action for you for Sunday Footy on ABC Sport alongside Ben Cameron this afternoon. Welcome to you, Benny.
Hello, Clinchy. Great to be here. It's the old Marshmallow game.
Yes.
Two teams that are very close geographically in the inner north of of Melbourne suburbs, and we've heard stories about their players going to similar bars, coffee shops, night spots. 1993 was the Marshmallow game. Can you believe it or not? That was the year Essendon went on to be the Baby Bombers and win the flag. We know about North's success in the late 90s. How the mighty have fallen. Yeah. North Melbourne have won 7 games this year, and it's been their best in a number of years, and Essendon have won 1 of their last 27 games, which is the worst 27-game streak in their history. So that's the backdrop to how we arrive here today.
Yeah, do the Bombers fans think they're a chance this afternoon? You can get in touch with us on the SMS 0437 774 774. Good to hear from so many of you on the Footy Forum with Clint Weldon, Jake Knoll and Glenn Quartermain. Our back row is stacked once more. The Western Bulldogs Hall of Fame member, former captain, 300 gamer Bob Murphy is with you. Welcome to you, Bob. Nice to see you.
Hello, Matthew. Hello, Benny and Daniel, who hasn't been introduced yet, but good afternoon to you. You will be. It's nice to be in your company. You know, it's the historical backdrop, as you beautifully outlined there, Benny, is deep and it's fascinating, and that is a long way from where both of these teams and clubs are today, particularly the Essendon Footy Club. 1 win in 27 weeks is quite a staggering statistic. And North Melbourne, who are playing in fits and starts and still a little bit inconsistent, but they look like they're far more advanced in their development than their counterparts today. So I'm looking forward to seeing North Melbourne answer the bell and put 4 quarters together.
It adds to the intriguing backdrop for both of these sides. The Bombers have announced their selection panel featuring their president Andrew Welsh, Ted Richards, Caroline Moszone, Tim Roberts, the CEO, and Anthony Di Piero, who comes in. So it's an all-in internal coaching search. And yet for North Melbourne, the question is are you a believer that they have taken that step, that they can compete to finish in the top 10? Former Blue and Hawk, of course, he was the AFLW Coach of the Year back in 2019. Daniel Harford is with you on a Sunday afternoon. Which camp are you most curious about this afternoon, Harf? Welcome to you.
Welcome. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm interested in North Melbourne, I must admit. I want to see what they can do. They're a bit, as Bob said beautifully, fits and starts is a phrase you could use for them. It's their most successful season since 2017, I think it is, in terms of their wins and losses, which is probably something the Kangaroos fans don't want to back over. But I want to see what they do, because this is the game they should win. But on the flip side of that, and I'm keen to talk to Dan McPherson about this shortly, it's also an opportunity for the Bombers. Considering the way that Kangaroos have played and they've been up and down like a yo-yo in the last little bit, they would have to think that if there's going to be another game where they can snag some points, this has to be the one, doesn't it?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? If Dean Solomon is going to be the coach long term, you'd think you'd need 1 or 2 wins to get the job, and yet we don't know until ask Dan McPherson some of those questions. But North Melbourne might be as good a chance as they get with some of the reinforcements arriving. They come fresh off the bye. So I expect an energy and enthusiasm about the Bombers that we mightn't have seen for a while.
You would think so. We can go through some of their numbers planning for this. It's not nice reading. It reads really poorly just about every facet of the game. So what are they looking for? What do they need to do? What are they looking for? What's success look like for them in these next 8 weeks? I'm keen to sort of see it unfold this afternoon.
Oh, I think they're a real chance today.
I do too, I must admit.
Put that on the line, and that's dumb, because if it proves to be right, no one congratulates you, and if it proves to be wrong, everyone comes back and lets you know. But just the fact that they're coming off the bye, so they're a bit fresher. Andrew McGrath comes back, Jai Caldwell, Darcy Parish, and Isaac Kako. So
massive in. They're 4 massive in.
4
of their best 10 players. Easy.
Absolutely. And outside of the last meeting, Essendon have won 12 of the last 13 against North. So they're on a 12-game winning streak against North Melbourne. They traditionally have a pretty good record against them, and North's only half-decent. The last time we saw North against a half-decent opponent, they were whacked by 124 points by Freo.
Yep, so that's the backdrop for this afternoon's contest. It's North Melbourne taking on Essendon. Matt Clinch and Ben Cameron to call the action. Daniel Harford and Bob Murphy are your experts. A chance for us to head inside the Bombers camp, and the final member of our team is Lauren Borden. Welcome to you, Loz. We might not quite have her yet.
Quite ready.
We'll hold fire there and we'll come back to Loz in a few moments' time. But, I guess for North Melbourne, there are some injuries that are missing. So Coleman Jones, Will Dawson go to get their opportunities. Tristan Sherry, how significant is his absence this afternoon with the improvement of Trembath?
That's a big one, although I am super keen to see Trembath more in that role. I mean, he kicked 4 goals last week against the Tigers, but I love seeing him really athletic and using his athleticism, so I'm really keen to see what he can do in that role. I'm not sure he's going to have too much support in that position, so he'd probably have to be the main man, you think, for the afternoon.
Well, it's fascinating last week. I mean, there's no Tristan Sherry today who goes out with that jaw injury, but last week against Richmond, they basically used Cooper Trembath in the centre ball up, and then they would swap. So even if it was a repeat ball up after the opening centre ball up, Sherry would run in and wrestle, and Trembath would go forward. So they were using Trembath as the jumper, the leaper, when you need that leap, and then they were using Sherry as the grinder around the ground to wrestle and scrap, which is fascinating.
Well, it's sort of local footy stuff, that is. You get the guy who can jump in the centre and then get him out of the business because he can't do anything else. That's not the case with Trembath because he's a fine young player. But Sherry's he's a around-the-ground interceptor. He marks the ball in big pack marks, contested marks, where Trembath probably hasn't got that level to his game at the moment. He's going to be a player, I reckon, this boy too, so I'm keen to see him in action this afternoon.
Locked him out of local footy, basically. Crazy the rise he's had. I mean, he's right around the conversation for rising star. Like, you put him next to Jagger Smith, Willem Dersma, maybe Harry Dean as well.
Yep.
Adam Ramanauskas had him third ahead of Jagger Smith yesterday.
Rama's out of work at the moment. He's got he's not thinking clearly.
Well, he might be behind the Essendon sort of scenes, sort of helping orchestrate some of the chess moves.
That's a good point.
Let's come back to that. Let's head back down to the boundary. We can welcome Lauren Borden in for the first time. Loz.
Thanks, Clint. I'm down on the boundary line with Essendon's GM of footy, Dan McPherson. Thanks for your time ahead of the match today. A lot's been going on in Essendon, but we'll start on field first. Some good players, some very handy players coming back. McGrath, Caldwell, Kako, Parrish. Does it give you a real sense that you can break through and get a win today?
Yeah, well, it gives us lots of optimism. I think the bye came at a really good time for us. We were sort of limping to the break. We had, probably 3 of the 4 of those guys could have played last week if we had a game. So we're able to get an extra week of training into them, so they'll come into the game today in pretty good shape and ready to go. So, we're confident that we can put up a good showing.
What was the plan for the break? How much time did the players get off to just get away, I guess, from the club and refresh a little bit?
Yeah, we gave them most of the week off, and then we trained last weekend. So they came back in and had a really solid session last Saturday, and then back into normal programming sort of from Monday onwards.
Adam Uze at Richmond was talking about the carrot and the stick as the motivation coming into the end of this season. What's the motivation for Essendon, or does changing coach, having Dean Solomon come in, does that provide enough of a change, I guess, for the club coming into the final third of the year?
Yeah, well, there's lots still to be gained out of the season, it's very well documented. We're a very, very young team. I think we're the youngest team this weekend. So there's lots of things to be gained, aside from just wins and losses. There's lots of individuals within the team that are really keen to progress their own careers, and perform really well for themselves. Young guys, they're just itching to get out and play. So, there's lots of enthusiasm in the group. It's obviously been a really difficult season for us, but the guys' spirits are really good. Solly's doing a terrific job, and they'll approach this game with great enthusiasm.
There has been a lot of focus on Essendon's coach. So is there something that maybe we've missed on field that you want to point out that fans or us in the media haven't seen that's been a positive sign for Essendon?
Oh, we think there's lots of little gains, and we think there's, as silly as it might sound, I think there's lots of things that are going okay. We're just not getting the results on field. But we've been able to get lots of games into the young guys. We're starting to get a bit of cohesion with those kids playing together a lot, and it's going to be great to see, as you mentioned before, Andy and Calders and a few of those boys back out there, because we've had lots of injuries like we had last year, but they've been slightly different this year. A lot of the injuries have come from collisions as such, rather than the soft tissue stuff that we had last year. So, it's just going to be great to get them all out here and playing together.
Essendon's GM of footy, Dan McPherson, with us on ABC Sport. I'll send you upstairs to our ABC Sport experts for a few more questions.
Daniel Harford, mate, good luck to you and the lads this afternoon. I'm interested just further to the injuries and the guys coming back today in particular. Do you get to a point where you start to target games that you might be able to get good stories out of, and this could be one of those for you today against the Kangaroos, and try and manage your players so they all come back for that go?
No, not really, mate. We don't have the luxury of picking and choosing when we play them. We approach each game, with the intention of picking the best team that we think will give us the best chance to win that game. It's just just so happened that these guys are all ready to return at the same time. And like I said earlier, if we did have a game last week, the 2 or 3 of these 4 that are coming back in probably would have played last week. So, we certainly don't have the luxury to sit back and look ahead at the fixture and pick which games we're going to bring back guys for. We just pick our best team.
So in this situation today, one win obviously for the year, which has been a huge challenge, and a coaching search underway. Now we've got a panel together. What are you trying to see from the playing group? Are you looking for talent, or are you looking for system in this current scenario under Dean Solomon?
A little bit of both. Solly's made some slight changes to the way he wants the game played from what was happening previously, and a lot of it's built around contest and the defensive shape that we have on the ground. And already in the first 3 games that he coached, the points against has dropped significantly, which is promising. The challenge that we've got is now being able to score a bit better, because the scores that we've been able to kick have also been lower. So there's obviously a mix, but there's slight changes to the way we had been playing previously, but it's largely around the contest and how we get our hands on the ball. And
in terms of the dynamic of the club on the back of releasing Brad from his contract, has it changed the dynamic within the playing group and just the sort of the vibe, that feeling around the footy club, and there's a bit more freedom to just go and do your thing now?
I'm not sure I'd put it like that, but it's certainly it's certainly changed the vibe. I think, to be honest, I think the first week or so, it was a bit of, the boys were a bit shocked, and what do we do now, and how's this going to work out? But then pretty quickly, to their credit, they came back in and they've attacked the back end of the season really well. Again, like I mentioned, the bye came at a really good time for us. Just gave them a chance to get 2 or 3 games in, but then have a bit of a break away from the place. And now they've all come back in last Saturday. Had a terrific session last Saturday morning. We've had a really good week, we're getting a few of these more mature guys back in the team, which hopefully will help us at the back end of the season.
Essendon GM of footy, Dan McPherson, chatting to us here on Sunday Footy on ABC Sport. We've heard about the coach search and the criteria for what the Essendon Football Club want. Did you contribute to putting that criteria together, Dan?
Yeah, well, there was a number of people within the club that have been consulted on it. Tim and Caroline Monson, who's running it from the people and culture perspective. She's interviewed quite a number of people across the club. So we've all sort of put our thoughts into the mixing pot, and they've come up with the criteria.
What did you tell them this group needs as a coach?
I think we need someone that is going to build strong relationships with the players, develop them. Obviously the demographic of the team is quite young, but we've also got high-end talent. So we need to be able to develop this group really well. We need to build a connection amongst the group and the broader club, really. And we need to just get going in the right direction. We think there's lots of decisions that have been made over the last 3 years that have laid a really good foundation for us. We'll get some more talent in at the end of this season. And then, I think there's a really strong platform to launch forward from here.
Dan McPherson with us on ABC Sport. I guess the question has been largely around the direction of the club, Dan, and you would have hoped to have had more than 1 win so far this season, but the decision to keep Zach Merritt to his contract last season, at the end of last season, is that a decision which you look back and say, we still made the right decision?
I'm not certainly not unhappy with the decision that was made then. I think Zach's been a terrific contributor for us. He still continues to play at an incredibly high level, and his contribution around the playing group has been outstanding as well. His ability to influence the playing group in team meetings, the way he trains, the standards he sets. And again, we keep saying it, but we've got an incredibly young list, and we just need some of that experience and some of that elite talent to help lead the boys through, and Zach's done a terrific job.
And Dean Solomon's spoken about using him in that role across half-back to try and provide that run. If he came to you at the end of the season and said he wanted to explore a trade again, would the club's position still be the same, do you think?
We'd certainly have a good discussion again. Now, whether it ended up in the same spot or not, there's a lot of water to go under the bridge there. But we'll wait. Those conversations will happen down the track if that's what he wants to do again. But again, he's contracted for next year, obviously. So any of those sort of discussions will happen towards the back end of the year.
And game number 4 for Dean Solomon this afternoon. So coming off the back of the bye, you spoke about it in terms of the ability to give the players a bit of a refresh and try and mentally sort of free them up. But in terms of the characteristics for Essendon fans coming along to want to see this afternoon under Dean Solomon, what are one or two of the game style things they should be trying to focus in on?
Oh, we'll have a really big emphasis around what happens in the middle of the ground. You know, obviously North Melbourne has terrific strength around the ball. They have highly talented players in and around the ball, both young guys and more experienced players there. So the game will essentially be won and lost in there. So we'll have a massive emphasis on what happens in around the stoppages. And then if we can get the ball forward and work really hard to keep it in our forward end and make it difficult for them to transition the ball up the other end, hopefully that's what our fans will be able to see.
Too, as we let you go, Dan, as you sort of look towards the end of the season and the priority around draft picks, is there sort of a mindset in terms of what you feel like this current list needs to try and add most urgently?
Oh, I think it's fair to say we've got some gaps in multiple places, so we'll just be looking to get the best talent that we can in. Obviously, where we're currently sitting at the ladder, that'll give us a good look at the very pointy end of the draft. So we'll be really confident we'll be able to get some exceptional talent in the door.
Would you consider getting Josh Fraser as part of your coaching applicants?
Oh, if Josh wanted to have a look at it, I'm certainly be happy to talk to him about it. He's obviously doing an outstanding job at Carlton. From all I see and read, says he's not in the position to go for the Carlton job at the moment. So I assume that would mean that he's not in the position to go for the Essendon job as well. But if he was to be one of the applicants, we'd be more than happy to talk to him.
I should have asked this at the time as well, Dan. Sorry, bonus questions. Are you a believer that it needs to be an Essendon person?
No, I think it just needs to be the best coach for this group. I think that the Essendon person narrative is severely overplayed, and I think we just need the best coach for this playing group and this club.
And finally, as we let you go, you've done well. You've withstood all our rapid-fire questions. Jai Caldwell plays his 100th game, so a good story today as you try and chase your second win.
Yeah, he's an outstanding person, first and foremost, but he's a terrific player as well, Jai. He's, it's been hard work for him to get to 100. He's had to put up with a few injuries over the time, but he's tough as nails. And, he makes an enormous difference to the way that we want to play. There'll be a great emphasis from the boys to see if we can get a victory for him in this important game for him. Dan McPherson, always appreciate your time. Good luck this afternoon. Thanks, guys. Dan McPherson, the GM of footy from the Bombers, joining you on Sunday Footy on ABC Sport. There's no late changes for either side as the 10th place Kangaroos, 7 wins and 7 losses, take on the Bombers in 18th spot. It's very quickly moved from the Essendon side of things. We can take you straight back down and inside the North Melbourne camp, Loz.
Thanks, Clinchy. I'm with North Melbourne assistant coach Jed Adcock. You've covered a great time as the North Melbourne marching band is just coming past us. But Jed, thanks for your time so close to the match beginning. A real chance to get 3 in a row for your club for the first time since 2019. Does that feel like a bit of added motivation?
We haven't actually spoken about 3 in a row. I wasn't here during that period of time either. So we've just been, trying to prioritise trying to get our defensive system right, our defensive action, clearly our contest work around the ball, and then from that, hopefully our offence flows off the back of that, and then it gives us a good chance to be in the game. So that's mainly been our focus so far.
How do you feel the defence has been faring? I think back to a couple of weeks ago with Cam Zerha and Charlie Comben in those dying stages against West Coast when they showed great composure. Have you been happy with how they're developing?
It's been a really interesting year so far. Clearly against probably the top 8 teams, we've probably leaked a little bit too much over 100, and again against the teams that are 10 and below or 12 and below, we've been managed to keep them at quite a low score. So it's just been about a bit of consistency. We've leaked from centre square bounce and D50. So other than that, we've been okay. It's just trying to find continuity in the group back there. Obviously, we've put Cam Zerha back there. Luke Parker went back there at the start of the year. So, Josh Goda, what a great story this is for 834 days later. So that, and just with a bit of consistency. And as I said, a little bit upfield with our, forward squeezing out, our mids being able to pressure, try and get some hack ball, win it back a bit higher up the field and go back at them that way.
I'll send you straight upstairs for some more questions from Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford.
Yeah, Daniel Harford, mate. Thanks for your time this afternoon. Good luck. On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you rank marching band Human Caterpillar pre-games?
Well, the Wiggles have rocked up, so I'm just trying to work out who's here. But you've got Henry the Octopus and Wags. I know those two. Dorothy's here, so it's different, that's for sure.
Wisdom Tree. Tree of Wisdom.
Yeah, Tree of Wisdom.
Tree of Wisdom, that's its name. There you go. I didn't know that one.
Don't forget that, Jed, for goodness
Sorry,
sake. You might need that at half-time. Hey, I'm interested in how much of what's happened in the last 2 weeks was a reflection of what happened 3 weeks ago against Fremantle, where things didn't quite go to plan, but you're able to reset.
Yeah, I think it was just what I said before a little bit. We probably played some really good footy against the teams that are probably in the top half of the table, but clearly against Freo, Freo are clearly a class team. Whether, coming off the back of the bye or a little bit short of a run, I'm not sure with that, but we just weren't quite prepared for them, and they were clearly very electric that day. We did have a really nice chat. Wouldn't say it was nice chat, but we'll say nice chat after the game going into West Coast, and even then we didn't get everything right, but we're probably just once again we brought it back to focus on our defensive intent and application. So we felt like we've got that better the last couple of weeks. Clearly, once again, we've got to get it right again today and keep improving on that, but we feel like we get that aspect of our game okay, then the rest of it's in pretty good stead.
How much more consistency do you need from your young kids? And I love some of the talent you've got on the list. Dersmer O'Sullivan, Wardlaw, LDU, just to name a few. Yep. They were really quiet last week against Richmond. Your experienced guys really stood up and dominated last week. How do you try and fast-track that development for consistency for that next generation of stars?
I've been really lucky in my position to spend a lot of years at Brizzy under Fags early days and learn very quickly that these young guys, you just got to get games into them. And it takes time.
Yep.
It's really hard to fast-track it without giving them games. So Dersmer, you just got to keep giving him the games that requires him. And today we get, Will Dawson back into the ruck, so another game into him. So it's really just trying to allow these guys to flourish on the big stage as quick as possible. We felt like, clearly Luke Parker's had a terrific year this year for us going bound back, but it's just about getting their roles done, playing consistent footy, getting the roles done. Don't have to do any more, any less, just get that done, whatever's required at that stage. And as I said, just continue to try and get games into them as quick as possible.
Jed, we really appreciate your time. I know you've got to get back into the team meetings and the last-minute preparations. What's the final thing you're most mindful about around the Bombers?
Besides Zach Merritt.
Yes.
And it's a really different one. Clearly last time we played him, whatever round it was, we had Foss play on him playing midfield, but he's gone to half-backs. So, do you move Foss to half-forward? Do you try and just play your forward through him that way? That's a bit of a curveball what we do there. So, clearly we've got a plan around it, but he can pull you apart by the way he plays and where he starts. So we just got to be really mindful of that. And then they've got some really big forwards that are taking some clunks, and you get Kako back in at dangerous ground level. So I was listening to Dan McPherson talking. Clearly the game's going to be one in the middle. Contest, win that, get it forward, try and play territory and lock it in your front half.
Really appreciate your time, Jed. Good luck this afternoon.
Cheers, thanks, guys.
Jed Adcock joining us from the Kangaroos. It was back in round 3 that North Melbourne was able to snap that 12-game winning streak for the Bombers over North Melbourne, and they prevailed by 12 points. So Dan McPherson and Jed Adcock giving you the insights from both clubs, Mac Lynch and Ben Cameron, to call the action. Daniel Harford and Bob Murphy, your experts on ABC Sport. It's the challenges for the Kangaroos as they try and get their best side out on the park and try and eliminate some of those little areas where they need to try and continue to improve. And the back line, as Jed outlined there, has been one where they are mindful of how much they do concede, and they rely so much on their midfield to support them in that.
Yeah, today it screams to me it's a should day for North Melbourne. Should is one of those uncomfortable words in elite level sport of, we should win today. We should get over the line today.
You used to get really mad when people said that to you.
It would set me right off if you were coming up against a side like Essendon today that had won one game in 27 weeks. People go, you should be all right this week. You just don't. That sort of presumption just to start to seep in.
Like family members,
anyone. Snowy off the tram, could be anyone. Don't use the word should. But today is a classic should day for North Melbourne. And I think there would be potentially some. It's a tricky preparation for them because Essendon are off the bye. They've got some numbers back in. They've had such a tumultuous season, and multiple seasons. But when the coach is removed, and you have an interim coach. So how do you get a line on their style? It can potentially be a little bit tricky, but at the end of the day, North Melbourne, if their development is on track and we are to believe their best stuff, then today should be an absolute formality right from the opening bounce, but we'll see.
Do you know why should is such a bad word? It's basically, in sporting context, a synonym for expectation, which Ben Crowe, the master mental skills coach who's worked so well with Richmond, with Ash Barty, with innumerable other sports stars, will tell you that is the worst word in sport, because expectation just puts so much pressure on you that completely ruins your ability to go out and perform.
Well, history's proven that, hasn't it? And not many people master the art of coping with the pressure. So that's why you get the fluctuation in performances when that expectation becomes real and becomes public. That's the other thing. It becomes public. All of a sudden, that changes the dimension of it, the weight of it. For most people in sport, most people on the planet, really, very few. Only the gifted are able to compartmentalise and go out there and do their business on the back of just process and all that sort of stuff, the boring stuff, which guys like Ben preach, which is absolutely the right way to go about it. But it's hard to do. We're human beings and human doings and all sorts of stuff. Well, I'm all with you, mate. I'm with you. I know where you're going. I'm picking up what you're putting down. But it's absolutely that day for North Melbourne. Listening to Jed talk about that matchup with Merritt and O'Sullivan. So O'Sullivan tags him. He has 24, I think it was, in round 3. Merritt has 10, kicks a goal, his lowest tally, I think, in his career. Yeah. And then you hear him talk about Zach's playing on half back. So what do we do? I wouldn't mind betting that Finn ends up hanging around Zach a fair bit this afternoon again, just to try and get in his head and make sure that Essendon don't get any drive from him, who I'm really sure would be keen to do something about that last performance.
Yeah, and it's what Zach wouldn't want. You've both probably been tagged at different periods of your career.
Heavily.
Someone who's got the better of you, you don't want them coming to you again, do you? Or do you?
Part of me thinks you should flip it.
Yeah.
Get on the front foot with it. Like Zach Merritt going, I want to show you that doesn't happen twice.
Yeah. Nobody beats Zach Merritt twice in a row. but yeah, I was more going along the lines of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. There's teams you play poorly against for whatever reason, and it seems to repeat.
It was normally Brad Scott and the Brisbane Lions. Thanks for bringing it up. Couldn't quite deal with Brad, the Brisbane Lions at the time, Bob, for whatever reason. He was faster than me, stronger than me. He wasn't
meaner.
Well, he was much meaner than me, yeah. Both of them were, the Scott boys. But no,
I had to tag Andrew McLeod one day.
Did you?
It was my Vietnam.
How did you do that?
I didn't. Evidently, probably it didn't look like I did. That was a tough day at the office. It's Adelaide Oval, Andrew McLeod.
So what about Robert Harvey at Waverley?
Oh, that's not where you want to be.
I think he ended up with 42. I don't think I was very good that day on Robert.
What were the positions, Bob? Were you playing on a back flank and he was playing half forward, or the other way around?
He was playing half back, and so I was a tagging half forward.
So that's the same as Finn and Zach. How difficult is it to tag someone as a half forward?
Well, Andrew was in the votes that day. So that's how I would answer that. It's even more difficult.
That's harder.
That's harder.
Yeah.
And Andrew, in all seriousness, he would dare you. He would start taking you to different places just to mess with you a little bit, and he's smiling at me, knowing that I'm what I'm trying to do, and manipulating and all these sort of little mind games of he knew it was up.
So did you walk in the next time you played and said, "Give me McLeod, I'm keen to redeem myself"?
No, I didn't flip the script on that one. I think we need to go in a different direction, Coach.
I think it's time we explore other options. The Kangaroos, you might have heard, have made their way out onto Docklands, so they're out warming up, and the Bombers are just a few moments away. So 7 wins and 7 losses for North Melbourne. Their losses this season have come against Fremantle, Adelaide, Sydney, Geelong, GWS Brisbane and the West Coast Eagles, but they haven't lost to a side sort of down the bottom portion of the ladder really since that early season form where they fluctuate a bit more. So they've won 3 of their last 4. Their forward line is still the intriguing part. Cooper Trembath has come in and played that role as almost a second key tall, and Cam Zurhaar, as Jed Adcock spoke about, has almost played a role across half back. And with Paul Curtis out of the lineup this afternoon, it will be interesting to see what their best forward line mix looks like.
Yeah, and that's the challenge for Alistair Clarkson, isn't it? To try and find a mix that is going to be potent enough to hit the scoreboard often enough against this Essendon outfit, but just more so for the growth of the group long term as well. How do we shape this going forward, not just for the next 8 weeks, whatever it is, but for the next 3 years? How do we position ourselves to have a crew of players that can go and play forward of the footy and impact the way we want to impact? And that's his challenge at the moment. He talked about the challenge of the defensive system with Jed Adcock before and the defensive personnel, but forward of the footy is just as big a challenge as far as I'm concerned.
So that's the Kangaroos side of things. The Bombers have won one of their last 25 matches, and we just see a shot on our monitor of Dean Solomon, who has his playing group hunched in around him, and off the spirit of Port Adelaide in the showdown last night, you'd imagine he'd be reciting something about being the underdog and no one expecting us to win, and yet some of the personnel returning this afternoon, Merritt, Caldwell, Parrish and Kako, means that a lot of Essendon fans come along thinking we're more than half a chance today. What's the key for Essendon to being in the game to start with?
I think Dan McPherson hit it on the head. I think you've got to get your best guys around the footy and get some territory against the Kangaroos and make them get past you. They're a bit of a kick-mark team. The Kangas certainly were last week early in the game against the Tigers, who couldn't lay a glove on them. I think the pressure rating's got to be really high in the first quarter from the Bombers, and their guys around contest have to be really physical. Because as I said to Jed before, that the midfield talent of the Kangaroos were largely disappointing last week. All the guns, all the young guns, they didn't fire a shot, really. It's an ordinary game of footy, but they didn't really fire a shot. So if you're Dean Solomon and the midfield coach of Essendon and you get those guys back in, you're getting Caldwell back in, you've got Parrish back in, McGrath can go through there as well, let alone Kako, a little centre bounce appearance every now and then.
Do you even put Zach in there, maybe?
Well, yeah, I don't know.
I don't think he will, but
I'd probably keep him behind the ball. That's what they're sort of stuck to, I think.
Yeah.
That's what they want to see.
It is interesting. But
they're good enough to win that area of the ground. That's what I'm saying.
And then take territory. I feel like at the moment everybody's seduced by sexy ball movement. We've loved the Orange Tsunami for years. We got so excited about the forward handball, but it's still a territory game. Win it out of the middle, get it in your front half, and if you can, turn it over as close as you can to your attacking goal, and he'll score. Is that a fair synopsis, Bob and Huff?
That's basically the roadmap for modern footy, isn't it? It's still, for all of what you just said about the ball movement, and we've seen the game be dictated by the outside run and how you use the ball. But you're 100% right. You still have to get your hands on it and play it in your forward half, and the pressure builds and you get shots on goal. That's kind of 101 for how it goes. Under the roof here at Docklands, it is faster, so there is going to be more run and bounce and run and carry. So it's not a day of yardage by any stretch, but if you can get your hands on it, you get beautiful conditions to make the opposition pay.
And transition from the back half is sexy. We love it. But it's not sustainable to win games, and certainly I don't think it's going to win your finals. When the pressure really ramps up and you're playing against the other best teams, you're not winning finals worrying about. That can happen sometimes. Sorry, Bob, did I interrupt you?
We're going to hear your stomach.
Yeah.
Going from
curry at lunch.
Defensive 50 to forward 50 is not going to win your grand finals. That's not the way it's going to be won. Forward half footy will win your grand finals. So you've got to be able to play that as a template, a roadmap, as you say, Bob, to get you half a chance to compete come the finals. Now these teams North Melbourne are a chance for a wild card spot, so they're trying to build that. Essendon are a long way from that, but they've got to start somewhere. That's the foundation of your game.
Alistair Clarkson's out of contract the end next season. Do you think it's important that they do feature in that wild card spot, North Melbourne, to prove their progression? Do you think their fans are running out of patience?
I think their fans are running out of patience. I absolutely do. Yep. Certainly the Kangaroo supporters that I know, my word, they're running out of patience. Look, they've won 7 games. I think that's progress.
That's progression, isn't it?
Yeah, that's progress.
But is it enough? Yeah, that'll be the question.
Yeah.
I still think the one that'll come back to bite them on the backside is that loss to West Coast earlier on in the year. Like, they should be 8-6 right now instead of level at 7-7. Like, that's a bad loss in hindsight.
But you're going to get those performances from teams in this position.
But I think the point is that
they're riding the roller coaster. They're up and down.
They should be a little more up with where they're at the moment if they're going to play wild cards.
What did they win last year? 5. Yeah, so 7 down already. They'll win another. You reckon they'll win another 2 or 3?
7 by round.
I think they've definitely progressed. Whether they play in the wild card, for me, it's less about that. It's more, I've got round 19 circled for them. So they play the Demons in round 19. They have to front up against those teams that are above them. They're in that next category because I think against sides like Essendon, and I imagine we'll see a good performance by North Melbourne today. But they just can't have these performances like the one against Fremantle where they just don't show up. They just don't want it enough, and that's the question mark for me. So if they can get to that Melbourne game, and they might get rolled, but they have to actually arrive and prepare like they think they can win it, not just against the teams that are around them on the ladder.
Port Adelaide and Collingwood are the next two opponents for North Melbourne after Port's win last night. That adds to the intrigue. The Bombers have made their way out on the Docklands. They're going through their preparations at the moment. Bob, we asked Dan McPherson about the future for Zach Merritt. He's had the buzz shave, and he very vulnerably spoke in the media about some of the media attention in which he's had throughout the season, trying to defend his own position, and he's fronted back up and done everything he possibly can as a former captain now. Do you think they'll want to hang on to him at season's end, or would that be a conversation they'd be willing to revisit depending on what the offers are? If you could get 2 first-round picks for him, would that be enough to get a deal done?
Well, we can only go on the history of last year. So I would have thought if the club was going to move, that was the opportunity last year, and then now they've made their bed and they lie in it, so they commit to it. That would be my expectation, that no, that was the call made then, and you just push on. But it does seem to be, with Zach in particular, that things can change pretty quickly.
They've got an out to soften that stance with the new coach coming in.
Yep.
Because they can always
That's the unknown part of it. Yeah,
like
they're essentially could be a new club.
New coach wants to get some draft picks in, draft collateral in before Tassie comes in. So they've got a soft out. If they let him go and say it's all too hard and take what they get for him, they've got a soft out for him.
Plus,
so either way can work for them.
Brad came out and said that he thought it was the right decision to let him go, but he was overruled.
Yeah, I don't think...
But that's the question, isn't it? Is if you're very much at the starting point of a rebuild, you probably go, well, is there that much point in desperately hanging on to a guy who's 30 years of age and he's contracted for another 12 months? Is that going to affect the culture? Depending on if you were the coach, Half, who walked in, you'd be wanting all talent you can possibly get, because there's a lot of work to be done at the moment.
Yeah, there's a heap of work to be done. I don't think... If I get the job... And I'll be half a chance, I reckon.
You're not an Essendon man, but Dan McPherson said that's not a deal breaker. It might be some of the other parts.
In fact, as a former Hawthorn and Carlton person, you couldn't be less of an Essendon person.
And Collingwood supporter as a kid, I am out of the game, out of the running. If I was a new coach, I would encourage them to trade Zach Merritt.
Yeah, I agree.
For whatever you can get.
Yep.
Get me what you can, and we'll just deal with it. Because he's not really going to help us win finals in the next 4 years anyway. He's been a brilliant player, and I love watching Zach Merritt play, and I'm not trying to push him out of the door, but it seems like he wants to go. If I'm the new coach, let him go. We'll get what we can.
Well, that's the other element to it as well. Okay, the strategic of what you get in, and the development of the list, all those sort of things. But they're also at a point, Essendon, of if you're not absolutely 100% all in, Zach, we just have to move on. They need everyone there to be absolutely physically, spiritually, emotionally all in. And if for whatever reason he can't do that anymore at Essendon, well then move on.
But you know what it's like. Not everyone's always all in. And once you're not, it can create all sorts of problems within the group if they hang around.
It is accentuated, isn't it, when he's your best player and he's your former captain. That's where I think it becomes difficult.
It's a bit messy for me.
And I guess you compare that narrative with someone like Zach Butters, who's wanting to come back to Victoria, and the sentiment is, well, if you're playing like you did last night and you're doing everything you can for the team to try and get wins, then maybe we bid you farewell with our best wishes. And yet for Zach Merritt, the toll of being down a club at the bottom of the ladder and feeling like you're not seeing that progress and that hope that you're looking for makes you wonder as a professional athlete whether you just need a fresh start. The two captains make their way to the middle of Docklands. It's North Melbourne in 10th spot. There's 7 wins and 7 losses. The Bombers in 18th, just 1 win so far for this season. Lauren Borden sitting in the front row for us this afternoon. Loz, how's the crowd building below you?
Thanks, Clinchy. I was just looking around and having a spotting of some of their, more emptier bases. Fewer people here than I maybe expected on a Sunday arvo. The school holidays have just started, which I think is why there was a lot of the wiggles and all the noise going on. It's kids' month, so that's why there's all those activations going on. But a smaller crowd than what I would have expected at this moment. It might continue to build. Nick Larkey and Andy McGrath did just meet in the middle, shake hands and have the coin toss. Andy McGrath won, and Essendon will be kicking towards the Coventry end of Docklands in this first term. So a beautiful day outside, sunny but crisp, obviously under the lid because it is a day game, but Essendon to kick towards the right-hand side of your radio dial in this first quarter.
Thanks, Loz. Looking forward to your contributions throughout the afternoon. A couple of the good stories of both sides. Jai Caldwell plays his 100th game, year 8 for him. He featured in 11 games for the Giants. And you might have heard Jed Adcock make the reference to Josh Gota, who returns to AFL footy. Some 2 years in the absence, 834 days he returns after suffering hamstring and calf injuries. It was an Achilles injury that allowed him to play one game in 2024. So he's back out there for the Roos this afternoon.
Can't believe we got through a pre-game without referencing Bob's excellent singing on World Beatles Day during the week.
It was nearly as good as Luke Ball singing Mr. Brightside.
We might have some time post-game, so don't think you've got out of jail yet, Bob.
Excellent. I've got to rest the instrument.
It was brilliant.
Who wins out of North Melbourne and Essendon?
Kangas
by
12
line.
points.
Dons.
60 points.
60
Kangas for me as well. It's round 16 of the AFL. The Kangas look to continue their climb, and the Bombers searching for their first win under Dean Solomon. Here's Ben Cameron.
Brian and Trembath, they share it in the middle. Wardlaw out after it, gets the handball out to Sheasel. Off to O'Sullivan, kicks the Roos inside 50. Low down, Darling can't mark. Follows up at ground level, gets the handball away. Back to O'Sullivan. Back feeds his handball. Back to Blamires, and they work it out. Sheasel kicks back inside 50. No mark taken, ball on the deck. O'Sullivan, a third disposal for him. The Dons try and work it out through Setterfield. He gets it out to Brian. There's a free kick. They'll come back and go the way of Will Setterfield. So scores level through the opening 37 seconds. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
This is not playing on Zach Merritt.
Who's that?
Finn O'Sullivan.
Yes. Let's re-meet. 1-2 in the end as the kick comes up the wing, and Mason Redmond takes the mark from Setterfield's kick. Looks around the outer side. Kick is over the head of Nate Caddy. Sport away by Zerha. Had support in the end from the hand pass that comes in to Luke Davies-Uniacke. The kick down low for Sheasel. Gave it back to Davies-Uniacke through the middle of the ground. Spargo gives it back. Great give and get as Davies-Uniacke gets to 55. Vacant goal square. Drives it long. In the end, Darling lets it bounce through. The Kangas with the opening goal of the match inside 90 seconds. And Luke Davies-Uniacke setting the tone with some of his work rate. They're 1 straight 6 to the Bombers yet to score. Daniel Harford and Bob Murphy with you on ABC Sport.
Well, it ends up being a pretty easy goal in the end, but just the half tackle, not quite a missed tackle from Essendon in the middle of the ground. Was it Ben Mackay? I'm just trying to...
Charlie Spargo was the one who got the hands off.
And then...
Setterfield.
Setterfield,
yep.
Yeah. Wraps up the Kangaroos play through the middle of the ground, but just lets him out. So the handball gets free and then they're completely offside and the Kangaroos run it all the way. It's just got to be harder than that in the middle of the ground.
Had a quiet 3 games, Luke Davies-Uniacke. His last 3, averaging less than 20 disposals. He's got 3 and a goal already today, so off to a hot start. Brian wins the tap down in the middle, straight to Durham. He can't pick it up, has to turn tackler on Trembath. Now Wardlaw, great pick up and burst through them. Kick inside 50 and Larkey leads out and marks. 47 metres out directly in front.
Wardlaw busy early with both clearances so far. That was a brilliant pickup in traffic. I saw Marcus Bontempelli had a moment last week. It wasn't quite Bontempelli, yes, but it wasn't far off.
Nick Larkey, only goalless once this year. Boot to ball from right on 50. The captain sets it out to the right and misses. 1-1-7 plays. No score. Essendon haven't gone inside 50 yet. 3-0 the way of the Kangas.
As Mason Redmond looks to bring the Bombers back into play. Kicks to Harrison Jones, who marks in the right back pocket. Redmond around the back. Receives the hand pass. Hemmed into the boundary line. Kick down low for Caldwell. Sport away from him. Ricochets back to Redmond. Releases the run of Andy McGrath. The captain from half-back. Down low to Durham, who just got his fingertips underneath it to take the mark. He's at right half-back for the Bombers, trailing by 7 points. Redmond's kept running. He'll get involved once more as he runs the boundary line. Caleb Daniel offers chase. The kick up towards half-forward, where the mark is taken at right half-forward. El Akchar kicks into the pocket. It's a little wide in the end of Caddy. And also Dersman. It goes out of play for a boundary throw-in. First inside 50 for the Bombers for the match. A throw-in in the right forward pocket.
O'Brien and Coleman Jones. Coleman Jones bringing it down for the Kangas. Caldwell onto it in game 100. Off to Dyson Sharp. Essendon in their back pocket, or their forward pocket rather, as he gives it off to Alashka. Hooks the kick centrally. Blamires is there for the Roos. Handball too hot for Sheasel. Durham goes in. Jams it on the boot. Something out of nothing from Sammy Durham. A spiritual leader at Essendon. And he kicks their first of the afternoon. 1-1-7 plays one straight 6. 4 minutes into the opening term. Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford.
Was a good player, Harry Sheasel. I don't think he'll do that again, where he's just completely lost the handle of the ball. He just left it behind, fell out of his hands, and Durham was good enough just to throw it on his boot. Really made something out of not a lot there. Harry Sheasel, he won't do that again.
Nah.
In a hurry. Harry Sheasel just completely left the ball behind.
It's a really good effort to get so much purchase on that snap.
Got good power, didn't he?
Durham, yeah. He's my favourite Essendon player. I love him. I think he's awesome.
And when they're going poorly, I've said this previously, it's like he has like a visceral response to it. Like he just goes and does something hard. Tackles someone hard, bumps someone hard, something.
He's all in.
He and George Wardlaw are a couple of fan favourites. Davies Uniacke gets the clearance to North Melbourne, back in the middle of the ground. Trembath was shoved underneath it, no free kick. McGrath's onto it, Spargo's onto him. Has to hurry a hand pass out towards the back pocket. Desperation for the Bombers as Day Wicks is tackled. And the ball is locked up just inside the 50-metre arc, a couple of steps in from the boundary. North Melbourne 1-1-7. Essendon 1 straight 6. Through 5.5 minutes on ABC Sport. Insufficient intent there from the Bombers as they tried to hurry it out of play, and the umpire says the free kick will go North Melbourne's way against Setterfield. And George Wardlaw has it. Just outside 50, pokes the kick looking for Larkey, who juggles the mark. In the end, had barely a metre to move with Zach Reid in tow, but was just able to hold his positioning in front and protect the footy. Hang on.
What's happened?
Umpire said...
Dropped it.
He dropped it. Mark's not paid.
Oh, no. Yeah.
So ball up. So umpires converged, decided in the end that it'll be a ball up from the stoppage. Setterfield's kick high in the ground. Let's have a look on the replay here. Did it bounce out at the last moment? That's, I think, what the umpires thought, but on the replay, I'm not 100% convinced.
No, I'm not convinced at all.
I would have thought that's a mark, but...
Yeah. Well, either way, whether it did or it didn't, I feel like the mark was paid and then it wasn't. I'd have to go back and check that. But anyway, McGrath with the clearance into the middle of the ground for Essendon. Punched away there. Onto it quickly, Larkey. He gets rid of it. A quick kick inside 50 from Spargo. There's a turnover. Blamires rather, and now Essendon can work it out quickly. The exiting kick onto Caldwell on the defensive point of the square. North Melbourne by a point, 7 minutes into the opening term.
Kicks through the middle of the ground where Zerha makes the spoil. Spargo's hand pass to Daniel, a little loose. Opens up the possibility. Sharp went in aggressively. In the end, Sheasel might have given away a free kick. Bombers take it back. Setterfield 1-2. Gets the right half forward. Looks out wide. Nate Caddy's on the lead. And he marks 60 out from home. Looks up into the pocket. Mackay's on the move and he can't take the mark. Spoiled away in the end. Good battle there taking place. It's picked up by Harvey. Gets the hand pass away. Daniel got it from Simpkin. Hugs the boundary line with a kick up towards half-back, where the mark is taken by Trembath.
Moves it on to Simpkin, who forwards the handball away towards Daniel, who gets it onto Constanti. Now to Sheasel. Training handballs down the wing north. Simpkin kicks inside 50. Davies marks. Has Larkey all open. Misses him. Larkey gathers. Snaps and misses.
Who had the goal square?
Oh, that
Spargo.
should have been so much easier than it was. North made a meal of it.
How did he miss it?
Yeah, that is substandard AFL footy right there.
North Melbourne hope they'd left those sort of moments behind. A chance goes begging. Caldwell from half-back. His kick is over the head in the end of Sullivan Roby, who can't reel it in. And that will be a lasso free kick. And the Kangas will take it to right half-back. What could have been? Caleb Daniel gets it from Harvey.
Tough watch early.
Sure is. Gets the hand pass away to Zerha. Lining up across half-back again this afternoon. Long kick up towards half-forward. O'Sullivan caught behind, and the mark is taken by Pryor at half-back for the Bombers. So North by 2 points. 1-2-8 to Essendon, 1 straight 6. Matt Clinch and Ben Cameron call the action. Lauren Borden down on the boundary. Daniel Harford and Bob Murphy, your experts.
Pryor waits a kick to the wing, and Zerha just able to lead his man to the football and take the mark. Spending more time down back. North Melbourne back with the footy. He shorts his kick to Sheasel. Sheasel between wing and half forward. He'll wait a ball into the pocket, looking for Darling. Spoiled away by Redmond. Out the back it goes. I think they're pretty happy to see it out. Harrison Jones running it in, but just after it had crossed the line, a throw in right forward pocket for North.
8-2 inside 50s early in favour of the Kangas. It's a warning sign in the coach's box already for Dean Solomon.
North by 2 points. Coleman Jones palms it down in front. Pryor nearly misses it, trying to get the clearing snap. Ball still bobbling around. Forward pocket here for North. Davies Uniacke extracts it out to Spargo. He can't gather it cleanly. Now Merritt, he gets it out for Essendon. And eventually Parrish to McGrath, run down. Caught holding the ball. Luke Davies Uniacke with the lunging, desperate tackle. North by a couple of points and back with the ball at half forward.
Fabulous tackle. Just the intent and the endeavour to chase, but then as he laid his hands on him, just to twist McGrath so he couldn't get a boot to ball.
Kick the opening goal of the game, sends it inside 50. Trembath's the target. Zach Reed in from the side. Takes the mark for the Bombers, 25 metres out from his defensive goal.
He's growing every week in this role. Zach Reed for the Bombers is looking pretty good.
We saw him against the Blues a few weeks ago now, where his confidence and his marking was back to almost his best. Zach Merritt across half-back, kick over the head of Nate Caddy. And the mark is taken by Aiden Core across half-back. Into the middle of the crowd, he's kicked to Sheasel on the bounce. In bright pink boots this afternoon. Switches across half-back, and Caleb Daniel takes the mark. 40 disposals last week. Comes inboard to Wardlaw, who cuts on his right. Spots Davies Uniacke free, just to the right of the centre circles. Continues the transition, trying to stretch the Essendon defence. Out past a Core, up past halfway, inside 50. Lucky! Somehow ended up with a one-on-one matchup with McGrath. And in front position, he was always going to be a comfortable mark there.
And you picked the problem there for the Bombers' defence. How he ended up with a one-on-one with McGrath, I'll never know. Caught it on a handover somewhere, but that's something they cannot afford to have. Once the Kangaroos got possession of the half-back, the guys behind the ball for the Bombers had to be really sharp and smart on who they were having to locate and trying to cover off on. That's the worst scenario possible for the Bombers back line.
31 goals, 13 for the new North Melbourne captain this season as he starts out to the right, 35 metres out from goal. And he misses across the face of goal. Trembath rises up against the behind post, and the umpires are going to converge as to whether this was across the behind line. If it's in play for North Melbourne, it's a great mark, and for Essendon, it's a question as to where was the fellow ruck, given the fact that Reed was there. The field umpire and the boundary umpire come together, and I think this will be paid a mark, but we're going to check.
They're probably a little gun shy after last night.
Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean? What a disaster the whole technology thing is at the moment, the way we're using it or not using it. It's a shambles.
Cooper Trembath, 193 centimetres, but his athletic prowess as he rises up against the left behind post, and the question is here.
It'll be a mark.
No,
Ball's not over the line.
I don't think there's any part of the ball that would be behind the padding of the post, so...
The whole world can see this right now. Why is there a decision? The decision should be made.
One of the camera angles we're getting is the left goalpost, which doesn't really give you any angle given the right goalpost is in the way, so we're just trying to work out whether he juggled the mark, which I don't think he did.
That was a clean grab.
The mark, guys. Play it. Just
why are we waiting so long?
Come on now.
Review complete. Looking at these angles, we can see the ball's controlled before crossing the back of the behind line. Decision on the scoreboard.
Well, they got it right.
So the review comes through at 12:25 on the game clock, so that took about 1 minute and 10 seconds.
That's way too long.
It was a painful minute.
And Cooper Trembath, all he cares is that he ends up with a footy in his hands. He's emerging forward, 22 goals, 5, comes out, curls the angle, and slams it across the face and through for a minor score. The Kangas fans thought it went high, but it didn't go straight, a minor score. So North are missing a few chances at the moment. They lead by 3 points.
I reckon he celebrated.
Yeah, he did.
It hit the post.
Merritt taking the kick in. That's a turnover. Sliding into mark, Big Dawson. So Dawson for the Kangas. Kicks into the man on the mark. Ricochets away. Blackiston after the loose footy. Parrish goes into. Gets rid of it. Away towards Dersma. He kicks it off the deck. Parrish goes and gets it. Rushes a kick into the middle, and Kako marks. He's bracketed by a couple of Kangas, but able to hold on. Chips it short. Finds Roby. The boyhood Don. He'll kick back into the defensive 50 and find McGrath.
I like the Roby selection in the draft. He's a good player. He's going to be something.
They complete the switch. McGrath to Reed. Out to Ridley. Kicks around the wing and finds Sharp. here on the dock side of the ground.
He looks to just work it over the top to half forward. And Sullivan Roby has it. No one's on the mark, so he can wind up and kick from 52. Instead, look to the goal square. Mackay takes the mark. And Zerha couldn't get back to really offer any support. So he claims it at the top of the goal square and a chance to try and put through the Bombers second and take the lead after the Kangas butchered a few at the other end.
Gee, there's some opportunities for both teams if they can just look after the football. You wouldn't say either side is playing lockdown, tight defence over the ground.
He's been a forward since round 12, Ben Mackay, as he comes in and puts through his first goal of the afternoon. Off the back of 1-3 against the Demons before the bye. And he gives the Bombers the lead through the 14-minute mark of the opening term. 2 straight 12 to North Melbourne, 1-3-9. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport with Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford.
Well, chances are coming into the game, that's what you're going to get, Bob. You're going to get some opportunities between the arcs if you can hold on to the footy. Both teams contested possession. North Melbourne ranked 15th. Essendon ranked 18th. So there's not a lot of... They're not looking for the scrimmage, these two teams, or incapable when it is in that situation. Essendon 16th for tackles, 17th for tackles inside 50. So you can't retain it when they get it in there. Marks inside 50, they're 16th and 17th as well. So it's going to hit the deck a lot. And it's going to be pinballing between the arcs, or it should be, if you go by the way that the season's panned out already for these two teams, pinball between the arcs. So if you're good enough to control the ball, you will score.
Essendon's first lead of the day. Blackiston wins the tap down for Parrish. There's a holding free kick. We go to Durham. Durham kicks for a leading Blackiston. Wide out on the point of the square. Blackiston looks into the pocket. Mackay on a searching lead, and he's got it again. Geez, looked assertive as a forward in a way we didn't see when he was a defender. And he'll go back and kick for goal from left half forward. Essendon have scored from 32% of his inside 50 targets since he moved to become a forward in round 12, as Clinchy mentioned. Right footer, right side for a right footer, and it's a good looking kick. It's just missing against the old mob, of course. Essendon leading by 4 points, 16 minutes into the opening term. They've kicked the last 2 goals.
North started with 10 of the first 12 inside 50, so the Bombers getting their chance to try and arrest some of the momentum. Zerha takes it from the back pocket, the kick in from Parker. He's going to give it back to Parker as they look for Wardlaw. Risky kick, spoiled away. Caddy's a chance, can't gather. Wardlaw spins out of traffic. Won the footy, went in debate. Hand pass away to Stevens. Gets the hand pass to Harvey. Hand pass forward is a turnover. Daywicks with a hand pass back to Sharp. Drives it inside 50 for the Bombers. Mackay's against the field. Brought down in the end by Caddy. Hand pass comes to Roby. Gets the hand pass to Kako. Dodging and weaving. Durham over the top. Looking for Caddy. Daniel knocks it away. It spills back to Durham. It's Messi. Parrish has a fly-on shot and goal and misses to the right-hand side from only about 35 metres out in the right forward pocket. The Bombers lead by 4 points with the last 3 scores in the match.
A little bit laborious from both teams at the moment as Daniel moves it in short to McKercher. He gives it back to Daniel, who moves it on to Parker. He kicks up to the wing for Sheasel. Handball to Daniel to McKercher. Breaks it up with a kick. A long kick inside 50. And Zane Dersma is on the end of it. One half of the 2 Dersma brothers out there today. His older brother Xavier on the other team. He marks 40 metres out, slight angle to the right.
Laborious. I saw John Setka out there just taking a go, just trying to get him to sign up to the unions. Speaking of labour intensive, goodness me.
Yep, it's chaotic, isn't it?
Can hear Lauren giggling away to that. As Zane Dersma comes in, his drop punt is across the goal mouth and across the behind post as well. Touched out of bounds for a throw in. Essendon by 5 points, 18 minutes in.
You know the Dersmas named their children in the alphabetical order.
Yeah.
Is there 26 of them?
Yeah, X, Y, Z, yeah. Not yet. Bit of work to do.
So and they had Willem and had to go back to W, which came before those three letters.
So we have 2 of them out there this afternoon, Zane and Xavier, so we'll make sure we refer to them by first names as well. The ball up on the wing and a free kick going the way of the Bombers as Mackay was taken high against Charlie Comben.
They've had a bit going on, these two. Comben's been quite aggressive.
Hand pass to Sullivan Roby, who drives it inside 50, not to his forward's advantage as Caddy slipped over. Allowed Core to take the easiest of marks. Releases Parker. The former Swan up towards half-back. Sport away from Blemains. And here's Dersma running onto it is Zane. Gets the hand pass away from half-back. Caleb Daniel releases the hand pass to the run of O'Sullivan, who kicks into the middle of the ground and opens up for Wardlaw. He plays on, almost too slow. Just got his kick away at the last moment to Stevens. He runs to 50. Has Larky in the goal square. He lets it go, but it's line to the right. He lost his bearings there. He was running back on an angle in front of the left goal post, and in the end let it go through from behind.
It's all happening.
It's a 4-point lead the Bombers' way.
Ridley with the kick in, finds Day Wicks. Day Wicks had it knocked out of his hands and bundled over. That was bizarre, wasn't it?
Some strange things happening out there today.
Day Wicks goes the switch from the right back flank across to the left back flank, and Blackiston from a mid-season pickup from East Fremantle in the WAFL. He pokes it on away towards Redmond, who's run on.
We talked before about forward half games and that being the way to succeed. Well, there's a lot of transition going on at the moment. The problem for the Bombers is the Kangas are doing it way too easily. This is the first time we've really seen a team held up through the middle of the ground.
Redmond onto Setterfield, who kicks to a contest. Caddy launching, punched away from him. Sharp will rove the pack, and Essendon back with it on the wing as he moves it on to Perkins.
Perkins got the hand pass back to Setterfield. Centre wing sends it up to Caddy. He's out number 2-on-1. Zerha made the spoil with core support. Spills out to Caddy, bumped off it. Zerha gets a hand pass away to Myers, and then across half back. Parker feeds the hand pass away. Gets it back now, around the back, looks up towards half back, and that's where Trembath takes the mark. Players streaming through the corridor. Tries to chip it to Spargo or McKercher. Both were there. To the left of the centre circles in the middle of Docklands. Spots Harry Sheasel on his own. Out on the city wing. Hand pass to Daniel. Normally a good ball user. Pierces a kick inside 50. And George Wardlaw lunges forward and takes the mark just slightly right of centre. He'll have to kick from about 45 metres out.
Well, the Kangaroos are having a bit of trouble finishing off their work. They're not having much trouble finding their way through the middle of the ground, though. Essendon just not able to clog up that centre square nearly enough, and they're just moving the ball through it at a pace that they're so comfortable with. They've got options there, and they're going up the middle every single time.
Finally brought up his 50th game last week, George Wardlaw, after 4 years in the AFL system. He's such a heartbeat for the Kangaroos as he comes in looking to answer back. It's offline to the left.
He's done it again.
But it's marked on the behind line by Trembath. This time he was over the line. And not to be. Hang on, we might go upstairs again.
I know.
I reckon he's... I don't know. It didn't look as inbounds as the last one.
No, I think that one might be a point, I think.
Stand by. As the arc is in.
There's no doubt they're gun shy after last night.
Yep.
No doubt.
They've seen the reaction and thought, we're not risking that.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's just a phone call made, and if there's any doubt on any on Sunday, let's just make sure we get them right. And that's created a seed of doubt for everyone.
Yeah.
Review
so
complete.
This time the angle
Looking at this angle, we'd see the ball's crossed the back of the behind line before being controlled. Decision on the scoreboard.
It's only like centimetres in it, though, so it's...
Not much.
It's worth having a look. I'm okay with that.
So that camera on the left goalpost allows you to see the ball is fully past the padding of the post when it was marked. So behind is registered. And the Bombers lead is 3 points.
Ridley with the kick in. Short to the pocket. Able to find Perkins. One of two Archies. They've got two Archers on their list as well, Essendon, as Perkins completes the switch, moves it off to Xavier Dersma, who chips it onto Parrish, and he'll just slow it up on the back flank.
Any other Archies in your life, Benny?
Yep, got the little Archie at home. He's my favourite of all the Archies.
I was hoping you'd say that.
As Parrish switches it away to Redmond, who moves it on to Perkins again. He'll kick around the boundary line and find a leading Brian. Essendon by 3 points, and in the slow play here.
Was your Archie named after any of the Bombers?
No.
Just thought I'd ask the question. Brian at half forward for the Bombers. Inside 50. Mackay crunches the pack. It spills out off hands. Finn O'Sullivan runs onto it. Sends it out towards half back. Zane Dersma
Free kick.
will get a free kick.
Which does he kick O'Sullivan down the ground?
So it will come to the Kangaroos at half back.
See if the Bombers can clog up this centre square defence on this transition.
Zane Dersma with the white headband and the bright pink boots. Switches out towards the boundary side. And they try and transition here. Larkey takes the mark from Davies-Uniacke. Running into space is Spargo as he marks and plays on. Takes a bounce as he runs away from Parrish. Links a hand pass over the top. Blamires drives a kick inside 50. Trembast's there. Got hands to it. Can't take the mark. Simpkin to the back. The Crummer. Squeezes it through. Umpire goes racing to left, but the all clear is given, and the Kangas wrestle back the lead, courtesy of that goal. They're 2-5-17 to the Bombers 2-2-14. North Melbourne by 3 points. 25 minutes gone, opening term on Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Well, it's a clever finish in the end from Simpkin. Just looking at the replay, just read it off hands a little bit better than everyone. And the Essendon defenders, they had enough numbers there, but there's just not enough defensive intent. So on that occasion, it was Archie Perkins who was in the area, but you've got to be more desperate than that. You've got to be more close checking than that. In defensive 50, if you're going to fly, you have to impact, and if you stay down, well, you may as well stand next to Jai Simpkin, and he was just left on his own. Easy finish.
I reckon he's a good guy to sort of sit around and try and crumb. When Cooper Trembath goes up,
yeah,
he's a good guy to crumb. You know you half a chance for the ball to come to ground or stacking his mitts.
Lauren Borden on the boundary for us.
The Kangas were just missing Harry Sheasel for a brief period there. He's got a corky on the top of his left thigh, so he's got that all strapped on the field and about to get the ball too.
And he certainly did, Loz. Right on cue. Feeds it out to Colby McKercher. Chiselling kick towards full forward. Brought down by Jones there of Essendon at fullback. And they jump on top. Ball upcoming. Full forward here for North Melbourne, who kicked the first goal of the game. Essendon the next two. North the last. Put a loft. Coleman Jones trying to get it down onto the boot. It's knocked out for Essendon. Reid tracks it back. Handball for Durham. Back pocket. His handball knocked away. Sheasel does well to keep it in for the Kangas. Off to Spargo. To McKercher. To Simpkin. Snaps to full forward. Reid is there. Marks on the last line. And I agree with you, Half. This man is growing in stature. North by 3 points.
Reid chips it over the top to Zach Merritt, who takes the mark. Finn O'Sullivan just holds him up almost in a moment of statement as he chips it to half-back. Sharp gives it back to Merritt. He runs away this time from O'Sullivan. Had a bounce that didn't come back, and then slips over. McKercher off of the chase. Now lays the tackle. Sharp slides in. As he dives on top of the footy, the umpire gives him the benefit of the doubt and says, we'll ball it up, with the Kangas leading by 3 points.
Didn't go to plan for Zach.
Nope.
Found the little oil slick out there.
Yes.
Tapped down by Coleman Jones again. He follows up at ground level. Kicks to half forward as he's tackled, but it's knocked away. Blackiston doing well to bring it down to Farrow. He'll kick it back for Essendon to the back flank and get it back from McGrath. Uses it well, this young man, the 18-year-old, as he kicks out wide. Finds another teammate here in Sharp. Sharp will go back inside defensive 50. Back to Farrow.
They go back a long way, don't they, Essendon? When they switch and go backwards, they go a long way back.
It's frustrated
and
Bombers fans.
Slow. It's
Farrow
too slow.
Moves it back out towards the city wing onto the chest of Blackiston.
Yeah, Essendon fans really get annoyed.
They set up. Look how far back they go.
Yeah.
Game number 26 for Blackiston. He's one of 4 players who have played every game so far this season for the Bombers. Up towards half forward, no mark claim. Trying to knock it out was Comben. Spalls away of Sullivan Roby, drives it inside 50. Numbers the way of the Kangaroos at half-back as it's taken by Parker. Gets the hand pass to Trembath. Across half-back, Goda's hand pass to Darling. Helping out in defence. Kicks through the middle of the ground. Sheasel marks. His players streaming past. Stevens has won. He runs out onto the city wing. Sheasel now spots him, sends it out wider than that. Caleb Daniel, the little man in the helmet, charging up the wing. Gets the hand pass away to Stevens. He takes a bounce at right half forward. Looks into the pocket. Darling's worked his way forward. Blackiston makes the spoil. Davies-Uniacke, the crummer, sidesteps McGrath. One way, the other, back to his right. Draws an opponent. Hand pass to Darling. Hand pass to Zane Dersma. Over his head. Hits it into the post. And misses to the right-hand side, a minor score. The Kangas by 4 points. 28 minutes gone, opening turn.
It's exciting.
I think that's debatable.
Well, there's
chaotic.
No, you don't know what's going to happen, so that's exciting. There's nowhere near
frenetic. I'm not sure exciting would be the adjective I'm going for.
Trying to be positive.
North by 4 points. Merritt chipping it to the pocket for Farrow.
They butchered some looks, the Kangas, this quarter.
Farrow kicks to a contest. Trembath in from the side. G's got hops. 194. He's going back as if he wants to kick this on goal.
Go get it, son.
I think he just wants to make sure he gets the stat. Puts the torping, kicks it inside 50, and it gets about half of the way there. So North Melbourne by 4 points. 2-6-18 plays 2-2-14. The Kangas lead. The goal kickers, Davies, Uniac and Simpkin, and Durham and Mackay for Essendon.
So the inside 50s, 18-8 the way of the Kangaroos. In that opening term, we had 2 lead changes. The Roos leading by 4 points at quarter time. Don't forget, still to come later on this afternoon, especially if you're in WA. The Fremantle Dockers taking on the Gold Coast Suns. Our WA audience will depart at halftime, and you'll get the full lead up to that match. You can get in touch with us on the SMS. We'll bring you some of those in a moment. 0437 774 774. It's the Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Are there any winners in the cost of living crisis? What's causing the algal bloom?
Questions. They've never been more important. So the one thing we'll never question is our duty to keep asking. ABC News. Keep asking.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Great give and get as Davies Uniac gets the 55. Vacant goal square, drives it long. In the end, Darling lets it bounce through. The Kangas with the opening goal of the match inside 90 seconds. And Luke Davies Uniac setting the tone with some of his work rate.
Handball too hot for Sheasel. Durham goes in, jams it on the boot. Something out of nothing from Sammy Durham, a spiritual leader at Essendon. And he kicks their first of the afternoon.
Sullivan Roby has it. No one's on the mark, so he can wind up and kick from 52. Instead, look to the goal square. Mackay takes the mark. And Zerha couldn't get back to really offer any support. So he claims it at the top of the goal square and a chance to try and put through the Bombers second and take the lead after the Kangas butchered a few at the other end. And a forward since round 12, Ben Mackay, as he comes in and puts through his first goal of the afternoon. Links a hand pass over the top. Lamyers drives a kick inside 50. Trembath's there, got hands to it, can't take the mark. Simpkin to the back, the crummer, squeezes it through. Umpire goes racing to the left, but the all clear is given, and the Kangas wrestle back the lead, courtesy of that goal.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
After a tight opening quarter, it's the Kangas who lead by 4 points. Inaccurate in front of goal. 2-6-18 to the Bombers, 2-2-14. Off the back of the Kangas, 18-8 inside 50s in that opening quarter. Sunday Footy on ABC Sport. Matt Clinch and Ben Cameron call the action. Lauren Borden's down on the boundary. The thoughts of our experts, Daniel Harford and Bob Murphy.
Well, I'm not sure if I've seen a team move the ball as easily in the back 2/3 of the ground and then butcher the opportunities in front of goal as we saw North Melbourne do in that first quarter. They were doing it as they please from back 50 through the middle of the ground. They absolutely owned the corridor with their ball movement. They had options everywhere. And when it got inside 50, it was almost like they'd forgotten how to kick goals or they weren't interested in kicking goals. They should be a lot further in front. So only 4 points at the moment. So Essendon look like what we expect. They're a limited footy team at the moment. They're still scratching around for, who they are and who's good enough to play at the level. Whereas North Melbourne, they should be miles in front. They can play. They're a decent footy team, but their inability to finish their work and to be disconnected in that forward 50 is really hurting them at the moment, half.
Yeah, it's been a hard watch, to be honest. As you say, their transition from the back half has been really seamless and easy and efficient. Looks pretty good. But that connection, and we heard, we were talking about this pre-game, Clinchy, about the forward line, the forward half of the ground for the Kangaroos and what they need to do and what it needs to look like. Well, this isn't it. So let's try something else. It's not working at the moment. Now, they've got plenty of looks. Well, we said through the quarter as well, that because of the way these two teams play, you're going to get some pinball action. It's going to go up and down the ground, and if you're able to get some control of possession, you will get looks. And they've had good looks, but it's been a really disappointing quarter from them. And the Bombers are just, I don't know, you look at some of the numbers and you think, what are they trying to do? Like 37 uncontested marks for the Bombers. Well, why wouldn't you try and go at the Kangas? And because their defence is their weakness. We talked about the forward connection, but the defence is their weakness. They've got some holes there, and they're just trying to plug them with real experience and Zerha types who have never really traditionally been there, but learning his craft back there. So there's opportunities to run at the Kangas, and and put their defence on their heels a bit, but they're choosing to just tip the ball around in the back half of the ground and not try and advance and take the game on. And I don't understand why that's the system you want to try and implement if you're in an interim phase and you're looking to try and exploit what talent you've got out there, see what you've got, and then have the new coach come in and say, well, I've seen a bit of this. Okay, we can work with this. That's not it for me.
I feel like if you're doing a shopping list while you're on the silver limo, as Mark McClure used to refer to it, while making your way into the ground, you would have thought, hopefully we see from North Melbourne some ruthlessness where they just attack Essendon and take the contest away from them in the opening quarter. We probably didn't see that. And from Essendon, you want to see some fight and some hunger. And yet the Kangas' ability to win the ball on halfback, Luke Davies-Uniacke did it, Jai Simpkin did it, and run through the ground without really an Essendon player laying a tackle that stopped them, allowed them to just transition the ball so easily inside 50. And had they been more connected and more successful in their forward 50 entries, the margin could be far greater than what it is.
Well, here's the
4 points a quarter time.
9 tackles for the Bombers in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that the Kangaroos are defensive machines either. They had 10. That's the game, isn't it? That's the game we're watching at the moment, 10 to 9.
Sort of feels like for Dean Solomon, though, you're looking to try and say, what is this Bombers team going to be under him? And
this isn't helping him.
At the moment, I'm not sure I can see what he's tried to work on in the last 5 weeks.
No, I'm with you. I don't know what he's trying to do. And now it's not just this quarter, which is obviously a disappointing quarter. They might show us a fair bit in the next 3 quarters, and hopefully they do. But just watching the last couple of weeks, I don't know what they're trying to do. You've got rope, you've got license for very, very few times in your footballing journey where you have license to let it go. He's got that license, and see what we've got on offer here. See what this talent can do. Doesn't look like it's given the green light just yet for whatever reason.
Game number 4 for Dean Solomon as coach of the Bombers. They went down to West Coast by 30, by 5 points to the Blues on that King's Birthday Eve match, by 45 points against the Demons, and then the bye last week. The Kangas by 4 points as we get the second quarter underway in the middle of the ground. Brian wins down the tap and Durham goes to work trying to wrestle it clear. Spills out the way of McKercher. He gets a hand pass away to Davies-Uniacke. His hand pass a little loose. A chance for Harvey to try and run onto it. He breaks the tackle. Gets the hand pass away to Stevens, who feeds it to Sheasel. He's going to chip it back across half-back, and Davies-Uniacke takes the mark. Possession number 12 coming out for him alongside Harry Sheasel, leading possession getter on the ground. Trembath and Larkey are both there across half forward. Neither can take the mark off Redmond's hands. It rolls out in front of Harry Jones.
Merritt and Sullivan, 5v4 disposals for those keeping track of that little bout. Zach playing half-back for the Bombers this afternoon.
North by 4 points. Thoughts of Daniel Harford, the former Hawk and Blue. Bob Murphy, the 300-gamer as well. Tapping it down, Brian. Picked off by Dawson, who gives it to McKercher to Stevens. Driving ball to full forward. Trembath juggling, not quite. And they were on top at ground level, on top of Zane Dersma.
Interesting that he's the deep player, Zane Dersma, for the Kangas.
All up at full forward for North. Dawson taps it down from a hand to his boot. Ricochets away and Pryor can clear. He kicks to Xavier Dersma. He's lost to both of his baby bros this year. He gives it off to McGrath. He kicks Essendon to the wing.
Kick in the direction of Kako. Comben comes across, offer support. Gets the hand pass inboard. Harvey then one way, then the other. Gets around Kako, feeds it back to Caleb Daniel across half-back. And the Roos centre it through the corridor, and Parker takes the mark. North Melbourne by 4 points. 2 lead changes in the opening quarter. Kick comes out to Harvey. Boomer's son looks inboard. Chips it to Stevens, who takes the mark. Hand pass around the back to the run of Goda. Great to see him back. Hand pass to Harvey. Feigns off. Xavier Dersma kicks into the pocket. It clears the intended target in O'Sullivan, and a juggling mark across the behind line by Merritt. Or is it paid the mark?
We'll be having a look at the television screens.
That's 3.
We've had 3 too many after the events of last night. I actually thought Merritt juggled this one as it went over the behind line, but we are going to check upstairs with the arc.
So the soft call is a mark, which it seemed to be pretty straightforward at the time.
One bite of the cherry from McGrath, and then when he back with his right hand, as he controlled it in front of the behind line, he probably has.
Yep.
Review complete. Looking at these angles, we can see the ball's controlled before crossing the back of the behind line. Decision on the scoreboard.
On the SMS 0437 774 774, Lachlan from Footscray says, to be fair, North Melbourne have had a lot of practice in transition from the back half over the years.
Essendon haven't been able to stop anyone over that time, as well as Merritt. Moves it on to Ridley, who gives it to Redmond. Who's running out of the defensive 50, stabbing a pass for Durham. Right there with him, Daniel. He brings it down. And then he turns tackler on Durham. The ball spits out. The umpire lets them rumble, and McKercher.
Daniel, really good from Caleb Daniel.
Comes away with it for the Kangas. Gives it off to Davies Uniacke. Kicks inside 50. Larkey juggling it, trying to claim the mark. Tackled by Merritt. Taking the ground and a ball up. 35 out from the attacking goal here for North. North by 4.
Umpire throws the ball aloft. Tap comes down the way of Merritt. Jones tried to slap it on a Parrish. Loose ball, reeled in by McKercher. He's locked up, and the umpire will ball it up. Still in the left forward pocket for the Roos. North Melbourne by 4 points. A lot of numbers around this stoppage. As it's thrown in the air, Dawson tries to tap it down. Spills out, Parrish on all fours, gets a hand pass out, and Setterfield in the back pocket. Kicks too wide for Caddy, out of bounds on the full. A free kick to go the way of North Melbourne, and Aidan Corr to take it at left half forward. He veers into the right, takes every metre on offer, drives it long towards Larkey. Against 2, Reid brought it down to the front. Larkey gets a hand pass away to O'Sullivan. His hand pass is a turnover, and across half-back, Pryor gets a hand pass away as he looks to chip it now out towards half-back. Kako marks at left half-back for the Bombers.
Kako kicks to the wing, and it's a turnover. Mark taken by Sheasel. Kangaroos back in possession. Kicks laterally infield. McKercher marks. Loops a handball out in front of Stevens. Runs away with it. Kick smothered. Ricochets inside 50 for North. Gathered by Simpkin. Off to Dawson to O'Sullivan. Pokes it out wide. And Constanti on a diagonal back lead. Marks in the pocket. 30 out. Tight angle. Left forward pocket.
Got there in the end, the Kangaroos. A couple of errors coming out of defensive 50.
Laborious.
From, they were under a bit of pressure. The ball was in chaos mode, so it's always a challenge to try and get control from there. Just give it to someone who can use the footy. That's the key today, I think. O'Sullivan's a good guy. Let's start with him. That was a nice kick.
Former Swan, Jacob Constanti. His drop punt is just sliding across the face. No! Sneaks through. And the Kangas are out by 10 points. 3-6-24 plays 2-2-14. 5 into the second. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
It's almost merciful in the end. The game just is absolutely bereft of finishing power at the moment. Essendon having a heap of trouble just clearing the ball from their defensive half. Isaac Kako was the most recent one where he just turns it over directly to the Kangaroos, and they were able to, on that occasion, link it as they have done all afternoon, but they were able to finish it off there with Constanti doing the business. It was a nice set shot, to be fair. If they can string a few of those together, they could be in for a big afternoon, the Kangaroos.
I'm always reluctant to read these, but Nick from Bendigo says, sitting in the car listening while my little man naps in the back, made a dramatic exit from his 4th birthday after eating too much sugar. I'd still prefer cleaning up the vomit than watching Essendon routinely go backwards and sideways at the pace they are at the moment. I think we sort of agree with you, but anyway.
The zinger's coming through.
Harris got it up to Archie Perkins. It kicks to Kako, dropped the mark in the end in the right forward pocket. He lays the tackle on Harvey, and the ball is locked up in the right forward pocket.
Chest mark, he dropped.
Yeah, 0437 774 774. We might need some interaction, Benny, on the SMS line. The game's not giving us much.
Tapping it down beautifully, Dawson, and the Kangas trying to bounce off half-back. Though Zerha runs into a tackle, manages to get the handball away. It's a turnover. Merritt picks it up, centre half forward, kicks inside 50. Caddy hands on it, doesn't mark. Xavier Dersma roves, handball away. Kako stripped of it. And the soccering exit for North. And now they're away. Running through Blamires. The oil on the arms as well, Blamires, as the handball goes to O'Sullivan. His kick to the wing is a free kick somewhere, Wardlaw. So Wardlaw to come back and take it. We'll move it on to Spargo. Kicks out wide. Zane Dersma just cruises up and marks. 60 from home, North by 10. 7 minutes into the second.
He has Larkey deep in the pocket, decides to go shorter than that. Sheasel marks just outside 50. He'll take his absolute best, you'd imagine, from here.
No, he's not getting there from here.
Bombers have got numbers back, so he has to veer out right boundary side. Kicks towards Trembath, chopping in front Castandi. He dropped the mark though. Trembath knocks it out to O'Sullivan. Hand pass away to Larkey. The captain curls it on his right and misses to the left-hand side. 3 goals, 7 North Melbourne 25 to the Bombers 2-2-14. 11 points, the biggest lead of the match so far.
A really clever kick from Sheasel. Saw the lateral lead from Constanti. Just like he wasn't a custard tart, would have been all over his face.
Some of the baby oil from Lemires must have got on the ball a little bit slippery.
Why do players oil their arms?
Slip the tackle, isn't it?
Oh. Is that what they're going with, is it?
For TV.
Bit of aesthetic.
I'd have to ask Lidio on a Thursday night. He used to love the oil.
I always think of Ben Cousins.
Yes.
Cuz used to always have it.
Yeah, well, when you got arms like that, I'd oil them too.
All up on the wing. Ryan tapping it down. Sheasel trying to come through, leaves it behind. Daywicks flicks it over the top. A little bit of a rugby scrum. Essendon win the footy though. Parrish feeds it out to the runner McGrath. He can backfeed the handball, running by Durham. Room to steady, either sticks and finish. Durham does it.
My man.
And he loves it. He's got a couple. And it's back to 5 points. 3-7-25 plays 3-2-20. Bob Murphy, the 300 gamer, and Daniel Harford, the former Hawk and Blue.
Well, that's a bit more like it from Essendon there. There was actually a bit of method to it. It was Andy McGrath who burst clear and used the width, and Durham was in the perfect spot. He was where he was meant to be, and he put the foot down and finished the job. We haven't seen enough of it, but it was a spark, hopefully the start of something for the Bombers.
Well, that's exactly what you want to see, isn't it? I mean, you want to see is get out of the contest, use the space, draw the defenders in, find the width, and then go forward when you get your shoulders out. That's exactly what that looked like there for the Bombers. That's, if you're doing Solomon, that's what you're trying to sell.
It was good spacing, good clear decision making, and a good finish.
Dawson in the middle of the ground, one down the tap, but Brian gets involved. 1-2 with Sammy Durham, kicks inside 50, and in from the side, the mark is taken by Roby. Not the intended target, but read it best, coming in from the right, and chops in to take the mark in front of the key forwards.
Durham's the man. He's hit the Bombers a lot in this last couple of minutes, had the 10 disposals. Uses the ball really well, kicked the 2, obviously. It's a nice out of the centre bounce.
He does things with purpose, doesn't he, Durham?
Yeah, he's an energiser.
Roby, a round 9 Rising Star nominee against GWS. This to give the Bombers back the lead, directly in front, 35 metres out. Steers it straight through the middle. 2 in quick succession for the Bombers, and they take the lead by a point. 4-2-26 to North Melbourne, 3-7-25. So 10 scoring shots to 6, and yet it's the Bombers who find their way to the lead. 11 minutes gone in the second quarter. Daniel Harford and Bob Murphy with you on ABC Sport.
Yeah, the ways you can score really effectively, and more often than not, if you get a clean exit out the front of a centre restart, that's exactly what happened there on that occasion for the Bombers. It wasn't intended for Sullivan Roby, but he's a really good talent, this kid. I had some friends that have been a part of his junior journey, and he was always one that they would talk about as having AFL traits. And you watch him play and you think, that's exactly what he's got. He's going to be more than that.
You see, he was a boyhood Essendon fan. Did you see the story during the week? Ben Mackay tried to follow him on Instagram, couldn't find him. Turns out he blocked him because he'd sent him abusive messages.
That's very good.
End up being teammates. Blackiston wins the tap down. Dyson Sharp there for Essendon, gives it to Parrish. His kick to the wing favours Simpkin. So the Kangas take it back. Simpkin runs away down the wing. He'll cut infield and kick to Parker. Essendon by a point. 3rd lead change of the match. And as Parker switches it out towards the dockside wing, and Lemires will poke it over the top. Too much hang time, and Durham takes it back for Essendon. Intercept mark on the back flank.
They've done that pretty well, the Kangas. If they can't go straight up the middle, they use the width really well. They've got outside runners in position ready for it, whether or not they choose to use them all the time. The system is in place.
Durham back inside defensive 50 to Merritt, and then all the way back to Redmond. As at 15 metres out from his defensive goal, kicks to Blackiston, who had the height advantage against Simpkin. Hand pass away to Roby. Looks up towards half forward. The kick to a one-on-one. Perkins can't take the mark against Harvey, and it goes out of play. A boundary thrown at right half forward for the Bombers. They lead by a point. 3 lead changes throughout the match. 4-2-26 to North Melbourne, 3-7-25. 12.5 minutes gone. Second quarter. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Last 2 goals of the game, the way of Essendon. Caretaker coach Dean Solomon searching for his first win. Blackiston, Coleman Jones in front, just knocks it down, then he follows up. Stripped of it, bounces back to him, and he's tackled to ground. under the roof at Docklands. Essendon by a point, 13 minutes into the second. Whistle on the play. Free kick will go to Callum Coleman-Jones. Gives it off to McKercher. He'll kick around the wing, looking for Constanti. Bouncing ball. It's bumped by Reid, maybe just clipped as well. Lasso free kick anyway, going the way of the Essendon defender.
As the ball looks to come in, Durham has it on the wing. Just looks for options across half forward. Kick is over the head of Day Wicks and leading into space. Nate Caddy takes the mark.
Leading core, Mary Dance, when he gets a chance to use his legs. He's got space to work in Caddy. He's a fine athlete.
Only possession number 2 for the Bombers. Spearhead, but that's a beautiful pass to Perkins in the pocket. It gives him the thumbs up, having left space to lead into. Just the standard thumbs up in front of the nose. Exactly what we planned. Thanks very much. And now a chance to try and make good and extend this Essendon lead out to 7 points.
I know they like him deep forward, but he's such a versatile and athletic animal. Nate Caddy, you'd love to see him.
He's a Brumby, isn't he?
Yeah, you'd love to see him on the ground a bit more.
Dean Solomon's been very deliberate in the fact of they need to support him better. His spirit and his effort, so crucial for this young side. As Perkins fires on goal from the right forward pocket, it's across the face and misses to the left-hand side. A minor score. The Bombers double their lead, just 2 points though, as we tick past 14 minutes in the second quarter on ABC Sport.
Caleb Daniel brings it in. Luke Parker kicks it up towards the wing after receiving it, turns it over. Ridley the intercept mark. Essendon go back inside 50. Kick to the pocket, looking for Mackay. Caddy's there too. Mackay, a lot of it, doesn't take the mark. Gathers and handballs out towards Caddy.
Throw.
Yeah, it was called for a throw. So Luke Parker with a free kick. Often forgotten that Luke Parker was a runner-up in a Brownlow medal. Was 9 votes behind Patrick Dangerfield, but still second place. Moves it to Daniel. His kick too hot. Picked up by Essendon. McGrath fires on goal. It'll go to the goal square. Caddy, Mackay, take your pick. What about neither? Caddy ends up hatching an egg as Parker comes in to hold it up and a ball up at full forward here for the Bombers. Quarter hour into the second.
Coleman-Jones might just rush this through. He doesn't. Slaps it down to Sheasel. Meters out from their behind line. And then the hand pass comes to Caleb Daniel, who does step it across the line from Parker's hand pass. So a 3-point lead the way of the Bombers. As Caleb Daniel brings the Roos back into play. Down low, his kick to Parker, who gets the hand pass away to Coleman. At left half back. Sends it out wide for Larkey on the bounce. It's wide of him. And Zach Reid will get the lasso free kick for the Bombers and take it centre wing on the City side. Essendon by 3 points, 16 minutes gone, second quarter. It's across half back, where the mark is taken by Ridley. North led by 4 points at quarter time. As they switch it now, and Harry Jones has it left half back. Takes a mark and plays on, bouncing just a couple of steps after he took possession. To Roby through the middle of the ground, and now the hand pass to Farrow. Looks out towards the wing. Spots Zach Reid, who's pushed forward and in space at right half forward. 10 metres to space. He looks into the pocket. Chips it looking for Caldwell. Harvey crashed into him. No free kick. Kept alive by Perkins. Hemmed in against the boundary. He goes for the shot on goal.
Why?
Misses to the right-hand side.
Why would you take advantage of that situation, forced to kick another on the boundary?
No idea. It is a 4-point lead the way of the Bombers.
These are important games for...
At 5.
Archie Perkins.
Yeah, I agree. Been out of the side and back in here. Score brings it in, finds Sheasel, who goes back to Parker, off to McKercher, kicks the Roos into the middle. Zurha feeds McKercher, who's run on. Now he does a little slalom run, kicks inside 50, and it works out beautifully as Constanti sprawls to ground, taking the mark. 35 out, directly in front.
Slalom run indeed, Benny. That was the moment. And McKercher, that was very easy to watch on an afternoon that's been pretty tough at times to watch. That was very graceful, very creative, broke the game in two.
Jacob Constanti already kicked one today. Trying to double up and snatch back the lead. Jacob Constanti tugs it left but sneaks it through. He's used the full width of the goals with both of his majors. And North Melbourne, they lead by a couple of points. The fourth lead change of the match. 4-7-31, plays 4-5-29, 18 minutes into the second.
It's following the same pattern of the first quarter. First goal according to the Kangas, next two to Essendon, next one to the Kangas. It's the same, N-E-E-N, if you're doing it letter by letter, as I am on my piece of paper here. And that was, as you say, it was graceful. It was delicious almost to watch him just cut back through. And they're the sort of guys, they're the guys we spoke about pre-game that have to rise again, have to rise to their level of being really good players consistently for the Kangaroos to go again and be an ever-improving team. And he's showing a little bit today in patches. Like to see more from him. He's one. There's a real game breaker, Colby McKercher.
Daniel Harford with you on ABC Sport. The Kangas back in front by 2 points. Essendon with 2-3 to the Roos, 2-1 in this second quarter. Back in the middle of the ground, Parrish gets the clearance. Dodges and weaves away from Davies Jr. High ball to half forward. Perkins could have given away a free kick with a shove, not paid. Core gets a hand pass to the Roos. Back to Daniel across half back. Hand pass to Blamise. Feeds it back to Daniel. Looking into the middle of the ground. Kick looking for McKercher. He's
just open all day. The centre square is open all day for the Kangaroos.
The runway is wide open and McKercher is off. Takes a bounce. Now a second. Gets to half forward. Kick is out wide into the right forward pocket. Spargo races after it. Slaps it away from his opponent, but in the end it went straight to Merritt. His hand pass close to the boundary line, in the end taken over by Farrow for a throw-in.
Yeah, Luke Parker running shotgun with McKercher there. He just could have drawn the defender, fed it to Parker. He would have kicked it without any pressure from 40 metres out directly in front. Chose to go wide, missed it. Yeah, the joys of dealing with young players.
North by 2 points. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Lackiston backhands it down, fighting after it. Setterfield eventually shovels it out. We'll do it again.
You reckon by now, Bob, that they work out that if they get a chance to run with any level of purpose, the Bombers aren't really going to do too much to stop them. They just keep running at them and find the free player.
Lackiston bringing it down right at his own feet. Setterfield goes in, but it's North who win it through Coleman Jones. And they work it out back to Stevens. Now the kick inside 50. Comes from Goda. Can't find a target, and Essendon have the numbers. Farrow to clear. High floater. He's out of bounds on the full.
Straight to Loz.
Get the jukes up, Loz.
It was just slightly to my right. I could have climbed over the crowd here, maybe just stepped on a few heads.
Yeah, take some handers,
Mark of the day.
Anything to liven this game up.
Former Montmorency enforcer Lauren Borden, North Melbourne by 2 points, 20 minutes into the second.
Parker through the middle of the ground, takes the mark, kicks it to Caleb Daniel, has everyone in front of him though. With the Kangaroos leading by 2 points, kicks out to Zerha, who marks on the dockside wing. Plays on to the right, sends it high and long in the direction of Darling, 2 to compete against. Brought down by Reid. Free kick, says the umpire. And this is going to go the way of the Kangaroos and Jack Darling.
Yeah, arm around, I reckon.
So Reid with an arm around is what the umpire spotted.
Yep, I reckon it's there.
It's really a pretty careless free kick, given the Bombers had so many numbers back. Jack Darling will get his first shot on goal. 19 goals, 8 so far for him this season through 13 matches. He's best against the West Coast Eagles a few weeks ago now. Still a good contested mark in the forward 50. Tight angle, 20-odd metres out. Jack Darling looking to add some advantage here for the Roos, and he steers it through. The Kangas extend their lead to 8 points ahead of half-time. 5-7-37 to the Bombers, 4-5-29. 22 minutes gone in the second quarter. Daniel Harford and Bob Murphy with you for Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
It's a bit careless in the end, wasn't it? Yep. From Reid, just sort of dangling his arm over the shoulder of Jack Darling, who plays an important role for the Kangaroos. Jack Darling, you know, the skipper, how dangerous he is as that deep forward. Jack Darling, who's well into his 30s, played a lot of footy.
34 years of age, Bob, and he's still signed till 2027.
He still looks good though, doesn't he? For 34, he doesn't look like he's hampered by or slowed down by age at the moment.
He looked like that in year 8. to high school with Jack, and he was a man-child. Is back in the middle, tapped down by Dawson. They're all over it, and we'll do it again.
You wouldn't have picked on him.
What did you look like in?
Yeah. I didn't then, and I don't now. I don't look like Jack. So still in the middle, scrapping after it. Eventually fed out by Setterfield. Roby dispossessed. And North take it back. Sheasel flicks out the handball wide. Stevens back feeds it to Parker. He does the same to Daniel. Offensive point of the square here for the Roos. He'll kick out wide. Here is Darling. He flicks the handball over his head and out of bounds. So a lasso free kick. Essendon ball again. They lead by 8 points North. 22 minutes into this second term.
Well, Caldwell's kicking in the middle of the ground, looking for Setterfield. Spoiled away by Davies Uniacke. The two tangle in the middle of the ground. Setterfield lays the tackle and no further damage is done.
So talk me through it,
by
Benny.
8.
Was he king of the school? Was he one of those sort of kids?
Absolutely. Kicked 22 goals in a junior game one day.
That's a lot.
Fair day, yeah.
Dominating kick to kick. The kick from Parrish up towards half forward. Go to Gathers for the Roos. Loose hand pass. Sullivan Roby gathers. His hand pass missed Caldwell. Kako tries to slide in. Can't pick it up cleanly. Parrish tries to knock it on. Parker lays the tackle. Tackle might have lingered a little. Non-officiating umpire says free kick going the way of the Bombers. Darcy Parrish has it, but he's outside 50.
That's a terrible free kick.
He looks up. Spots the lead of Blackiston. It clears him. And Xavier Dersma gets to the very back of the pack. Elachgar goes racing after it. The small forward can't gather for the Bombers. McKercher, hand pass away to Zane Dersma. Almost reeled in. Just got a hand pass away to Sheasel at the last moment. To McKercher. Nice little sidestep as he led Harry Jones a merry dance and then kicks up to Trembath, who marks it right half back for the Roos.
Trembath on the back flank. North by 8 points. Lifts the kick over the top. Lemires just couldn't quite get there, and Merritt inadvertently soccers it out. No, it was off a North boot. Free kick going the way of Merritt. Didn't seem to know. He chased after it, picked it up from the gutter. Merritt will retreat. And they do go a long way back here, Essendon. On the switch, back to Setterfield on the back flank. He kicks into the middle. Luckily, it's a good kick. Sharp marks. McGrath tries to play on. He can't take advantage from a mark, so it has to go back to Dyson Sharp. Sharp moves it out wide and finds Redmond. So they'll try the city wing here, Essendon. Farrow feeds it onto the run of Ridley. He'll kick inside 50, looking for Blackiston. Zerha marks defensively for the Kangas. And they'll try and rebuild from the back. North lead by 8 points, 25 minutes into the second.
As the Roos look for an avenue out of defence. Short pass from Go to find Sheasel. He gets a hand pass over the top to Caleb Daniel. He can chip it up the wing. Harvey slipped over, was able to take the mark. Up by way play on, not 15. Gave it back to Daniel anyway, to Simpkin. They run the hand pass up the wing. Castandi in a bit more space, takes a bounce, looks over, had Merritt in tow. Hand pass away to Dawson from right up forward. He kicks it straight to an Essendon jumper. Pryor slipped over though, still a chance. Stephen runs onto the open goal and puts it through. Essendon players are appealing for touch. It was a calamity of errors really from both sides. And Stevens with a chance to try and pounce for the Roos to make it 4-2 in this second quarter and open up a 14-point lead. 6-7-43 to the Bombers, 4-5-29. 25 minutes gone, second quarter. Sunday footy on ABC Sport with Daniel Harford and Bob Murphy.
Well, they got there in the end. It could have been a whole lot easier, and they make hard work of it, the Kangas, forward to centre. It really is a challenge for them to have any level of connection. Just looking at the replay, there was an immediate claim for touched. I don't think it's going to be easy to adjudicate anything outside of what the goal umpire has told us at the moment, but it was an immediate claim.
The slip over from Pryor is hard to coach, isn't it, when you're the loose player back and they kick it straight to you?
Well, how it got to him in the first place was my challenge.
There's a lot of mistakes out there today.
Ooh.
Right
was touched.
There we go.
Daniel Harford all over it. Scrub that out of the record.
Didn't write it in.
A lot of the copybook.
A good call. So rather than a 15-point lead, it's now a 9-point lead as the ball has to go from the middle of Docklands all the way down to full-back for the Bombers.
That's technology for good. Using it for good. This is okay.
All goals reviewed on their way back to the middle. Redmond with the kick-in duties. Out wide for Jones. Jones on the back flank here for the Dons. Wants to switch. Moves it across to Ridley. So Ridley in the opposite back pocket. North by 9 points. Ridley exits on his kick. Sets a task there for Farrow and he's impeded. Spargo, the fourth-generation league footballer. A little overzealous there. Free kick to the Don. And he wants to switch. So the double switch here for Essendon. As he moves it back to Ridley and I hear someone in the crowd saying, come on.
Disappointingly for you, it wasn't a V-switch then.
Yeah, I know.
You love a V-switch.
They love the V-switch, Essendon. Their V's too deep, though.
Well, it's more of a U.
Zach Merritt from half-back releases Andy McGrath. The former captain and the current captain running and dodging and weaving. Wardlaw off a chase. Inside 50. Caddy surely
Got to be.
Up with one arm. The umpire eventually spots it. And the free kick to go the way of the Bombers in the right forward pocket. Aidan Corr tugging on the right arm as he tried to go up and present. And in the end, it was a rather easy call for the umpire to make.
But because McGrath took the game on and ran at the Kangas, which they haven't done all day. And that's a matchup you've got to exploit too. If you're Dean Solomon, you've got to exploit Caddy and Corr. He's all over him. He's absolutely mauling him in every facet of the game.
That was a free kick of panic, wasn't it?
Yep.
Nate Caddy, slightly right of centre, kicking from 35 metres out. Hits the post, slamming 3/4 of the way up into the left goal post. The Bombers now can't take their chance. And it's an 8-point lead the way of the Kangaroos. 29 minutes gone. Second quarter on ABC Sport.
Daniel to quarter Comben. And 24 or 25 broken bones, Charlie Comben, but he's lost count, given it's such a high number. Kicks to a contest. Larkey attacks it, brings it to ground, and then falls on his Essendon opponent to force the ball up.
Well, that was better from Essendon, where they were able to get themselves in defensive spots that forced the Kangaroos to go long to a contest.
North by 8 points. Tapped down by Bryant. Setterfield tackled. Umpire wants it. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Up it goes again. Dawson. Neat little backhand down for Davies Uniacke. Handball to McKercher to Simpkin. Feeds it forward beautifully to Wardlaw. Now they're out. Short kick for Darling. 2 kicks from home on between the wing and the half-forward flank.
Yes, Darling. Darling has Larkey as the deepest forward against Reid. Comes inboard to McKercher. Tries to swing it out to the far side of the ground. Presenting in the end. Parker not paid a free kick. Stevens runs onto it. Can he redeem himself after his goal was disallowed? He chips it back to centre half forward. Where the mark is taken by Goda out to the left. So closing in on half-time. Comes inboard to Trembath. The Bombers have all their numbers back now. Hand pass around the back to Caleb Daniel. Drives it inside 50. Larkey in the back. Can't take the mark. Spills to the back. Getting onto it. Reid gets a hand pass away to Sharp end in the back pocket. That looked to be a throw.
100% throw.
Got it back to Zach Reid. Quick 1-2 with Farrow. Larkey ushers him over the goal line and through for a rush behind. North Melbourne's lead is 9 points. Don't forget, still to come, Fremantle and the Gold Coast Suns. For our WA listeners, we'll take you there after the ABC News. Tyler does ask the question on the SMS, why are there 2 games that start overlapping, given the fact we only have the 2 games of the bye taking place today?
So this game needs to be at 3:15 for Channel 7, who's the host broadcaster, so that it feeds into the news, which begins at 6 p.m. So 7, who pay the money for the game, they wanted it at that time, so that's when it is. And then if you put the other game in Perth, you can't have it before this game because that would be 10 a.m. in Perth.
Yep.
And then if you put it too much later, Fremantle wouldn't like it because it's too late on a Sunday night.
How late would it be if it was... So it's 5 o'clock here.
5:10, so 2:10 there.
3:10, is it? Why couldn't they play at 3:30?
If they start at... Well, I mean, theoretically they could. It would have to start at probably 4 p.m. their time. Start at 6 our time.
What's wrong with that?
They would say that's too late. They wouldn't like that.
Have you seen the times they play all through the year?
They don't play much later than 2:40 on a Sunday.
Don't play any 4:40s?
Not on a Sunday.
Not on a Sunday?
Not on a Sunday. The 2:40 game in Perth on a Sunday is like that's a traditional slot. I've called innumerable games 2:40 on a Sunday.
I'm not buying any of this, by the way.
No, they don't play a single game later than 2:40 on a Sunday.
Well, why not?
I don't think. Yeah, I'm not saying that they couldn't.
Why couldn't they? Yeah, that's the question.
But the only reason I would think is that Fremantle wouldn't want it later than that for their fans.
All right, there you go, Tyler. You've sparked debate amongst our team here in the Combox.
It'll be coming up later on, Tyler.
At halftime, North Melbourne by 9 points, 5-9-39 to the Bombers, 4-6-30. As you could hear in the background, they're just chipping the ball in the back pocket. The Bombers, as they're happy to see, to the main break. So the Kangaroos with 3 goals to Essendon's 2 in that second quarter after the Roos led by 4 points at quarter time. We've had 4 lead changes throughout the match. The Bombers took the lead midway through the second quarter before the last 2 goals of the half resulted in a Kangaroos lead. So 5-9-39 the Roos to the Bombers 4-6-30. The goal kickers, 2 for Costanti, individuals Davies, Uniacke, Simpkin and Darling for the Roos, while Sammy Durham has 2 for the Bombers, Ben Mackay and Roby, the other goal kickers. Bob Murphy, with your thoughts to half-time. The Kangas hold a 9-point lead, but it hasn't been the prettiest picture to watch.
No, it's been a tough watch. There's been a lot of skill errors. There's been players slipping over. There's been some unusual decisions from both teams and some untidy ball use. But if the North Melbourne Footy Club, if they can get their inside 50 connection in some sort of shape, then they should run away with this game quite comfortably. They've got more skill, they've got more depth on their list, and they are moving the ball with ease, really, in the front 2/3 of the ground. I've said that at quarter time. It's been the story of the day. They just can't finish off their work often enough, so they've left the door just ever so slightly ajar. You wouldn't say that Essendon have looked especially dangerous for great portions of this game, but they're only 9 points behind. So they're still in this game. They haven't looked like it, but North Melbourne have been reluctant to put them out of their misery at the same time.
I've just realised, 3:10 is now when they start the Sunday games in Perth. It was 2:40 when I was there.
There you go, so they're moving it back already.
3:10, but yeah, that's been consistent from last year. They would generally start their Sunday games, which is when tonight starts. But you would want it later than that. If you moved it back another hour, it would start at 4:10 Perth time.
Who's that hurting? And all footy fans, not just Fremantle fans, and I understand the local scene. You want to get there and get home for dinner and all that sort of stuff. But you could do that with a 4:30 start or 4:40 start, couldn't you? 4:10 start?
Or just have a pie for dinner.
Or just have a pie.
You're at the footy, have a pie for dinner.
And then,
because I'd have the pie and then have dinner when I get home.
Yeah, absolutely. If we're talking about maximising dollars from broadcasters, where there is, and the fact they would want minimal overlaps, you would think.
You don't want to cannibalise your audience.
Absolutely, Benny.
All right, we can pick up on this on the other side of the ABC News. So if you're an Essendon fan, what are you thinking at half-time?
We've got away with it a little bit so far
We're still in it.
today, but we're still in it, yeah. We should be much further behind, but we're not. So that means we're half a chance still. I just think that play late in the quarter where Andrew McGrath ran through from centre wing, forward to centre wing, drew the defence, fast play, had North Melbourne defenders scrambling, ended up giving a free kick away. Aidan Cole gave a free kick away to Nate Caddy hit the post. That's what they need to do more of. They need to be more assertive, particularly centre forward, but even centre back, as Bob's touched on a few times, of the way they hold the ball and switch it too far back and concede too much ground. Take it to the game. Take the game forward and see what you can do.
When they go forward, they look dangerous.
Yeah.
We've only seen a few moments of that. You know, Durham had a couple of good moments. The McGrath one that you have just mentioned there, half. That's when they can actually unsettle North Melbourne. When they go slow and backwards, North Melbourne love that. They're quite happy with that scenario.
It's an area where you can exploit the Kangas. Defensively, they're fragile.
Yep.
That's where you can get them. So why not challenge them? That's what I'd be saying if I was an Essendon supporter right now.
So Dylan Stevens had a shot that was touched off the boot, so North could have led by more at half-time. Nate Caddy's shot hit the post, so they're 4-6. They could have been a little closer, if not in front. But the Kangas lead by 9 points at half-time, 5-9-39 to the Bombers, 4-6-30. If you're listening to us in WA and you want to keep following the action at Docklands, you can find us, of course, on ABC Listen. Just look for the AFL button. And for our WA listeners, you are off to the match in Perth between the Fremantle Dockers and the Gold Coast Suns. For the moment, though, we'll pause and bring you the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. There are increasing signs of public frustration with the Venezuelan government's relief effort in response to the country's massive twin earthquakes that have killed at least 1,400 people, with tens of thousands still missing. The BBC's Will Grant reports from the La Guaira region, where health workers face enormous challenges.
Hospitals along the northern coastline, the worst hit area, are at breaking point. A healthcare system underfunded for decades is now struggling to cope with a demand that would be tough for countries with much better infrastructure. Doctors and nurses are doing what they can in the most trying circumstances most will ever experience in their lives. After earthquakes, rescue teams say the first 48 hours are the most crucial. those have long passed. And as the scale of this disaster becomes clearer to Venezuelans, they're facing the grim truth that the search for survivors will very soon become a task of retrieving the victims' bodies.
US officials say there have been no reported American casualties, major impacts or damage after Iran launched multiple missiles and drones towards neighbouring countries, including Bahrain and Kuwait. The Iranian strikes come after the US carried out new strikes over what it called violations of their interim ceasefire agreement. As the tit-for-tat strikes continue, US President Donald Trump says there may come a point where Washington will no longer be able to be reasonable. And if that happens, the Islamic Republic of Iran will no longer exist. Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps says US attacks contradict the ceasefire agreement and will bring all ongoing processes towards a permanent peace deal to a halt. Queensland Police have taken part in a series of counter-terrorism exercises across the state in response to the fatal Bondi Beach and Bondi Junction attacks. Officers participated in drills involving armed offenders at Lang Park in Brisbane and at several shopping centres in southeast Queensland, along with Cairns, Rockhampton and Mackay. Deputy Commissioner Cheryl Scanlon says the exercises prepare police, first responders and security personnel in the case of an emergency.
This is designed so that they can respond in a coordinated and decisive manner to any type of attack that could occur. Our counter-terrorism training is practical, it's realistic and it's scenario-based. We don't wait for an incident to happen, we need to test our systems and we are testing them now.
Animal welfare agencies don't know the fate of a humpback whale that was spotted off Sydney's coast, entangled in ropes and buoys. The 8-metre whale was last spotted near Cronulla yesterday, webbed in green rope and 5 white buoys. The National Parks and Wildlife Service attached a satellite tracker to the whale, but it hasn't provided an update on its location today, preventing an attempt to disentangle it. Jessica Fox of the whale rescue organisation Orca says the humpback whale could be on the south coast if there was no change to its trajectory.
Unfortunately, today we haven't had any calls in and none of our Orca members along the coast have been able to sight it. People who are out there on boats, we ask that you please look out for it.
2 hikers lost in Kosciuszko National Park have been rescued using drone technology that emergency crews believe reduced the search by days. Peter Lusted takes up the story.
2 men in their early 20s became lost and were reported missing while hiking 35 kilometres southwest of Jindabyne earlier this week. Fire and Rescue New South Wales used a remote-controlled drone with thermal imaging and AI detection to find them just 5 hours later. Emergency officials used the drone's inbuilt speaker to contact the hikers. They were eventually guided out of the park and didn't require medical treatment. Fire and Rescue New South Wales says it's the first time the technology has successfully been used to rescue a hiker.
Turning to sport, in Portugal and Colombia have played out a tense draw in their final World Cup soccer group game. Amanda Shalala reports from Boston.
Both sides had already qualified for the knockout stage, but still went all out for the win in Miami. Davidson Sanchez thought he had the winner in stoppage time, but was marginally offside. The South Americans still top the group with that result. England finished on top of its group thanks to a 2-0 win over Panama. Harry Kane became the Three Lions' all-time leading tournament goal scorer with 11. And DR Congo's 3-1 victory over Uzbekistan has secured it a spot in the round of 32.
And the Queensland Government has locked in a deal to host a new Anzac Day Bledisloe Cup rugby union match between the Wallabies and the All Blacks. The state will hold the rugby matches at Lang Park in 2027, 2029 and 2031. ABC News.
Villa wins it. From Olympic glory to criminal infamy.
I went straight to the dark side.
In an ABC News documentary.
I didn't fear prison, I didn't fear anything.
Deep End, the Scott Miller story. Streaming now on ABC iView.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Parrish feeds it out to the runner McGrath. He can backfeed the handball, running by Durham. Room to steady, either sticks and finish. Durham does it. And he loves it. He's got a couple.
Dawson in the middle of the ground, one down the tap, but Brian gets involved. 1-2 with Sammy Durham. Kicks inside 50. And in from the side, the mark is taken by Roby. Not the intended target, but Red and Best coming in from the right. And chops in to take the mark in front of the key forwards.
This to give the Bombers back the lead, directly in front, 35 metres out. Steers it straight through the middle.
Feeds McKercher, who's run on. Now he does a little slalom run, kicks inside 50, and it works out beautifully as Constanti sprawls to ground, taking the mark. 35 out, directly in front. Trying to double up and snatch back the lead. Jacob Constanti hugs it left, but sneaks it through. He's used the full width of the goals with both of his majors.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Half-time at Docklands for round 16. It's North Melbourne who lead by 9 points at the main break. 5-9-39 to the Bombers 4-6-30. Matt Clinch and Ben Cameron call the action. Lauren Borden down on the boundary with Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford, your experts on ABC Sport. As we've all been swept up in the World Cup fever, Australia through, and they will take on Egypt. Ned Hall has been keeping us across all the action for the day results.
Ned Hall here with a wrap of day 17 at the FIFA World Cup, where all 72 matches of the group stage have now been completed and the lineup for the round of 32 is complete. But we were kept guessing right down to the final minute of the game between Algeria and Austria, which many tipped to be a tedious affair with a point suiting both teams. It was anything but, with both teams throwing plenty forward and Austria taking the lead twice before Algeria came back. But then, when it looked like the game was fizzling out with Austria content to get a draw, this happened.
It is back-to-back games in which they take at least a point after falling behind. Maybe they can still get more. Slipped it home! Algeria got ahead! Norris! Do you believe this? They may have just knocked Austria out of the World Cup!
Algeria 3-2 up, 3 minutes into added time, which would send Austria home and see Iran cling on to the third-placed spot and gain revenge for 1982's disgrace of Gijón, when Austria and West Germany contrived a 1-0 German win that sent the Desert Foxes out of the tournament. But as you'll hear with the commentary on SBS, the match wasn't done.
The service across, snap back through, the header down is in! Austria's alive! Collides it! Celebrating into the corner! They were out! It was over! Austria back in the World Cup!
I've literally just laughed, Mike, because have you ever seen anything like it?
No, and I may never again.
So Austria through in second place, but they now face Spain, while Algeria plays Switzerland. And Iran, denied a goal that would have sent them through yesterday by the finest of margins, were briefly back in the tournament, but they finish now as the 9th ranked of the third-placed finishers. Senegal in 8th, thanks to their 5-0 win against Iraq. Argentina decided to rest Lionel Messi and start him from the bench against Jordan. They led with goals from Gio Lo Celso and Lautaro Martinez, although Jordan pulled a goal back, and there was still time for the little maestro to step off the pine and score his 6th goal of the tournament in a 3-1 win. They faced Cabo Verde in the round of 32. And earlier, England had again toiled against an opponent who set out to frustrate them. Panama held England out until the second half, when an inspired, cheeky finish from Jude Bellingham, nicking in at the near post off a corner and followed by a Harry Kane header, saw England through, while Panama returned home without scoring a goal. Croatia jumped up to second in that group with a 2-1 win over Ghana, although their prize is a meeting with Portugal, who finished the group stage in second place after a goalless draw with Colombia, and the South Americans were unlucky to have a late goal chalked off for an offside by the width of a blade of grass, and they dominated Cristiano Ronaldo's side. Colombia will now take on Ghana. And the Democratic Republic of Congo won their first ever World Cup match at their second World Cup 52 years after their first. They came from a goal down to beat Uzbekistan, with striker Johan Wissa leading the way.
Johan Wissa! Oh! That'll do! Johan Wissa, the main man again for DR Congo!
They'll now meet England, and for a country who's undergone so much trauma with civil unrest and a current outbreak of Ebola, the joy on the faces of their fans showed how much this moment in the sun meant to them.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Sport.
AFL. On ABC Radio.
On digital. And ABC Listen.
Look for the AFL button.
Half-time at Docklands, North Melbourne leading by 9 points over the Bombers. Thanks to Ned Hall for all the details around the World Cup. Don't forget there is a podcast available, the ABC Sport Daily Podcast, featuring former Australian keeper Mark Schwarzer as Australia prepared to take on Egypt next Saturday at 4 a.m. Matt Clinch alongside Ben Cameron calling the action. Lauren Borden down on the boundary. Daniel Harford and Bob Murphy. Bob's been following the fate of the Socceroos, passionately invested. 4 a.m. start for you next Saturday. Bob, that would normally be easy for you, but it is a day off.
Yeah, Saturday 4 a.m. I'd be low chance. Low.
Questionable.
Probably not going to set the alarm for that one. But I'll be interested.
Body clock.
It'll be the first thing I wake up and ask.
Body clock will get
what happened.
You won't even have to try. You'll be up. You'll be so excited about it.
Maybe I need it, yeah.
What time do you wake up on the weekend?
This feels pretty personal all of a sudden. 6:30?
Yeah.
6?
Still way too early for a weekend.
I'm not a big sleep-in guy. Although I am a big afternoon nap guy.
I was going to say.
Hey, you've got to be that, yeah.
Well, now it's like it's just like demands it. But I've always been, I've always enjoyed a little nap in the afternoon. But I don't like a sleep in. Anyway, that's me, guys. Let us know what your thoughts are. 0437 774 774.
As you can hear, Bob Murphy on ABC 774 Melbourne, Monday to Friday alongside Rochelle. He's got it all covered. There is so much sport taking place at the moment. The Women's T20 World Cup continues. Coverage is on ABC. Listen tonight. Australia's match against India tonight is going to be a crucial game. That's around 11:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. So some big questions for Shelley Nitschke in terms of what the selection will be for that Australian side from Lords tonight, Australia and India on ABC. Listen, the AFL Daily Podcast is available with Ben Cameron and Daniel Harford tomorrow morning. And in the netball last night, it was the Melbourne Vixens who prevailed over the West Coast Fever.
I was there.
You were there.
My word, I was watching.
Tough one for Benny.
Done. Yeah, bad luck to you,
Tough
Benny.
So you went from the VFL yesterday to the netball last night.
I did. Had a great night. It's a great show, the netball. Super netball is a fantastic thing, and the Vixens were awesome from the start.
So the Thunderbirds take on the Vixens in the grand final next week.
You a bit upset about that still, Benny?
No.
It's all right, mate.
Between that and the scheduling for Fremantle games,
he's at a mess.
WA stuff, it always just rears its head at some point in the afternoon.
Wait till you start talking syllables with his wife.
And the test match between England and New Zealand from Trent Bridge, I'm just going to power on.
She had a few issues with Nunawading.
Okay. New Zealand are 3 for 120. That's stumps on day 3. So they lead England by 204 runs. England posting 354. So such a fascinating series taking place with the return of Ben Stokes. The players have returned back to position. North Melbourne leading by 9 points. And we're just a few moments from getting the second half underway. 0437 774 774.
Got to wait for someone to stop yelling before we can start the game, I think.
What have you thought of the Wiggles interaction as a North Melbourne home game?
I'm all like, I don't mind the Wiggles. The Wiggles are good. I just hate when people yell at me.
Yeah. Why does every ground announcer feel the need to scream into that mic? Second half underway. North Melbourne by 9 points. Neither ruck decisive. They go again at ground level. Picked up there by Davies Uniacke, who gives it off to Wardlaw, who kicks inside 50, looking for Larkey. He can't take the mark. Knocked away by Reid in the pocket. Tracking after it there, McGrath. Runs the gauntlet on the last line. Handball to Reid. Stays in play. Essendon still with the footy. Moves it on to Farrow. In their back pocket, he'll get it on towards Merritt. It goes back to McGrath. And Essendon will look to complete the switch as he goes back to Reid. Reid can kick to Redmond on the back flank. And what can Essendon build from here? Shorts it for Pryor. So North by 9 points, opening minute of this second half.
Caleb Daniel with 23 disposals. Harry Sheasel with 22. Darcy Parish, the leading possession getter for the Bombers, with 16. Pryor tries to chisel, kick over the wing. It's over. Sullivan Roby's head. Perkins tries to race after it. Parker gets there first. Taps it back to Coleman. Tackle by Perkins. Can't get it back to Parker. Down low, Durham makes the contest. Fino Sullivan wins it for the Roos. Hand pass to Parker, now to Goda. They train a hand pass forward.
to Luke Davies-Uniacke, who's in two minds, draws his opponent in Farrow. Hand pass over the top to Sheasel, to Simpkin. The hand pass game working for the Roos. Back to Sheasel, chips it in the pocket, and Darling marks. It was a slow build-up, but they got there in the end, just working their way through the Bombers' defenders.
Well, that's the problem. The Bombers' defenders weren't working their way through the North Melbourne attacking. Very, very slow to react. On their heels, not a great intent. You talked before about, early in the first quarter, I reckon, Bob, about Caleb Daniel and his intent, or Luke Davies-Uniacke's intent to tackle. Bombers didn't really ever want to lay a body, get a body there.
Jack Darling's put multiple goals in 4 games so far this season, slightly left of centre. For the first of the third quarter, he comes in with that deliberate approach and drives it through for his second for the Roos. They start with intent inside 2 minutes to stretch it out to a 15-point lead. The Kangaroos 6-9-45 to the Bombers 4-6-30. Daniel Harford and Bob Murphy, your experts. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
There was a nice bit of build-up play there from the Kangaroos. Harry Sheasel's a good player. He was too fast, too creative. Got involved there. This is very subjective half, but watching Essendon defend when North Melbourne are moving the ball through the middle of the ground, they have an air of, do I have to?
Yeah.
They're imitating an AFL defender. But they're really, I'm not sure if their hearts are absolutely in it.
There was a moment after the first centre bounce where the Kangas got the ball at half back and he handballed forward. I can't remember who it was. But Durham was calling for someone to go and press up and put some pressure on. And they didn't. And he just stood there with his hands out saying, what are you doing, mate? That's become a what are you doing, mate, sort of team at the moment.
North with the clearance, but they turn it over and Durham wins it back for Essendon. He kicks up to half forward. Picked up by Daniel of the Kangas, though. Gives it off to Davies-Uniacke. And steps around Setterfield, who was tackling Ghost for a moment there. Chips it over the top and finds O'Sullivan.
Why is Ben Mackay forced to stand sideways?
There's no one on the mark. Was Mackay called to stand metres to the side? That was very bizarre. O'Sullivan kicks inside 50 and Larkey illegally taken off the footy. Reid with the infraction. And Larkey will go back and kick for goal.
That was bizarre for Ben Mackay to have to stand 90 degrees to the mark and just open up the whole play-on opportunity.
It's probably not in the top 6 strangest thing that's happened today either. And it was odd.
I'm not sure that's part of the game, is it? As to how we design it.
Chips it inside 50. O'Sullivan's run on.
That can't be how it looks.
And he marks 35 metres out, 5 metres in from the boundary line. Quite an acute angle. He moves it on to Simpkin.
It's just too easy.
Now playing with their foot at the moment, the Kangas. Simpkin, a nicer angle. Just better than 45 degrees, 35 metres out the mark.
Dare I say it, it's a marshmallow-ish.
Nice. No, well inserted.
Jai Simpkin already has a goal in this game today. Been going at about a goal every 2 games this season. Trots in, puts his laces through it, misses left. North by 16, 5 into the third. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
One thing you should never do is troll the team's Instagrams at halftime for their updates, like I did, and just get the vibe of the supporter base. It wasn't overly positive for the Kangas supporters.
Merritt's kick in, chopped off by Coda. Hand pass back to Wardlaw. He's had to tap it all the way back to the centre of the city wing. He gathers and his kick is a turnover. Xavier Dersma marks it left half back. Looks to swing it inside the defensive 50. Farrow marks for the Bombers. North Melbourne by 16 points. Biggest lead of the match. Farrow had chase.
Got him!
Gets him. Top of the goal square. Thought him had him covered, but the big man showed great athletic prowess. Then there's a shove to the face of Sheasley, who wanted to get in and say a word or two. And this, it's only the top of the goal square. Could have been a 50, but it's not. And Cooper Trembath, whose popularity and skill is just growing. A chance for him to put through his first goal of the match, 23 of the season. 193 centimetres, the 20-year-old, to put through a second goal in quick succession for the Kangas to start this third quarter. Trembath after the tackle, slams through the goal. And the Kangaroos extend their lead. They're out to 22 points. 7-10-52 to the Bombers 4-6-30. It's now 4 goals either side of half-time through 6 minutes of the third quarter. Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford, your experts on ABC Sport.
Well, I reckon that happens, the indecision that we saw there for the free kick to be given away, it happens because there's been no directive to be assertive and to be aggressive with their play. Everything's really safe, really conservative, runs across goal, looking for something, not quite sure. Second guesses himself. Trembath sort of gets him, probably didn't hold him long enough for a free kick, but that's what happens these days. I just reckon it's a mindset thing with Essendon. It's coaching and it's a mindset, and it's not the way it needs to be for them.
Last 4 goals of the game, the way of the Kangas, Lauren Borden.
Mason Redmond's got a little niggle, so he had an issue in the second quarter but was happy to play on. This time he's actually just had a chat to the doctor and gone straight down into the rooms.
Trembath into the right. Boy, he can get upstairs as Davies Uniacke picks it up off the deck, gives it to O'Sullivan, to Trembath, to Sheasel, back to Davies Uniacke, trying to break the tackle, gets some latitude and gets rid of it to O'Sullivan. He'll kick laterally and find son of Boomer, keeper Harvey, in the middle of the ground. And he sends it inside 50 for a leading Larkey. Hands to it, ball hits the deck. Taken by Farrow of the Dons. Tackled by Constanti, who can't take him to ground. But a ball up, 35 out from the attacking goal for North.
Kangas by 22 points, thrown up. Bryant tapped it down. Tackle, Dersma, that's Xavier dispossessed, spills out to Sheasel, got it forward somehow, dropped it to his boot. Spargo tackled the full 360, no whistle as Reid laid the tackle. Sheasel follows up, lays a tackle on Harry Jones. Ball in the right forward pocket for the Roos, and the umpire crosses himself and will ball it up. Only about 15 metres out from the Kangaroos' goal. Having kicked the last 4 goals of the match. Coleman Jones tangles with Bryan. Bryan wins down the tap, Sheasel after it. McGrath careful not to get him high. Ball stuck underneath Sheasel. Umpire put his whistle to his mouth, waited a few more moments, and now we'll ball it up in the right forward pocket.
North by 22. Up it goes. Both rucks with hands on it. Coleman Jones brings it down. McGrath takes it. It's a crocodile roll from Spargo. We'll go again. Right forward pocket here for the Kangas. Last 2 goals of the first half, first 2 of the second half. Coleman Jones taps it down boundary side. Sharp's in there. Goes back to Coleman Jones, who centres it. Ridley marks defensive goal square for Essendon. Feeds the handball out. Has the support of Reid. He gives it to Pryor. Has to kick on his right. His kick is a good one for Day Wicks. Slides up to Mark, backward to the wing.
Wants to get the hand pass to Ridley, who's running up the wing, dodging, weaving. Hand pass to Roby, just got a hand pass over the top, but missed Perkins. They turn it over. Daniel gets it forward to Simpkin. Got a block from O'Sullivan. Around Ridley, sends it to half forward where the mark is taken by Coleman Jones. He's at left half forward. He and Harry Jones colliding, so just taking a little while to get back to their feet. The 2 big fellas. Coleman Jones is going to kick it inboard to Harvey. He marks still about 75 metres out from home. At left half forward for the Roos. Looks inside 50. Great kick to Spargo.
It's a really good kick. He's been good today, Cooper Harvey.
10 metres of space in front of him and just beautifully positioned it in front of him. And the Bombers didn't have a loose player in defence to try and help out. It has been all a little too easy for the Roos. When you look at the disposals half, so an extra 67 disposals for the Roos, 267 to 200.
Yep. That's problematic. 18 inside 50s is no good either for the Bombers. 18. They're the lowest inside 50 team of the competition. So unexpected, but not unexpected, but 18's very low.
Charlie Spargo from directly in front, 45 metres out, steers it through for his first of the afternoon. 3 quick goals in this third quarter through 10 minutes in the last 5 of the match. See North Melbourne out by 28 points, as wide as it's been this afternoon. 8:10:58 to the Bombers, 4:6:30 ahead of half. And Bob, Lauren Borden on the boundary.
So Essendon has said they're checking on some knee soreness for Mason Redmond. That's the reason he's down in the rooms. Obviously, he missed quite a few games earlier this season with a meniscus tear in his left knee. They haven't confirmed which knee he's having a bit of an issue with, but the doctor's come back out and he's looking at a bit of vision at the moment. Mason Redmond's still in the rooms.
This is much better from the Kangas. They're taking toll. Full toll against this ill-disciplined defensive unit from the Bombers. It doesn't matter where the ball is. When they haven't got it, they're all defenders and they're not doing a good enough job in system or in effort at the moment. And the Kangaroos finally are taking toll. So that's good for the Kangaroo supporters. They've deserved this lead.
It's a good kick by Cooper Harvey, but Charlie Spargo was on his own 30 metres out directly in front for a long, long time.
Yep.
Channel right up the middle. Bryant.
Pretty dangerous part of the ground.
Wins the tap down. Setterfield able to feed it out to Sharp. So an Essendon ball, he gives it to Pryor, kick smothered, ricochets back for Davies Uniacke. He does a beautiful pirouette and sets McKercher free. He'll feed the forward handball away to Simpkin. His kick looking for Larkey, got him.
Stop it.
And that is exquisite from North.
Stop the fight.
Throw in the white towel.
Stop the fight.
19-13, the clearances the way of North Melbourne. 9-5 out of the centre bounce.
So that's an interesting stat, Clinchy, because at quarter time, centre bounce was 4-1 Kangas. Second quarter, the Bombers flipped that 4-1 for their way in the second quarter. So they got clearances back on track 9-6 in the second term, 4-1 out of the centre. So they were getting their hands on the footy. Now they've got nowhere near it, and they're getting absolutely reamed the other way when the Kangas get it.
Nick Larkey misses right on the drop punt. Trying to steer it home. Couldn't find the major opening. North's lead, 29 points.
Used to be the best kick in football, Nick Larkey.
What's happened there? 12 minutes into the third term, by the way.
So 3 behinds for him this afternoon as
you just see that
pressure comes and the kick from the Bombers readily out of defence turns it over. 4 behinds has been.
Yeah, 4 behinds.
So Lasso free kick and Cooper Harvey's going to take it. He just pokes that kick inside 50. It's over the head of Larkey this time and Ridley redeems himself taking a contested mark. Chips the Bombers back to the last line of defence. Xavier Dersma marks, swings it out to Perkins. He marks in the back pocket, veers out to the right, looks long up the city wing in the direction of Durham. And also Solomon Roby off hands. Caleb Daniel sees it over the boundary line. And the umpire says it's a Kangaroos free kick. Before that, it's going the way of Cam Zurhaar. And his new role across half-back. He was, of course, for the Kangaroos, their second leading goal kicker last season. They got it into the middle of the ground where Dawson drives it long towards full forward. Larkey's against the pack. It's spoiled away to the front. Perkins runs onto it for the Bombers. Hand pass to Farrow. Just led him into a tackle. Your problem. As he locked up in the right forward pocket for the Bombers. They are hunting for goals, the Kangaroos, at the moment. 13 minutes gone, third quarter.
Up it goes. Dawson wins the palm down, but McGrath steals it for Essendon. In their back pocket, gives it off to Farrow to Sharp. Davies Uniacke bringing the defensive intent today. Great rundown tackle, throw in half forward for North. Lauren Borden.
Mason Redmond's back up doing some run-throughs and he has got his left knee pretty heavily strapped, so that's where he had a meniscus tear. A little earlier on, he's just grimaced as he's done a bit of a run-through, so I'll keep a watch on him.
From the throw-in, bounces in front of the rucks. Dawson taps it back boundary side, and in the end, Blamires, he's able to win it for North. Wardlaw keeps it in. Blackiston takes possession for Essendon. Gives it back to Xavier Dersma, kicks to the back pocket, and Harrison Jones.
Put themselves under enormous pressure with these defensive kicks.
North by 29 as Jones sets it long to a contest and punched away by Comben. Throwing coming. Bob and Half, have either of you had a meniscus?
Yes.
So apparently you can play through them, but it's harder to... There comes a point where it becomes more difficult. Is that right?
Well, there's variations. Yeah. There's degrees of meniscus problem.
Yeah.
I had surgery in February, funnily enough.
Oh, wow.
My meniscus, and it took a long time to heal. Now I'm not quite as elite as I once was.
You would have done all the rehab exercises.
Still in the ballpark, but not
quite the peak. Yeah.
Durham, the hand pass away to Andy McGrath, running through the middle of Docklands, drives it long to one-on-ones. Il Hatcher works underneath it, and in the end, the intercepting mark taken for the Roos. So good win across half-back as Stevens takes the mark. Cooper Harvey taking that mark across half-back.
I like this role for him across half-back. It's worked well.
Stevens out to core. So Harvey, having broken his way into the side against the West Coast Eagles, this is his third game on the bounce, having to toil away at VFL level. Cam Zurhaar takes the mark across half-back. What do you think about the role for Cam? Is it something they can persist with, or is it a short-term solution?
I'd like to think it's short-term, and they get someone that can cover that, he can go forward and be a part of the solution for their forward troubles.
And Caleb Daniel share the footy. Zurhaar up to Sheasel at half forward to Stevens into the pocket. Good pass. Finds Dawson. He marks about 10 metres in from the boundary in the left forward pocket, and Will Dawson now going back to have the shot on goal. It's the opportunity with no Tristan Sherry, 200 centimetres, the 20-year-old in his third season, picked 20 in 2023. He comes close to the man on the mark, trying to fire on goal. It's across the face to the right. And it clears Larkey and a couple of defenders Pryor and Ridley through for a minor score. It is a 30-point lead. The Kangas way, 15 minutes gone. Third quarter, Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Reid looks up the middle from the kick in. Trying to get it to Farrow, he does. Who gives it to Roby, who gives it to Durham. Shares it again with Farrow. Kicks deep into the pocket. Mackay on the back lead, one hand to it. Doesn't take the mark. And Cooper Harvey doing a good job. Fighting on against one of his dad's former teammates. He goes in again at ground level. So too does Sheasel. And eventually it ends in a ball up. The left forward pocket here for Essendon. One of their rare attacking forays in this third term.
It's 2 inside 50s for the Bombers for the term. That's the second one.
Up it goes. Blackiston brings it down for Sharp. Leaves it behind. Stevens there of North Melbourne. Handball a turnover to Durham. Runs out of a runway. Carries it out. Throw in left forward pocket. North by 30. 17 played in the third.
Half, I know how this sounds, but Essendon look better when they go forward and not backwards.
Need their shark mantra. Got to go forward.
Blackiston wins the tap down to the front against Will Dawson. Sheasel kept it alive. Hand pass away. Sullivan off balance. He puts it out on the full. Alashkar brought the pressure. And as a result, the kick went wide. So free kick going the Bombers' way, as Half mentioned. Just their third inside 50 for this third quarter. The Kangaroos have put on 3 goals, 3-0 so far through this third quarter.
It's going to cause some internal combustion for some Essendon supporters, that comment, Bob.
Alashkar looks to open up the angle and curls it through with a touch of class. Oh, they needed something, and he has delivered a special goal from the right forward pocket. The 19-year-old picked 53 last year. Was regarded as a top 40 prospect. He's got that goal now, so it was on display there as he's able to curl it through and put through his first goal and his 5th of the season. And boy, the Bombers needed that. Breaks a string of 5 unanswered goals the way of the Kangaroos. Back to 24 points. North Melbourne 8-12-60 to the Bombers 5-6-36. 18 minutes gone, third quarter. Sunday footy on ABC Sport with Bob and Half.
It was a great finish. Sullivan under pressure. It's going to happen in those situations. Kick the ball out of bounds on the full. It is a terrific finish. These days the players are tremendous at being able to achieve that. It was a nice little moment for Alashkar. The problem is it goes back to the centre and the Kangas are 4-zip this quarter.
Trembath leaping high, tapping it down to Wardlaw, and he does clear it. Long and inside 50. Shallow. Oh! Dersma. Oh, that was Zane. He got very high, didn't hold on to the mark. Out the back, McGrath gets rid of it to Farrow, and he's corralled over. A rush behind. Oof, as high as the roof, just about. North by 25.
He is 190 centimetres, Zane Dersma. He took one of those marks against Richmond a couple of seasons ago. That's what he's capable of. Daywicks tries to kick up towards Caddy, 2-on-1. Core had support. It was knocked down by Dersma by Zerha. Ball comes out. Alashkar trying to knock it away for the Bombers. He's at right half forward as he's tackled and locked up. And Cooper Harvey doing the work at ground levels, forces a stoppage at right half forward for the Bombers.
A lot of Zs and Us, mate. It can happen.
So that goal for the Bombers coming at the 24-minute mark. The previous goal was at the 11-minute mark of the second quarter as Parrish into the pocket. Caddy drops the mark. Had separation from his opponent. He might have been taken high as well as he's laying face down on the turf. Parker gets a hand pass back to Comben. Zerha around the body. That's not a clearing kick. O'Sullivan's underneath it. It clears him and Daywicks. Hand pass comes from behind from Durham. Rim to the turf was Merritt and the umpire will board up. 50 out from the Bombers' goal. Lauren Borden on the boundary.
It looks like Caddy's just pointing his left knee a little bit. He's running okay now, but both of the doctors have come out to check on him.
Brian tapping it down, but again North come away with the footy through Sheasel. He moves it out to Spargo. Short kick for Darling. Darling marks on the wing. A little bit of contact from Reid. Darling looks further afield in the Simpkin direction, half forward. He plucks it.
Good kick, good mark, good system.
Very wide out.
Dersma got out of the way so he could lead into that narrow lane. Good teamwork from the Kangaroos. That's good connection. We like that.
Darling now offering a lead. That's where Simpkin heads. Hands to it, doesn't mark. Darling on his backside, flicks it out. Sheasel picks it up, gets rid of it to Spargo. Right forward pocket, centering kick. Only Essendon are there through Bryan. Marks at fullback. North by 25. 21 minutes into the third term.
The voice of Ben Cameron alongside Matt Clinch, Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford, your experts. Lauren Borden down on the boundary. Nate Caddy has stayed out there for the moment, so that's the good news for Essendon fans. Pryor kicks short to Sharp, who marks at left half back, up the wing. Durham takes the mark. Can feed the hand pass around the side. That's sold Now, unfortunately, his teammate Redmond, who's come back onto the field in all sorts of trouble. Davies Uvier overran the footy. Farrow tries to get a hand pass back to Redmond, not moving all that well. Sharp gets the hand pass, releases Durham, and now runs the city wing. Gets away from a couple of roos. Hand pass away to Harry Jones. Cuts back on his right. Long ball looking for Mackay. Won't get to him. Caddy in front. Has it spoiled away from him. And off hands it goes out of play in the left forward pocket for the Bombers.
Has there been a shift, Bob, with Essendon's ball movement?
It looks like they're trying to at least move it forward. Eyes are forward. They haven't quite nailed it yet, but not as wide and as slow as they were previously.
Bryant slaps it to the back. Onto it quickly. There is Durham, who gives a handball away to Kako, who moves it on to Merritt. He kicks into the pocket. Finds Alashka. Goes back to Bryan. Centering ball. Punched away. And through for a minor score. So North, their lead cut back to 24 points. 22 minutes into the third term.
It's quickly brought back into play by Luke Parker. Into the pocket. Finds Cooper Harvey. Has Parker running around the boundary line. So gives it back to him. Looks inboard. Centering ball finds McKercher. He can play on and hand pass over the top to Sheasel. He's got an option in the middle of the crowd. It's Stevens. The kick is wide, but he's got time to run on it. Just has to get it over Harry Jones, and now Darling's out. At right half forward, looks inboard. Trembath on the lead. And that has been the problem for Essendon all afternoon. Through the middle of the ground, they get the loose option across half forward, and then it's take your pick as to what you want to do next.
So Essendon players who are off ball, so they're not in the immediate vicinity where the ball is, seemingly, particularly lateral open side players, just watch the game. They don't think they're a part of the defensive system to try and lock up space.
No, it's survival motive. I'm doing my bit over here. I'm looking after I got my guy over here.
I'm not convinced they're doing that. Yeah. They're just watching the game.
Cooper Trembath from right in front, 45 metres out. His kick just drifts to the left and through for a minor score. So 25-point lead the way of the Kangaroos. Now 8 goals, 14. 62 to the Bombers, 5-7-37.
Pryor brings it in, moves it on to Andy McGrath, who gets it off to Redmond, kick smothered, ricochets away and carried out by Caleb Daniel. Umpire wants to spin it back in. North 25 points to the good. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Coleman, Jones and Bryant and lock up. Coleman Jones slaps it on. Wardlaw in pursuit. Can't run it in. We'll do it again. Goes straight out over the interchange gates. Finn O'Sullivan just trots on. We'll be careful with that, as his namesake Finn Callaghan found out back on Friday night. Go on through the interchange gates. 50-metre penalty ensued. Ryan backhands it down on the wing. Holding free kick. It'll go to Davies Uniacke. So North Melbourne ball. Feeds the handball to the run of Daniel. He'll kick inside 50. Larkey, a wide out lead, and he marks. Very wide out. 1 metre into the boundary line. And 47 metres out for the North skipper.
He'll probably kick this.
4 behinds this afternoon.
He's having a look inside. He's not 100% sure he wants to, but he might be forced to. Exactly high percentage for a guy who's kicked 4 points.
No. You kick it from right on the elbow of 50 in the boundary line. It's across the face, marking contest, swatted through by Blackiston. North's lead out to 26 points. 2 minutes and 22 seconds to play in the third term.
What do you reckon the marks inside 50 have been, Half, if you were to have a stab?
Well, I knew at half time was 8-4 in favour of the Kangas. I'd imagine that's now up to about 14-5, maybe
17-4.
And no more additions for the Bombers. 17
marks inside 50, and they've kicked 8 goals, 15.
And there's been a few double ups, haven't there?
Yep.
Which are frustrating for coaches.
Andy McGrath hugs the boundary line with a kick, which is marked just by Archer Day-Wicks. The right half back. He doesn't have any movement in front of him, so he thinks about going backwards, but now has to veer out to the left and drive it up the line. Caddies against a few. Trembath dropped an uncontested mark at the back. Hand pass came out from Blamires. Gets the hand pass to Core. Simpkin at half back. Gestures for Stevens along the boundary line. That'll be a last touch free kick. And the Bombers will take it back in front of the bench.
So Day-Wicks, the recipient. And he'll go with that Big switch for Essendon.
What shape?
That's nearly a V switch,
Yes.
and they complete it. And as Reid sends it out towards the city wing, finds Pryor. He can go for a little gallop. Going forward now, finds Sharp. 60 from home, nothing he likes quickly. Looking inside 50.
Perkins on.
Pokes it out wide, and Perkins is on the end of it.
That was good.
That might be their best ball movement of the day.
Now, they went back, the big V switch.
And they went quick.
But they went quick.
Yeah.
Off the whiteboard.
That's the key to the whole thing. Can't just sit there and hold it once it goes backwards.
Which they often do. It's like Bob says, it's not just a big, deep U switch. They do it slowly. It's like, get the ball moving.
That's the whole intent of the switch. To open side space, get it going, keep it moving.
I don't reckon there'll be a heap of corkies come out of this game today. No ice baths after this one.
Archie Perkins from right on 50. His drop punt is missing. Missing to the left-hand side. North the lead by 4 goals exactly as we close in on three-quarter time.
14-5, the inside 50s away of North Melbourne in this third quarter. As Harvey brings it in to Goda. Hand pass to Parker in the pocket. Got it away to Daniel. Almost run down in the end. Good pressure coming. There's the kick up the wing. Zane Dersma dropped the mark. Now pressure at ground level. Spargo was clean. Got in there in front of Harry Jones. Wins the footy. His hand pass, though, is locked up on the wing. Blamires is tackled. The pressure coming from Archie Perkins. Umpire throws it up. Bryan wins down the tap against Coleman Jones. Hand pass comes to O'Sullivan to Daniels across half back. Blamires looks close to the boundary line. Spargo the target. Pryor there right with him as offhands. The ball goes out of play, and that takes us to three-quarter time. North Melbourne by 25 points at three-quarter time. After 3 goals, 6 to the Bombers, 1 goal, 2 in that third quarter. North Melbourne 8-15, 63 to the Bombers, 5-8, 38. After North Melbourne led by 4 points at quarter time, by 9 points at half time. It's the Kangaroos who lead by 25 points at three-quarter time. We've had 4 lead changes throughout the match, but North Melbourne really took control since the middle stages of the second quarter. For the Kangaroos, 2 goals to Costanti and to Darling, individuals to Trembath, Spargo and Jai Simpkin, alongside Luke Davies-Uniacke, with an afternoon for Nick Larkey with 4 behind, so he hasn't hit the scoreboard. While for the Bombers, 2 goals to Sammy Durham, individuals to Roby, Mackay and El Ashgar for the Bombers. Three-quarter time here at Docklands. North Melbourne leading by 25 points. The match has just got underway between Fremantle and the Gold Coast Suns from Perth Stadium. There is an ABC call available, so if you want to listen to that, it's available on ABC Listen. Just look for the AFL Extra button. Great to have your company on Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Tammy Shipley believed someone was out to hurt her. She's put under 24-hour surveillance, and then something strange happens.
Ambulance emergency.
Tammy's story. Search background briefing on ABC Listen.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Get the half-pass game working for the Roos. Back to Sheasel, chips it into the pocket, and Darling marks. It was a slow build-up, but they got there in the end, just working their way through the Bombers' defenders. Jack Darling's put multiple goals in 4 games so far this season, slightly left of centre. For the first of the third quarter, he comes in with that deliberate approach and drives it through for his second for the Roos. Looks inside 50. Great kick to Spargo.
Really good kick. He's been good today, Cooper Harvey.
10 metres of space in front of him. He just beautifully positioned it in front of him. The Bombers didn't have a loose player in defence to try and help out. Charlie Spargo from directly in front. 45 metres out. Steers it through for his first of the afternoon. 3 quick goals in this third quarter through 10 minutes in the last 5 of the match. Hand pass to O'Sullivan off balance. He puts it out on the full. Alashkar brought the pressure. And as a result, the kick went wide. So free kick on the Bombers' way. Just their third inside 50 for this third quarter. The Kangaroos have put on 3 goals, 3 to nothing so far through this third quarter. Alashkar looks to open up the angle and curls it through with a touch of class. Oh, they needed something, and he has delivered a special goal from the right forward pocket.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
A run of 5 goals of 6 either side of half-time as the Kangaroos out by 25 points as they look to break away from the Bombers. 8-15, 63 to Essendon, 5-8, 38. Matt Clich and Ben Cameron calling the action. Lauren Borden down on the boundary. The thoughts of our experts, Daniel Harford and Bob Murphy.
Well, the Kangaroos, when they get it together, when they can connect forward, they're far too good. And they piled on 3 or 4 goals in that third term, and it looked like how far. And then it was back to the well-worn path that we've seen this afternoon, where it's been just a pretty scrappy affair. But the building story for me personally, just watching Essendon, they're just so easy to play against. Their attitude to team defence is, at best, it's nonchalant, and at worst, it's probably just selfish and uncompetitive. But they don't tackle enough. They don't try hard enough to get the ball off the opposition. And when they win the ball, they're too inclined to go slowly and backwards. And occasionally they come to life and they look forward and run forward and go forward, and you think, oh, there's something. And then it quickly goes away, and then it's back on their heels, and it's the slow and backwards, and just letting North Melbourne do as they please through the middle of the ground. So the game hasn't reached any great heights. Occasionally North put the foot down and look far too good, but we just don't see it all that often.
I reckon Alistair Clarkson to be annoyed. Yep. The way the Kangaroos have played. Now, 25 points is nowhere near enough of a lead for what they've been able to, what they should have done to their Bombers this afternoon. So I reckon he'd be annoyed, and he should be able to really get stuck into him, I reckon.
It looks like a 12-goal win.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? Like when you're just watching the two teams play.
It may still be one, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Geez, they've missed some chances, haven't they? 8 goals, 15 in front of goal, and you saw the chase run-down tackle from Cooper Trimbath, so that's the improvement for the Kangaroos, but they've still got some finishing work they need to get a lot better on against the better play sides.
And that's right. So this is the chance to actually try a bit of that and get better at those things against the team that's nowhere near good enough. And just some of the numbers from the third quarter, just to back up how insipid our friends from the red and black have been. So contested possession that quarter, 27-16. 16's a really no number.
16
contested possession for the quarter.
Far out.
It gets worse. Marks inside 50, 9-1 in favour of the Kangas. Clearances 9-4. Centre clearances 5-0. Inside 50s 14-5.
So if you've got that stat at three-quarter time, the centre bounce clearances, surely Dean Solomon has to change something, don't he?
Yep.
He can't keep doing what he's doing.
Well, yeah. I'd be throwing Zach Merritt in there now.
So Sharp, Durham, Setterfield have been sort of three of the main 5 that have been in there throughout the match. Caldwell's going in there, Parrish is in there, and he's putting Sullivan Roby to start this final term.
So here's the kicker though for the quarter. Essendon had 7 tackles. 7. Like the Kangas had a bit of the ball, and were running. Essendon had 7 tackles. So that's what I'm saying. If you're Clarko, you would be annoyed, because these are numbers that we need to be really controlling this game and putting our foot to the throat of these guys.
North led their disposals 95-77, and yet North won the tackles 17-7.
Yeah.
On the SMS 0437 774 774. Damien from West Meadow says, have 2 coaches from the same club been sacked in one season? Asking for a friend. Phil from Jan Jark says, when Essendon played Carlton, they played like their life depended on it. Where's that? Plenty of questions from the Bombers fans wondering
they're
where
entitled.
this intent is.
They're entitled to do that today, and keep the zingers coming. I'm enjoying the humour off the SMS this afternoon. But Bombers fans are entitled to ask what the hell's going on here.
Borders from Bayswater says, they look flat. Are there any bring back James Hurt signs? Can't see any of them in the crowd.
There was some outside on the concourse.
They come off the bye.
Final term underway. North Melbourne by 25 points as we kick things off on ABC Sport. Caldwell gets it forward. The hand pass couldn't quite link up with Jones, although Sullivan Roby gathers for the Bombers. Drives them inside 50 first. Mackay the deepest target. Caddy back with a flight. Can't take the mark, and it's rushed through in the end. Goda getting back. Sees it through for a minor score. So centre bounce clearance there, Daniel Harper.
Yes.
24-point lead the way the Kangas inside 30 seconds.
That's progress.
So Goda with the kick in. Sends it long off the hands of the pack, out the back. Blamires, up at a Rove. He turns and kicks beautifully for Costanti, who marks in stride. Feeds the handball to Wardlaw. Runs through 60, through 50. Eyes the goals. Larky chuckles it. Drops it over the line or behind.
That was the one he could have left.
Oh, it was perfect from North, all the way down the city wing until the last moment. Not to be. North by 25 points, 1 minute into the fourth.
Zach Merritt takes the mark from the kick-in from Zach Reid, and the Bombers work it up the wing. The mark is taken at left half back by Day Wicks. Merritt with 19 disposals. Redmond leads the way for the Bombers with 20, while 32 for Harry Sheasel. He's on the bench at the moment. Caleb Daniel with 29 for the Roos.
That's the kick.
Yeah.
Through the middle of the ground, Redmond took the mark from Daywicks. Better ball movement. Parrish gets the hand pass, kicks out to Blackiston. Feeds the hand pass to Ridley. Boundary side, he's got a loose option in Jones. He's just inside 50. He's only about 5 metres in from the boundary.
Hudson targets corridor there. I know Jones was free by himself, but he's on the junction in the vortex pocket. Back to Ridley.
Gets the hand pass away. Ridley on the run. Drives it to the goal line. Caddy's in the pack. Xavier Dersma flew as well. Daniel in the end keeps it alive on the behind line. Hand pass away to Simpkin. Looks up to half back. Castandi's the target. Can't take the mark. McGrath puts enough pressure on him and off hands it goes out of play. They're throwing it left half forward for the Kangaroos. They lead by 25 points. Meanwhile, over in the West, the Dockers score first. They're 1-2-8 to the Gold Coast Suns, yet to score through 9 minutes.
Been hanging on that game too for the Gold Coast Suns just quietly.
We learnt last week as well, off air, I think, that Bob Murphy was the man who introduced the Rollers and the Rockers, the second verse to be sung as part of the Dockers song, as Xavier Dersma gets the clearance towards full forward. Bouncing ball, and Aidan Corr happy to slap it through.
Legacy piece.
Yeah.
Only the greats leave legacies for songs.
Norths by 24 points. Daniel Harford claims he invented the...
No, there's no claiming.
No, he did invent
this is fact.
4-3-2-1-1 for all, the way we are at Hawthorn.
That is good.
Invented the
that came off the middle of the bat.
Yeah.
Well done to you.
Cooper Harvey had a couple of involvements trying to clear the defensive 50, then turned it straight over. Harry Jones takes the mark as Redmond streaming forward, demanding it. He eventually chips it to him at right half forward, moving a bit better with that meniscus injury. Out wide to the right, sends it long to the goal square. It's a great effort, and it's just touched. Is it on the goal line? Now, Caddy thinks it might have cleared. O'Sullivan got a hand to it. Was he over the line? I don't know if he did.
What's going on?
We're going to go upstairs and
no
have a look at it. I think the lunging hand has actually failed to make contact, and it might have hit Ben Mackay, but over the goal line.
Check number 4.
Score review. Umpires call as goal. Please confirm.
So the soft call is at a goal. There was no touch.
Could it be goal to Redmond?
Yeah, this is the Redmond goal from outside 50.
Situation. Yeah. Righto, let's have a look.
So Caddy let it go. Has it hit Corr maybe on the way through?
Oh, it was touched by Mackay at least.
Yeah, Mackay was in front of the goal line.
Did it go over? It never went over, and was it...
It was touched by Mackay first, though.
Over by Corr.
I think it was touched by Mackay, then it's come off Corr's leg and then gone over the line. I think there's about 2 touches there.
When does Caddy kick it, though?
Yeah, because I don't think it actually crossed the line when Mackay touched it initially, according to seeing the replay.
So now we're looking to see that Caddy got a toe poke on it, but was the ball over the line?
This is the best metaphor for this game. Just an absolute...
and when Mason Redmond had the shot, I didn't realise there was this much going on the goal line.
Can you just take it back for me a few frames, please?
Yeah.
And we in control this or not?
I don't think so. I'm not sure anyone's in control for what it's worth.
That's not helping that view. Let's go back to where...
Why are we looking at this?
The Ark has had a tougher day than most of the Kangaroo
Looking at these
players.
angles, there is insufficient evidence to determine if the ball is touched after making contact with the Essendon attacker's boot. Decision on the scoreboard.
So that Essendon attacker is Nate Caddy on the goal line, and the decision is going to be given all clear a goal. Umpires call a goal, therefore that's what we finish up with, and Caddy gets the first goal of the final term after a long debate. So what's that? 3 minutes 13 was when the game was stopped at 5 minutes, so a minute and a half. It's an important goal for the Bombers that just keeps this game slightly flickering. North Melbourne by 18 points.
Got up.
And think of how much better they've been. Only been going 5 minutes, or 3 minutes really before the 2 minute delay. How much better Essendon have been in this last term with their movement.
They're looking forward, they're running forward, they're starting to get a little bit of overlap. They're a different team when they go forward.
So Caddy with 1 goal, won the margin back to 18 points. North Melbourne 8-16-64. The Bombers 6-10-46.
Let's see if they can get a centre bounce. Or centre clearance.
Dawson and Bryan. Bryan taps it back, stolen by Davies Uniacke, who's on the burst. Roby holds him up. Back feeds to Parker. Hurries a kick inside 50. Free kick will go the way of Essendon.
Been good, Redmond. He might be sore, but he plays with a bit of heart and soul, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a try.
Shorts his kick to Roby. Defensive edge of the square. Roby goes back to McGrath. North by 18 points. McGrath shorts it for Parrish. Dangerous. Wardlaw breaks it up. Wins it at ground level. Picks it up. Runs into a tackle. Gets a handball away. Allows him Parrish. Parrish knocks it out towards Farrow. Nice pick up Zane Dersma. He's legged. Free kick going the way of North. McKercher takes the advantage and finds Larkey leading up at the footy. And it all started with George Wardlaw, who was able to break it up. And the kick into the corridor from McGrath. He's a little worse for wear.
Well, Georgie again. Is he be prepared to be guarded off by two trainers?
There's a run-off, which says a bit about him.
Breaks into a trot. As Larkey's drop punt is a captain's goal. Settles down this game. His first of the afternoon after 4 behinds. And it's back to 4 goals the lead. 9:16.70 plays 6:10.46. 7.5 into the final term.
Finally gets one. It was the kick backwards from Roby. From inside the square, back inside defensive 50, then they go back inside the square again. That's where the turnover happens. Get the free kick and the ball comes back in. And we've been lamenting that all day. And just talked about the progress they'd made in that first 3.5 minutes of the quarter. Just getting it forward, taking the game forward. And they retreat and they pay a price.
Sometimes you have to go backwards, but it just feels like it's high on their priority list. As soon as they get the opportunity, I'll go backwards.
And when you're 18 points down the last quarter, you kick 6 for the game.
Lauren Borden on the boundary.
George Wardlaw's limping down into the rooms now. You talk about heart and soul players. Every single player that was on the North Melbourne bench, some of the support staff as well, giving him a big rub on the head and just a pat on the back. Well done, and probably hoping everything's okay as well.
Thanks, Loz. Blackerson got it down to Parrish. Hand pass to Sullivan Roby. Now gets the hand pass out wide to Redmond. Smothered in the end by Costanti. Ricochet straight back to him, though. Redmond just kicks short. Sharp, not 15. Call to play on. Sends it into the pocket. Leading up, Core takes the mark. He read it better than Caddy, who was looking to head back to the goal square. And Core gets a hand pass away to Zurhar in the back pocket. Swings it out to Stevens, who marks in the right back pocket for the Roos. Hand pass to Caleb Daniel, to Sheasel, who spent the first 5 minutes of this final term on the bench. Possession number 33 coming up for him. With the Roos by 24 points. Gives it back to Caleb Daniel.
Daniel pretty content to go back inside defensive 50 and find Comben. Loops it for McKercher, the little road runner. He kicks into the middle, waits his kick over, shoots Cooper Harvey, and Roby takes it back for Essendon. Gives it to McGrath, just buffeted as he kicked, and his kick a turnover. Comben marks defensively for North.
He lacks penetration with his kicking, Andy McGrath, doesn't he?
Yep. North by 24 points.
Daniel works it out of defence. Jack Darling marks a couple of goals for him this afternoon. Same as Costanti. The Roos up the wing. Sheasel gets a hand pass away to Spargo. Back to Darling. Had to quickly get it away. Around Pryor. Back to Sheasel. The half forward to Dawson. Gives it back to Sheasel, who's been involved 3 or 4 times. And a beautiful kick across the face. Jones is outnumbered. 2-on-1 and Lucky charges his way through and marks in front of Blamires and a couple of others. Nick Larkey is sensing the occasion and rises to take a mark, looking to kick back-to-back goals. And after an inaccurate day with 1 goal 4, chance to finish with a bit of a flurry here.
Vintage Scotty West work there from Harry Sheasel. Just a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 type situation for him.
Up to 36 disposals.
He does it very well. The Essendon players, they are allowed to put the bumper bars up and stop him.
After Caddy got it back to 3 goals, Nick Larkey misses the chance to make it 5 goals, and now it's a 25-point lead, missing to the left-hand side. 5 for him this afternoon.
Ridley's kick in a shocker. Turnover. Constanti lets them off the hook. It was a little casual Ridley, as he was looking for Farrow.
It was never the option.
No. North by 26 points. Farrow. He kicks for Sharp. That's not much of a better option. Broken up by Larkey. Sharp pinches it back. Holding free kick. It'll go to North.
Doesn't look like they're doing a lot of work on their kick-ins, the Bombers, at the moment.
Sheasel, the recipient. Mark set 45 metres out. Merritt ambles over to stand the mark. It seems a little rudderless at the moment, doesn't it?
It's soulless, yeah.
But it's like they don't even have a plan as to what they're going to try and do. It's like, I just see what you can find on the kick-in.
I haven't seen every game clearly live, but this is as bad a performance as I've seen from any team all year.
Wow.
Harry Sheasel, drop punt from 48. A growing champion in the game, but he misses this left. North by 27. They've kicked 9-19. Essendon is 6-10. 11 and a half minutes into the fourth.
Let's see if the Bombers can get out of the defensive 50 here.
Kangas against Freo. We had top billing before this.
Last week. Farrow out of defence. Kick is a turnover. Parker takes the mark, backpedaling. Marks in front of Durham. Turns and comes inboard to Stevens, who marks at the point of the edge of the centre square at centre half forward. Dons have pushed all their numbers back inside the defensive 50. So Stevens just puts it into a dangerous spot. Larkey leans into Mackay, who takes the mark. Mackay reaches over the back and back in defence, takes the mark for the Bombers. Out past to Farrow, a couple of bounces as he looks to run his way out of defence, tries to draw Spargo. Out pass up the wing. Perkins tries to break the tackle of Costandi, gets it back to McGrath, back to Farrow across half back. He's going to take a couple of bounces and look to switch. Can he execute the kick here? Pryor's the target. He's streaming into the back 50 and marks in the left back pocket. Lauren Borden on the boundary.
It looks like good news for George Wardlaw. He's come back up to the field. He's gone for a bit of a run along the sidelines, doing some sidestepping, and he's sitting at the front of the bench. So it looks to be good news for George Wardlaw at the moment.
Thanks, Loz.
What was your favourite sideline warm-up activity, Loz?
I always sing the Bee Gees in the car on the way to the ground.
Which song in particular?
Staying Alive, I reckon.
No disco, the 1960s stuff, like words.
There you go, nice.
Good.
Here goes McGrath running down the city wing. Gives it off to Ridley, who gives it back to McGrath, back to Ridley. All by hand. Ridley again out of bounds with the handball at Mrs. Perkins. Lasso free kick. It'll go the way of the Kangas. North by 27.
Staying Alive is not really a song you want to reinforce when you're behind the wheel.
No. This has been a tough watch at times throughout the afternoon. Kick from Blamires up to a contest from Larkey and out of play. North by 27 points. And Essendon are going to make it one win in 28 games.
And I think the talkback lines might be hot on a Monday for Dean Solomon as he tries to implement a game plan that at the moment looks a long way off. Sheasel gets a hand pass away, across half back to Parker. They'll work it back to fullback and Charlie Comben takes the mark. He plays on. Has Stevens at half back running into space. Now Ashgar offers chase. Stevens gathers. Get a hand pass back, but it's a little loose in the end. Good tackle by Harvey has prevented the hand pass from Sharp. Alachka gets it forward to Perkins. Looks up inside 50 over the head of Caddy. And in the end, Comben takes an uncontested mark and swings it for the Roos. Loose kick into the back pocket, but Daniel races after it.
Gathers. Shorty's kick on, and it's a neat little kick away to Blamires.
So they don't need to do anything here, the Kangas, really.
Still got all of that baby oil on the pipes. Blamires might be one for the SMSs. This game runs its course.
There would have been reapplication at the break. It's important to reapply, like sunscreen it is.
Short to Daniel, short to Comben, back to Daniel.
How often? You're not reapplying when you come to the bench, eh?
On the pie chart of, like, for athletic versus breaking tackles, how much do you reckon the oil, what's the split for you, Half?
90-10.
Yeah.
Yeah, 98.
I think that's even...
98-2.
98-2, I think.
Finn O'Sullivan's kick up the wing. Pryor got a shove right in the middle of the back from Jack Darling, and the umpire spotted that free kick of the Bombers at half back.
Let's go forward here, come on.
Might have realised the Stingers well and truly out of this game. It's a 27-point lead North Melbourne's way after Nate Caddy kicked the first goal of the final term. That kick, almost a turnover. Caleb Daniel cannon into by Parrish. Taken by Durham, gives it back to Parrish through the corridor. Kicks to El Hatchka, who has looked as the most threatening forward for the Bombers really this afternoon. He has two alongside Sammy Durham. And the small forward leads up and marks pretty much directly in front. 40 metres out from goal.
Went forward, bit of luck. Not a lot of system to it, but at least they took the game forward. Be surprised what happens sometimes.
5-2.
What's to lose for the Bombers trying to get the game going forward?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? The margin's only going to blow out. Now Ashgar looking for his second goal. As he starts his approach, comes in, strikes it from 45. Good-looking kick. And he puts through his second. And the game remains alive for the moment. 21 points at the 16-minute mark of the final term. The reality is it hasn't felt that close all afternoon. 9-19, the Kangaroos 73 to the Bombers 7-10-52. Daniel Harford and Bob Murphy with you on ABC Sport. Out west, it's the Dockers who have booted the first 4 goals of the game. They're 4-2-26 to the Gold Coast Suns, 2 behinds. 22 minutes gone in the opening term.
They haven't had much to hang their hat on today, the Essendon Footy Club, but Al Ashker has had a couple of nice moments. The snap from the boundary earlier was spectacular, and that was just a nice little tick lead. He's got some power.
Yeah.
He's got some real kicking power, strong through the hips. A couple of nice moments.
We've lamented the death of the tick lead, along with getting the wings out, but Us has brought it back. Lauren Borden.
Caleb Daniel looks to be winded. Clinchy, you called that passage of play where he flew in the air and came down pretty hard. Just sucking in some breath on the sidelines at the moment.
North by 21. Parrish gives it out to Caldwell and moves it on to Farrell. Forward handball. Redmond draws the man, then feeds Caldwell. Caldwell runs to half-forward centre and kick. And it's a good one for Merritt. He marks 35 out directly in front. And I was about to throw something to the SMS line about what's gone out of the game that you'd like to see come back. But if Merritt kicks this, it might just be game on.
This would be stunning if the Bombers could get on a roll here. It would be absolutely staggering.
Zach Merritt to keep the Dons in the game. He's got it. It's back to 15 points.
My goodness.
18 minutes into the fourth term. 9-19-73 plays 8-10-58. It does not deserve to be a 15-point margin, but they are alive, Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford.
Well, they signalled their intent, Bob. I'm not sure if you saw it at the last centre restart where their wingers went to the forward edge of the square. They're doing it again. So they signalled their intent to get attacking. Durs was on the half-forward flank edge of the wing line, and it was it really the other side? I can't quite remember who it was. But anyway, they signalled their intent to try and get forward, get numbers ahead of the footy. Lose by 10 or win by 1.
The Bombers had 5 goals to three-quarter time. They booted 3 goals in this final term to North Melbourne's 1-4. All of a sudden, the game becomes interesting. It's like a scary movie you watch for 2 hours, and then you get the cheap thrill at the end, the last 10 minutes. Trembath in the middle. Bryant beaten in the tap. It's taken by Luke Davies-Uniacke. Sends North Melbourne a half forward. Inside 50. Coleman Jones running back with a flight. Coleman Jones, I should say, and it's balled away and out of play in the right forward pocket for the Roos. 45 metres out from their goal. As Redmond made the spoil.
Good spoil, Redmond. He's played a hell of a game for the Bombers, that young man.
Had that injury concern, the meniscus, early in the fourth quarter, but he has been their leading possession getter as it's thrown back into play. Durham can't break away, and the umpire, in fact it was Farrow, had the footy held to his chest to pull it up 45 metres out from the Roos goal.
And they find another one, Essendon, to make this really interesting. Tapped down by Brian. Parrish back feeds it to Durham. Kicks out wide. Caddy marks. Just in the field of play. Caddy thinks about biting off the kick to the corridor. Instead goes down the line. Looking for Alashka. Brings it down. Lands like a cat. Takes off. Feeds the handball to Daywicks. He'll look inside 50. In a good position. Kako. Shut down by Simpkin. Simpkin brings it down. Handball nearly a turnover. The Roos work it out. Sheasel away to Constanti. High kick to half forward. Redmond going back. Doesn't take the mark. Essendon take it back through Mackay. Now Dersma sweeps a handball.
Numbers.
Plenty of Dons. And there to pick it up through Setterfield to McGrath to Farrow. Out to the city side of the ground on the wing. Blackiston pokes it on. Mark taken by Perkins. Crosses the 50. Kicks it to full forward. And misses right. And there was a good chance, but it goes begging. North by 14. Time on fourth term. Essendon surging.
Next goal makes it interesting. As the opportunity goes begging there, Harvey brings the Roos back into play. Into the pocket for Goda. Hand pass away to Luke Parker. Sends it up to the wing. Lemires marks. Is it right half back? The Roos 9-19-73. Essendon 8-11-59. Matt Clinch and Ben Cameron call the action. Lauren Borden on the boundary. Daniel Harford and Bob Murphy, your experts. Lemires up the wing. Dawson in front. Got to the back. Darling can't make the mark. Wardlaw back on there. Tries to slap it forward. Past McGrath. Darling close to the boundary line. Happy to see it out now in front of Parrish and a boundary throw in.
Good, George.
21 minutes gone in the final term.
He's broken just about, George. He's limping.
Yeah, he doesn't look good. Lauren Borden in front of you.
Yeah, beat me to it. Half his left leg is what he's limping on. He looks absolutely exhausted as well, but he's going to go again here.
4 lead changes throughout the afternoon, but the Roos really took control midway through the second quarter. Sharp gets a hand pass away to Parrish. Off balance, his kick is a turnover as Dawson put the pressure on. And Comben sliding in marks for the Roos across half back.
Kicks to Parker. Happy to just take a little bit of time out of this game now, the Kangas. Parker lifts the kick towards the wing and he's able to find Goda. Goda to McKercher. It's infield for Sheasel. It just gets there. Sharp was closing. North still by 14. Handball to Parker. Drills it onto the chest of Dawson.
Again.
And he'll run past. Gives it back to Parker. Parker feeds it to Stevens. Stevens at half forward. Deep kick to full forward for North. Marking contest. Trembath halves it. Wins it at ground level. Gets it out. Spargo runs around a man. Snaps on goal. And calls game. Spargo's got a couple. And he might have just put it beyond reach for Essendon. 10-19-79 plays 8-11-59. 22 minutes into the fourth.
It's almost a goal of mercy there just to put Essendon out of their misery. Just a flicker of hope after being pretty dreadful for the entire afternoon. Essendon still was somehow in the game. Charlie Spargo, nice finish, good snap. Just ends the day for the Bombers.
Spargo with his second of the day. 20-point lead after the Roos got back within after the Bombers got back within 14 points.
Gee, they've broken some tackles today, North Melbourne.
How many tackles for the Bombers this quarter, Benny? I've got 5 on my account.
So that's 12.
That's going to be a bad half.
Is it 5 or 3?
Free kick the Bombers' way. Durham out of the middle of the ground. Kicks towards full forward. Jones couldn't quite hang on to the mark. Surha front and centre. Hand pass chopped up by Pryor. Tackled away by Simpkin. Ball spills out. Still a chance for the Bombers. Pryor gets a hand pass away to McGrath. Jams it on the right boot. Kicks it high inside 50. Caddy came charging out. Couldn't get there. Blamires makes the spoil. Redmond tackled and run down by Stevens. Great chase. And Goda gathers for the Roos. Hand pass away to Simpkin. Chips it across the defensive goal mouth. And Comben marks for the Kangaroos. He can work it out to Blamires, who kept running. He marks it right half back after Kako charges into him.
Gives it off Blamires to Cooper Harvey, who sets it up to the wing. Launching Bryan, doesn't mark down in front, roving Stevens of the Kangas. He gives it off to Colby McKercher, who always just takes off. A couple of bounces, playing on without a plan. Colby McKercher runs past a few, floats it inside 50. Mackay spoils it down. Spargo gathers, dumps it on the left. High ball to the pocket. Larkey drops the mark at the last moment. Mackay bundled over. Live ball in the pocket here for North. And a ball upcoming. Kangas by 20. 24 minutes into the fourth.
Thrown up. Dawson goes up uncontested. Bryan didn't get there in the end. Sullivan Roby gets a hand pass away. Xavier Dersman turned into a tackle from Davies Uniac. Umpire says no prior opportunity. And a ball up in the right forward pocket for the Roos. Thrown up. Bryan wins this tap. Looking for McGrath. Wrestled away from him by Davies Uniac. Took on the tackler. Somehow got it out to Stevens. Not sure how. Turns and kicks a high ball towards Trembath. And Larkey, who almost took the mark, spills out the way of Durham. Hand pass to Redmond. Looks out towards right half forward. Jones is just wide of Zerha. That's enough space to find him at half back.
So Jones wants to kick around the wing. Looking for Sharp. Parker comes across. Impacts. Brings it down. And Goda's there to help him out. Roos ball again onto O'Sullivan, goes back to Parker, back to Blamires, back to Parker. Parker comes infield for Sheasel. North by 20 points. Sheasel goes out wide. Finn O'Sullivan with some running room. He'll kick it deep into the pocket, looking for Darling, and he's got it. Drops the mark at the last minute. Redmond worries him out of it, takes it back for Essendon, and exits the D50 away to Farrow.
That's the right call from the umpire. Didn't grab the ball.
Harry Sheasel with 42 disposals today.
Yep. So 10 in the final quarter.
He's had the easiest day of his life.
Not getting too bogged down by numbers today.
Ridley to half back. Sullivan Roby marks. Isaac Kako's only had the 4 disposals today in his return. McGrath gets the hand pass through the middle of the ground. Farrow trying to be attacking. Chips it over the top. And Caldwell marks. Game 100 for him. He's got Jones leading into the pocket against Zerha, but a little slow to get it moving.
He's going to have more disposals than Essendon have tackles for the game, though.
Caldwell sends it long into the direction of Ridley, who's gone forward, and he's led to the footy by Comben, who takes the mark.
That's a problem.
34 for the game for the Dons. Kick out to Blamires.
And just for reference, how many for the Kangas? 50?
51, yeah. Kick back towards O'Sullivan, and then he turns it over to Pryor. He'll kick it into the pocket looking for Caddy. He got a little lift and takes a great mark. Right over the top of Finn O'Sullivan.
That's a good grab. That is a good grab from a guy that just needs some help. Good launch. On the replay, it's being shown over and over again.
It's got a bit of that Charlie Curnow athleticism, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Does. Where's his number? Grew up idolising him, and understandably so. Caddy's drop punt is as good as the mark. What a finish. His second. And the lead is just 14 points. 27 minutes into the fourth. I'm sure this caddy is asking whether he's at the right club.
Very good for
But
him.
hopefully over the fullness of time it will work out for Nate at Tullamarine. 10-19-79 plays 9-11-65.
37,054 in the house. More than it looks like, must admit.
It's unfortunate we don't get to see more of Nate Caddy in action with a team that plays such slow footy and doesn't get a lot of inside 50s. We don't get to see him in full flight as often as we would like.
So inside 50s, here's a little tidbit for you. 8 in the first quarter, 10 in the second quarter, 5 in the third quarter. They've had 15 in the last. And they've kicked, what have they kicked? 4 goals? 4 goals to 2.
Yeah, to get the inside 50s, you've got to go forward.
Correct.
One of those.
10 Bombers have failed to lay a tackle as McGrath and Bryan combine 1-2. The kick inside 50, Caddy the target. Spoiled away by Aidan Core, and the ball goes out of play. The Bombers with 4 goals, 3 in this final term to North Melbourne's 2-4. The margin at 14 points. So it'll give the Kangas a victory, which will be their 8th of the season, which will be a moment to celebrate, but the result doesn't fill you with confidence as to what they might be capable of. Especially with games against Port Adelaide and Collingwood in the next few weeks before some tougher opponents. Bryan palms it down to the front. Sharp's onto it. Can he squeeze it towards goal? Great desperate pressure from Daniel. Comben on the goal square. Hand pass away back to Caleb Daniel. Clever little chip kick to Stephen, not 15. Back to Daniel. Him into the back pocket. Kicks to McKercher. He marks it half back. They found a way to bind really well there as Stevens kicks up to Tremba, who juggles the mark in front of Blackiston. It's a bit of created as you go, but it did work on that occasion. I guess that leads us into his previous point against the better teams. I don't know if it will.
Trembath kicking for Larkey, but outpointed there by Mackay. Essendon ball again as he goes back inside D50. Bouncing ball for Setterfield. Setterfield exiting kick out towards Merritt. Overshoots him. Now tracking it is Merritt. Gathers, gives it off to Bryant. Gives it back to Merritt. He'll kick Essendon to half forward. O'Sullivan breaks it up. Ball comes down at ground level for Sharp. Hurries a kick inside 50. Bouncing ball. Comben gathers. Handball away towards Harvey. And moves it out to Davies Uniacke and out to Sheasel.
He looks up towards Zerha, who marks centre wing at half-back. And that might just about do the Kangaroos. They're looking tired as well. As Zerha pushes back behind his mark. He can chip it out to Jai Simpkin, who marks at left half-back. The Bombers have run out of dash as the kick over the top to Finn O'Sullivan. And for the first time in 7 years, the Kangaroos record 3 wins on the bounce by 14 points over the Bombers to move up to 9th spot on the AFL ladder. But still some improvement to come for the Roos, while for the Bombers, it's 1 win and 14 losses under Dean Solomon. Still no improvement.
Champions, you'll agree. North Melbourne is the team that plays to win for you and me.
The Kangaroos led by 4 points at quarter time, by 9 points at half time. There were 4 lead changes throughout the first half, and the Kangaroos took control either side of half time. They put in 5 goals late in the second quarter to early in the third to get out by 29 points before the Bombers won the final term with 4 goals to 3. The Kangaroos prevailed by 14 points in front of 37,054 fans.
Good old North Melbourne, they're champions, you'll agree. North Melbourne is the team that plays to win for you and me.
It was a 25-point lead the way of North Melbourne at three-quarter time, and the Bombers with 4-3 to North Melbourne's 2-4 in the final term. The Kangaroos with their 8th win of the season, their best since 2019 as well. 10-19-79 the Kangas with their 8th win of the season. Defeat the Bombers 9-11-65, which for the moment moves the Roos up a spot. Their 8 wins and 7 losses. They move ahead of Collingwood and they're up to 9th spot on the AFL ladder. For the Kangaroos fans, there is a chance to try and celebrate what they have built, but they will need to be a little better in the weeks to come. For the winners, Costanti and Jack Darling both finished with 2 goals, while a couple of late goals as well for Nick Larkey. So Spargo, Darling and Costanti finished with 2 goals. Nick Larkey finished with 1 goal, 5 for this afternoon. Individuals to Davies Uniac and Trembath for the Roos, while for the Bombers, 2 goals to Nate Caddy, 2 goals to Sammy Durham, individuals to, and also 2 goals to El Achka, individuals to Mackay and Arobi. The Kangaroos winners by 14 points. The thoughts of Daniel Harford and Bob Murphy, your experts on ABC Sport.
Well, it ends up being a 14-point win to the Kangaroos, and I don't think that it'll be a song sung by the Kangas in this one with a heap of gusto. There was a 12 to 15 goal victory there on the table for them today, and they just didn't take those opportunities. They weren't able to convert the amount of ball and the amount of play that they had, the control they had over the game. They were never really challenged. I'm not sure if Essendon really asked them too many questions today until the last quarter when they found something briefly. But it was a really troubling performance from the Essendon Footy Club. They might not have the skill level and the quality on the field that North Melbourne did today, but there was a distinct lack of competitiveness and connection, particularly when they were asked to defend, and they were asked to defend for most of the day. 35 tackles, we've talked about that a lot. I don't know how many broken tackles there were, but it would have been something in that vicinity of 35.
There you go, I've got one. 18. Yep.
Felt like 180. They were dreadful. They were dreadful, Essendon.
Yep.
Too slow and too inclined to go backwards with the ball for most of the day, and then just no appetite to stop North Melbourne. That was one of the easiest days of Caleb Daniel and Harry Shea's.
Oh.
They just did as they pleased. They could almost play tomorrow. These North Melbourne boys. They barely brushed up against an Essendon defender for the day. So, bit of a lacklustre game. Kangas get away with a win, but not much more than that, huh?
Yeah, a bit to review, I reckon, for both teams. I couldn't agree more with his sentiments about the Bombers. That was bad. It was bad on so many fronts, and they're not showing any level of intent to grow in this phase where they've really got a clean hit. There's no pressure on them. So this is the time to try a few things. Let's just throw some magnets around, really be aggressive with our ball movement, or put a defensive system in place that actually shows intent and structure, which certainly didn't seem to be today. So I don't know what's happening at the Bombers. It's hard to get a read. But that was ultra disappointing. And for the Kangas, I touched on this at three-quarter time, that I reckon Alistair Clarkson would have quite rightly had a chance to give him a bit of a cook at three-quarter time because of the opportunity that they could have passed up with the way that they were playing. And again, that last quarter, they were outplayed in the last quarter. Essendon won contested possession, they won clearance, they won centre clearance, they won inside 50s, 17-9. They won marks inside 50s when they haven't done that all day. Uncontested possessions, they weren't anywhere near as far off as they were in the first three quarters. So they won. They won the last quarter of the Bombers. So the Kangas have still got a fair bit to review on the back of this too. But you take the W's when you can, and you tick the boxes sometimes that you haven't been able to tick in previous years, and 3 wins in a row is a milestone.
First time since 2019, they've won 3 on the bounce, 10-19-79 to the Bombers, 9-11-65. So when you're at that stage of your progression, Bob, does it matter how you do it, or is it one for Clarko? You take the win and we need to be better, but we'll take what we get.
No, I still think it matters how. I think it was such a glaring gap in their game today because they did a lot well. You know, they showed they showed good defensive intent. There was good chasing. They were tougher around the ball, and the way they moved the ball and spread the Essendon defence was great. It was really they set themselves up to have a big day in the forward half, and they just weren't able to capitalise on it as well. So you get away with it against the Essendon Footy Club today, but as the opposition strengthens, you won't get away with it. So they've got a little bit to tidy up, but winning form is good form. When you're coming up against a club that's won 1 in 28 weeks,
you should.
Yeah, you should. You should win. They did win, but they've got a bit of work to do.
Yep.
But there's some good signs there. That midfield today was dominant, was exceptional.
I tell you, and I've mentioned him a few times, and his old man just jumped in the box to say good day. Cooper Harvey was, I thought he was really good today, Cooper Harvey. Defended really strongly one-on-one, got into offensive mode when he needed to, use the ball pretty well. What did he end up with? Just as a sort of a lockdown defender.
24 disposals.
That's it. I wouldn't imagine Coops had too many more disposals in his career in a game of footy. I'll look that up, but I thought he was really good. It's not just about the numbers, as I said before. I think he's coming along really nicely in that defensive role, and I don't think certainly when he got to the club that they had that envisioned for him, that was going to be his role. But he looked pretty good to me. So there's little wins there. Nick Larkey's goal kicking's got issues. We need to sort that out. That was a
1 goal 5 this afternoon for Nick Larkey, the captain.
Really unusual for Nick Larkey. So there you go. Cooper Harvey just had a look up. His highest career disposals prior to today was 19. So
there you go.
He's had a good day. He's had a career day, the young fella, which is great. Daniel's doing what he likes across half back. Like I can't work out how a player with so much visibility in the competition through his career is this is what Caleb Daniel does, is allowed to do what Caleb Daniel did, not only this week but last week as well. I don't understand that. But there's little wins along the way. I thought Jai Simpkins' role on the wing was good today for the Kingers. Constanti had some moments, but as you sort of touched on before, Bob, it was largely a lacklustre affair with errors galore. And that's the one thing when you look at this and you do have bigger picture conversations about more teams. These guys are handpicked. They are cherry-picked from the crop. These are the guys we need in our team, in our system, in our game to be good. You worry.
They didn't have too many winners today.
You do worry when you look at it from the big picture perspective. That's it. That's the best we've got. That's professional football. I understand there's errors and confidence and all that sort of stuff. I get that. But I leave today, and I hate feeling like this, I leave today feeling a bit despondent as to the state of the game. Not obviously there's been some great games in recent weeks and all that sort of stuff, but gee whiz, this is a bad look for the game.
It's hard to not walk away with that conclusion. The Kangas winners by 14 points from their side of things. They're 8 wins and 7 losses. Moves them from 10th spot up to 9th on the ladder as they make their way down the race. And Lauren Borden will be waiting for them in a few moments' time. So they're in that conversation with sides like Melbourne are in 7th spot. They're a game behind them. The Bulldogs are in 8th. They're 2 points clear of Collingwood, who's in 10th spot. The Gold Coast Suns, who are playing at the moment against Fremantle, who trail in that game. The Dockers 4-5-29 to the Suns 1-4-10. And Port Adelaide, I guess, all the way... Carlton 12th, St Kilda 13th, and the Giants in 14th. So we're in the North sit in that conversation around sides like Melbourne, Western Bulldogs, Collingwood, Suns, Blues.
Well, they're nowhere near Melbourne and the Bulldogs as far as I'm concerned. I mean, they're a game off. But so they're on the ladder, but they're not, in my view. Collingwood they're a 10 to 12 team.
Find out in a fortnight.
Yep. They're a great pressure team. They would kill the Kangaroos on today's performance, just with their pressure. Absolutely. Yes.
Might come back to that in a few moments' time. Sorry, Half. Let's join Lauren Borden down in the winners' rooms.
They have. They've all the players who joined in their circle. They're in and they're ready to sing.
Hearts to hearts and hands to hands. Beneath the blue and white we stand, we shout, God bless our native land. North Melbourne, North Melbourne. How we come to play. Just regress, sex, lost on white. Lost on it's not for ourselves today. North Melbourne was hard to beat when they come out to play. So, join in the chorus and sing it one and all. Join in the chorus, North Melbourne's on the ball. Good old North Melbourne, the champions you'll agree. North Melbourne will be premiers, just you wait and see.
It's a good preamble, isn't it, when you have the full North Melbourne song just for recreational sake? It's a good line. Nick Larkey came in. He high-fived everyone, all the kids that stuck out an arm, so that they're happy coming into these rooms, given it did feel flat out there, ground level, and probably was the appearance of the game to most people watching on TV or listening on the radio. But they are happy with this win, 3 in a row for North Melbourne, and we'll get a little bit of reaction in the room shortly.
Thank you to Lauren Borden. We'll bring you that in a few moments' time. The Kangas winners by 14 points after the Bombers finished with 4 goals to 2 in the final term. So the Kangas in that conversation around teams in the wildcard position. At the moment, you think they're not as good as Melbourne and the Bulldogs in that conversation, but yeah, I guess Collingwood, Carlton, some of the other sides that are in that, break.
Well, St Kilda will beat them.
Suns.
Carlton will beat them. Gold Coast, I'm a bit worried about the Gold Coast, I must admit.
Yep.
So I'll keep them out of the conversation, but they're nowhere near Collingwood, Carlton, St Kilda for me. But they are currently in the spot, and they've got games in hand over all those teams now. Or half a game over Collingwood.
Yep. So their run is Port Adelaide next week, Collingwood in the weeks to follow, and then they have some tougher tests with the game against Melbourne, which Bob circled, that's round 19, St Kilda in round 20, the Hawks round 21, the Bulldogs 22, and the Cats Cats in Sydney, their final 2 games, which will certainly show us where they really are. But for the moment, they are banking the wins. They're 8 wins and 7 losses. Let's join the Kangaroos with Lauren Borden.
Thanks, Clint. In the winning rooms with Finn O'Sullivan, who had a big job today. Firstly, on the win, it's 3 in a row, which is a great job and great to string those wins together for you. Last week was a little ugly. Today wasn't pretty either. What did you make of it out there?
Nah, to be honest, I thought it was a good win. We fought very hard. Sorry, I was dry. We fought very hard. We knew Essendon, they're going to come out and fight them. There's a pretty big rivalry there, so we knew they were going to come out hard, in which they did. So we put the pressure up to them, and just happy to come away with the win.
You're a fairly new player to North Melbourne. Did you know about the rivalry, or is it something that some of the other players have kind of wanted to tell the younger players about? Yeah,
it's brought on pretty early, but I feel like it's just when you go out there, you can realise pretty quick that there's a bit more passion in this particular game. But credit to them. Like they're a pretty good side. They took it to us the whole day, and we just managed to come away with a win, which is huge.
Do you think you could have won by more? You kicked 10-19. You probably had a bit of the run against the Bombers as well for a lot of that match. Could you have won by a bit more than what you did today?
I didn't even know it was 10-19, so there you go. I was talking to Nick Larkey after the game. I think he kicked 1-7, so I'll tell him to go take some few extra shots at training. So, it was all right, though. We fought hard, so, it's good.
I'll send you upstairs now for some more questions from Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford.
Finn, Daniel Harford, mate, well done. 1-5 for Nick Larkey too, just by the way, so you can still give him plenty.
We'll call it 1-7.
Yeah, we'll call it. The way he was kicking, it should have been 1-7. It was all over the shop. But we spoke to Jed Adcock at the start of the game prior to the game about that mid-forward connection. That's been a bit of a battle. Have you had a chance to really try and drill down into that in the last couple of weeks and spend time on it at training, or is it just too hard this with the modern way the training's set up?
We put a lot of effort into that part of the game. It's obviously it's the way a lot of teams are playing, and it's a way that you should be playing, that mid-forward connection, especially the big forwards getting up the ground now. So we'll keep going to work on that. It's not going to come off every game, and today I'll probably say it didn't come off as good as we'd like, but we'll get to work on it, and hopefully we'll get better next week.
What was Clarko's vibe like through the game? Because as Loz said before, it wasn't the most magnificent performance, but you got the job done. What was he like at quarter time, half time, three-quarter time?
Yeah, well, I think we've learned to win ugly, which we've done probably the past 3 weeks, I'd say, and it's not obviously great from the viewers' point of view, but it's pretty hard out there. So we're doing the best we can. We're trying our guts out, and hopefully we'll just string together a bit easier the next half the season. But we'll keep getting to work on it. Clarko's really good. He's real positive out there at quarter time and half time, and his messaging stays very consistent. It's just use your numbers, first 3 steps, get out, and support the contest. So I felt like we did that today.
No, I think you did that component of the game really well, especially getting out of contest and using the numbers. That was good from you guys today. I'm interested, what did Zach Merritt say to you when you rocked up next to him at the start of the game after your round 3 stoush?
Not too much. He's a ripping fella. He's actually from down my way, which is like southwest Victoria, so there's a bit of connection there, but he's a ripping fella. He's obviously a gun of the game, and highly respect him, and he definitely got on top of us today, which good players do. So There's a bit of chair, but yeah, no, nothing too serious.
Finn, Bob Murphy here, mate. Well done on the win and well done on your performance. I just want to ask you about Cam Zurhaar, who has made a name for himself in the competition as that medium size roaming forward, and now we're seeing him at half back and sort of up on the wing on occasion. Do you see that as his new role, or is it just a short-term little Clarko plan before we see him back forward?
Yeah, thanks, man. He's standing right next to me, so I might talk a bit louder here. But no, he's such a selfless player. He puts his hand up for the team. It's a pretty hard role, I think. He's as you said, medium to tall size. Obviously a bigger body, but he usually gets that third tall, or if he goes back, he's usually got that third tall again. So very selfless player. Puts his body on the line, week in, week out. And I feel like it's such an asset for us. That we've got him. So he's obviously really highly respected at the club, and he's such an asset for us. So yeah.
Great to have Finn O'Sullivan joining us from the North Melbourne Rooms. We spoke about Josh Goda and his return to AFL footy, 834 days on the sideline. What was it like, his personal journey to get that reward and get back to AFL level?
Oh, mate, it's so good. It's it's been such a journey for him, so many ups and downs, which is probably the hardest bit. I think he'd take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. It was such a difficult 2 years for him, but it just shows the character he is. Just never gives in. Puts as you saw today, puts his head over the ball. Very courageous, takes the game on, and I'm sure we'll see a lot more games out of him the next half of the season and into the future.
So we're just debating before we caught up with you. North Melbourne are 8 wins and 7 losses. We're trying to sort of get a read as to where you sit. You move up to 9th on the AFL ladder, and in theory you're just a game outside the top 4, and yet it feels like 10 goals, 19 today. There's probably a bit of work to be done to be able to compete with those top sides. Where do you feel like this current North Melbourne side is for a player who's in their second season?
Yeah, definitely a lot of work to do. No denying that. But we're so keen to be up this far still in the season. I think it's been about eight years now that we've got through halfway through the season. You're still alive, so it's pretty thrilling for us, and we can't wait to get to training this week. And I don't know who we have next week, but I'm sure Port Adelaide. Yeah, well there you go. They played an absolutely whipping game last night, so it'll be a huge game for us. I think they'll kind of show us where we're at. So it'll be great over there.
Finn, congratulations on your win, and thanks for your time post-game. Enjoy next week's challenge against the Power.
Thanks very much, guys. Cheers.
Finn O'Sullivan joining us after North Melbourne's 14-point win, 10-19-79 to the Bombers, 9-11-65. Probably the talking point of the game is going to be the score review, the arc after last night's blunder in the showdown. We had a couple of moments this afternoon where it took over a minute to try and work out what the right outcome is. The wrestle between, do we want to use technology to stop the game to get the perfect result? And the one which allowed Nate Caddy, so Mason Redmond had it right half forward, long kick towards the goal square. We're trying to work out whether it came off a body, whether it cleared the line. In the end, the soft call from the umpire was a goal off Nate Caddy off the goal line. Do you feel like these sort of issues are resolving themselves, or it's more heading towards a flashpoint that we're going to have a moment that's going to define a season?
Well, it feels like we're heading to a flashpoint. Today it was overly cautious. I think after the first one that seemed a bit odd. Then the next few were worthy to work through. They were pretty difficult to call in the moment. So no real issue with it. But just broadly speaking, it seems like we're a fair way off nailing it.
Well, we had the incident with... were we doing the game, or was it a Saturday Arvo game?
We were doing it.
Yeah, when Rowan Marshall marked it at the Coventry end of the ground. Play went on for 9 a minute. It was on the wing. It had gone out of bounds. It had been thrown back in. Then it was called back. So we had that. We said we don't want that. But then yesterday what we had was still 20 seconds between the ball crossing the line, a free kick being paid to Ben Keys. Ben Keys faffing about, as the players do, getting ready to take his free kick. Not his fault, just taking his time getting ready.
Yep.
And they still hadn't identified it in that time. Like that should be an appropriate period of time where they can say, hang on, we're checking this. Like, that's just a miss.
I've got a question for you, and it's relevant, not just digressing. What's happened to the chip technology conversation?
I believe it's done.
Gone by the wayside.
What's happened?
Chips off the table.
We've got AI controlling the world, running businesses, running machines like never before, and we can't get a chip and a ball to work out whether it's across the line or not. Are we serious?
Apparently it's not happening.
It'd be pretty hard to tell if it was touch, though, wouldn't it?
Well, that's where
I've got a bit more faith in the chip, Benny, than you do.
Yeah, I think I might too. This technology we've got around the world, it's very, very good. Surely we can apply it. Now, it's not going to be a massive commercial revenue model because it's a limited game here in Australia, but surely there should be investment in it.
I think if you asked Iran, Egypt, there's probably still some work to be done in world sport, but the question is for our sport, are we making the job easier or harder by bringing in technology? We're better off backing in our umpires and our goal umpires and saying, you know what, we'll concede the technology isn't up at this stage to be able to deliver what we want. So,
but let's be real. If we do that, like we'd have what happened last night, we'd all look at it and go, we can see on a replay, as clear as day, that's crossed the line. Why are we not using the technology that's there?
Well, then we have to, if that's the case,
we would.
You're right. But if that's the case, then we have to accept that there's going to be delays in the game and just know that's a part of the course and just understand it and say, okay.
But like
I think that's the conversation that has to happen tomorrow. What are we not willing to put up with? And that'll allow us to answer what we want to.
But we've had that conversation. Greg Swan went on AFL 360 and said, look, if it's 15 to 20 seconds, that's a reasonable period of time. We don't want what we have with the Rowan Marshall one. We don't want a minute. We want sort of that 10, 15, 20-second mark, which is what last night should have fitted into. But it didn't happen. So why didn't that happen?
So are we not resourced enough in the arc to have enough people there looking at enough things quickly? Because you need to do this quickly, right? That's what we need to do. In that scenario in particular, when the game's still in motion, you've got to have someone being aware of that really quickly and being able to access information really quickly. Now, you should be able to do that. You should be able to do that if you're resourced.
A lot of should today, isn't there? It's a big day for should.
If you resource that correctly, in the modern world, you should be able to do that. So that's the issue. And then, it's a bit of a sidebar, we seem to be focusing and worrying about things that don't really need to be worried about. Like this whole man kicking over the mark and...
that was an odd one today.
Logan Morris on the other night, Thursday night.
Yep.
The Watson one here a couple of weeks ago, Nick Watson.
But again, we're
worrying about stuff that doesn't really matter.
No, but it's the
coming things.
The problems cascade into one another. So what happens is we've introduced the stand rule.
Yes.
So that the player on the mark has to stand.
Yes.
And so then the player comes in to kick for goal, but it's after the siren. And we see Isaiah Dudley go, well, it's after the siren. What I'll do is I'll run to virtually alongside him, a metre behind him, because I'm right on the edge of my range, and I'll kick around him. He doesn't kick over the man on the mark.
Yes.
So then they go, that's a problem. We hadn't thought of that. We better make it that you got to kick over the man on the mark. So then they bring in that rule. And then we have Logan Morris, who tries to snap from the inside of what would be over the man on the mark. And they say, you haven't kicked over the man on the mark. So they go, geez, we've changed all of these rules and created all these problems, haven't really thought about what the outcomes might be, and now we're in a real pickle.
An easy fix.
Stop changing the rules?
Well, that's the problem. No,
Control-Alt-Delete.
For those players that are claiming they're having a shot at goal, they'll go on the mark and move.
That's what I thought. I suggested that.
Why would you be able to do that?
I suggested that to Ray Chamberlain when we were...
What did Razor say?
He said, it's another rule change.
No, it's not. It's going back to what it was. It's not a change. It's actually an
it's a Control-Alt-Delete.
It's an erosion of the rule. It's a Control-Alt-Delete.
So if they're having a shot, the man on the mark can move. Yeah.
Man on the mark. If you're having a shot for goal, man on the mark can move. Takes away it all.
It is a lightning rod at a time where we have less games, so there's more time to talk about this sort of stuff. And I'm sure it's going to be a talking point in the next couple of days. The Kangaroos winners by 14 points over the Bombers, 10-19-79 to Essendon, 9-11-65. Despite the Bombers kicking 4-3 to North Melbourne's 2-5 in the final term, they got back within 14 points before the Kangaroos finished with a goal after that. And... the last goal, courtesy of Nate Caddy, his second. So I guess the broader conversation is going to be around the Bombers and, they're, as you touched on half throughout the call, their tackling intent, 51-35 for the game. Dean Solomon came in with the objective of trying to make them more competitive, to try and convert some of that hope into something that was tangible and a game plan that could be seen. And yet the question comes back to that last game in which Brad Scott coached, where they lost to the Tigers, who are the 17th place team, and the Bombers are the 18th place team. Are they better progressed some 5 weeks later, 4 games under Dean Solomon? On the evidence of today, it was harder to see.
Not on today's evidence. They haven't progressed at all. But as one of our SMSs picked up earlier, that game against Carlton, they played like their lives depended on it. And this was a very different team. They were fantastic that night. They got beaten by 10 points or whatever it was. But they were fantastic with their endeavour. there was nothing fantastic about their endeavour today. Coming off the bye, and we've seen most teams, check me if I'm wrong, we've seen most teams put up a pretty good fight out of the bye this year, have they? Comparatively, from what they probably should have done against the teams they're up against?
Was North's game against Freo out of the bye? Was that after the bye, I think?
I don't know. Well, they would fit the bill too, as being a non-off-the-bye team. But I think most teams that, when I looked at teams coming off the bye, most teams have put up a good fight. There was nothing in this performance from Essendon.
It's a long way from home if they play soulless footy like that.
Yeah.
They got away with 14-point loss today. It looked like a 80-point flogging.
Yeah. It was the worst 14-point loss I've ever seen.
It was horrible. And this is, we talk about the herd banners on the concourse as you were walking in.
Redemption it was. That was the big banner.
Was that what it was?
It was a big banner.
Should have just burst through it, Bob.
Ran at it. Redemption and then the big number 5. I'd never seen that outside a stadium before.
But it's all about getting Essendon's spirit back to Essendon. This was the whole Dean Solomon take over Essendon's spirit back to Essendon.
But I don't think the problems can be fixed by spirit. If you look at the way they played today.
Well, the spirit would be a nice starting place.
Yes, I guess so.
It would be a nice
doesn't matter what game plan you've got if you've got to actually try. Yeah. Like, you can try and then really try.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what they always... Lee Matthews always says game plan's worth about 5%. It might be the last 5%, but I agree with you, Bob. They're trying, but I don't know if they're really, really trying. Like, Brendan Goddard used to always use that phrase with us, and he would speak about when he was at St Kilda, their GPS would have faster and harder defensive running numbers than when they had the ball. Like, that's really trying, but it does seem a little...
That was my comment around when you watch them defend. They have this air of, do I have to? You see a lot of now I'll go. Oh, now I have to go. Really good teams, they can't wait to do it for their teammates. Like, they're looking for an opportunity to help their teammate and off-ball run or impact the lead-up. The Essendon at the moment, is it my man? I'll go now. It's like, too late.
Yeah,
there's just almost. So they're trying, but it's not to the level that, not anywhere near the level of good teams.
I use the analogy of the bacon and eggs. And we've talked about the bacon and eggs.
We love this.
The chicken's involved, right? Yeah. She's involved. She's giving us something, giving us something with the eggs. We need the eggs for bacon and eggs. But the pig's committed. like the pig.
Yep.
The pig is committed.
You want
giving a pizza.
You want a good breakfast? I'll give you everything I got.
I'll give you everything I got. Just take a piece of that. You've got to be committed. You can't just be involved in this game. You've got to be committed. Don't be the chicken, be the pig.
Robert Walls gave us that speech back in 2002.
Robert Walls?
He's at... what's that pasta joint in North Melbourne? Dom Camillo's.
Dom Camillo's,
So couldn't be any more early 2000s. And it was inspiring and pretty scary.
Who was the group?
It was the
Bulldogs.
Yeah. So it must have been...
He was presenting on behalf of who?
Peter, maybe, was it either would have been Plough or would have been Peter Road that got Wolsey down. I'm not sure the connection there.
Yeah, right.
But, Wolsey. And he kept staring at Craig Ellis the whole time, who'd just been rubbed out, and Wolsey'd been pretty critical of him. There was a lot of tension in that room that day between those two.
What was the desired effect afterwards? Did it work?
As I recall, those weren't winning days.
The road era didn't finish too well.
Sort of relucted to ask. But,
you know why? Because you had too many chickens.
Too many chickens.
Not enough pigs.
Yeah, I was barely toast at that point.
So the Kangas winners by 14 points over the Bombers. Regardless of who ends up as their next coach, there's plenty of questions still, isn't there?
Yep, there is.
Whether it's Hurd, Solomon or someone else.
Yeah, they've got a hell of a lot of work to do. And system is one thing, but that spirit conversation is really relevant, I reckon, for them. And I know it's hard. It's been a horrible place to be, I'm sure, to be a player. 1 in 20, is it 1 in 28 now?
Yeah.
Go to work every week knowing you're going to suck on the weekend. That's rough. That's rough.
Yeah, but if you don't like it, change it.
Well, that's right. It's a choice. You have a choice here. You do something about it, or you just go with it and just be rubbish for it.
Well, Mason Redmond has the right attitude.
Yep.
Can be done.
Him and Durham.
Yeah, there's guys out there who are properly having a go, but there's a few who are picking and choosing.
Mason Redmond had 29 disposals.
He was fantastic tonight.
19 uncontested.
Played sore.
12 marks, 1 inside 50, 563 metres and 3 score involvements. McGrath with 26, Farrow with 26, Durham with 25, Parrish with 25, Zach Merritt with 22. Sullivan Roby was one who went into the centre square in the final quarter half. He picked that up, 18 disposals. Had a couple of clearances in that final term as well. So he was given that new role and kicked a goal as well. But as you look further down the page, there was plenty of players who struggled to have too much of an impact on the match.
Caldwell back in just with a 12. Kako only had the 4. He was nowhere near it. Didn't see him all day. And poor old Caddy, he's not a guy that you look at his numbers much, but just opportunity you want for him, and he didn't get any opportunity. Inside 50s for the day was 40. Like, it's just good luck winning games of footy with 40. Now, they're number 18 in the comp, so it's a problem, full stop. So that's not just today. It's a consistent problem for them. But good luck. Good luck. Let alone, in one stage, like the last quarter, Ben Mackay went down back. Yep. He's been playing forward, went down back just to get a kick, I reckon, just to get involved, touch the footy. Because the ball's just never there.
Harry Sheasel finished with 43 disposals. He had 4 clearances, 8 tackles, 12 marks, 335 metres gained and 15 score involvements. He was the leading score involvement player on the ground. Caleb Daniel had 12 with his 40 disposals. So back-to-back 40 disposal games for Caleb Daniel. He went at 100% kicking efficiency.
How many kicks do you have? 24.
24.
That's a good effort.
All right.
There wouldn't be too many guys get over 20 kicks and have 100%.
He's not a take the safe option.
No.
Hey.
Caleb little dart man too.
Finn Callahan had one the other week. He had, I reckon, 20-odd kicks and over 100%. There was a note from...
Over 100%? That's a good effort. That's a good day.
That's good kicking.
I meant over 20 kicks. 100%.
Imagine coming in. How'd you go? Okay, went at 106%.
I think for all the teachers out there, that's when you know the child has some...
That is A+.
I want Essendon to give 110%.
You know when Jack Darling was at your school in year 8, did he punch you up a lot?
He took a massive hanger over me. People still speak about it. I was going back with courage.
Did it affect your mathematical
I think it did. Maths never been a strong suit. 6 times tables, very good.
Yeah.
The rest, less.
72.
And that's probably fair to say around the pressure. He's not answering. The pressure that Essendon delivered at various stages of the game. Daniel with 40 disposals. But all that matters is whether they featured in the votes for the ABC Footballer of the Year, whose responsibility this afternoon it is.
I think it's me.
I think it's half.
Definitely me. Yeah. What a day.
I'll be hovering. I'll be hovering with some input and just
how
a
lucky
bit of a vibe
was I?
check.
It's halftime in Perth. The Dockers 4-7-31 to the Suns 1-5-11. So after a relatively positive start by the Fremantle Dockers, they kicked 4 goals to 2 behinds in that first quarter. They managed just 3 behinds. The Suns 1 goal 3 in the second quarter.
Righto, 1 vote goes to Mason Redmond.
Yes.
Yep. Get him in.
This is going to happen again, where you and I, osmosis, psychosomatically, in tune.
Mason Redmond gets 1, 29 disposals, but he fought hard. He was doing everything, rebounding from half-back, getting balls inside forward 50.
Tried his guts out.
Working his backside off. He had spirit. And almost on that alone, you can get a vote when you play for Essendon at the moment. He was very good, Mason Redmond. Well done to him. 2 votes to Harry Sheasel. Thought he was good. Provided a lot of drive. Didn't have to work too hard a lot of the afternoon, but he kept showing up. And the thing that I loved about Harry's game today, which I haven't necessarily seen and too much of throughout his time, but it's growing, is his ability to keep going in the chain, which he would often kick and stop or handball and stop. Now he's getting involved in multiple phases of the chain. I think that's a really positive thing for his game, let alone his team. And I thought he was fantastic. 43 is a good number, but it's the way he did it. And he defended better today, I reckon. He pushed back hard to help out and get back as a support number in the defensive 50 for the Kangas when they had the ball in that zone. So Harry gets 2, and I'm giving 3 to Luke Davies-Uniacke. I thought he was the real driver today. What do you end up with in terms of clearances? Don't care about his numbers. What do you have?
10 clearances, 6 centre bounce clearances, and his 25 disposals at 100% kicking efficiency.
He was the game breaker. Good effort, 100% kicking efficiency for him. He's not necessarily the most pristine kick, but I just think he was the game breaker for the Kangas this afternoon. He drove them forward. He got them out of the trouble so many times. There's a lot of other guys could have got some votes today, I think, but he was the game breaker. So he was the point of difference as far as I'm concerned. And on my view, a worthy winner of the 3 votes today. 25 disposals, 10 clearances, 6 out of the centre, and a goal. Forgot about that. 11 tackles too. There you go. 10 clearances and 11 tackles. Didn't even look at them before I gave him the votes. So he was working both sides of the ball really well today for the Kangas. Best player on the ground.
No complaints from me.
It's not often you get 43 and you miss out on the 3, but you've won me over. Luke Davies-Uniacke gets the 3 votes from Daniel Harford in the ABC Football of the Year, 2 to Sheasel and 1 to Redmond.
Don't get seduced by numbers, matey.
Kangaroos, 14-point win over the Bombers in front of 37,054 fans. Just repeating, Freo by 20 points at half-time. For some of our listeners, you'll be returning to the network, so if you want to tune into that for the second half, of course, everything is available on ABC Listen, as is the NRL coverage, the cricket tonight as Australia takes on India in the Women's T20 World Cup from the UK. You can catch it all on ABC Listen. It doesn't cost you. You just have to download it, and then the power is at your fingertips. I guess some of the other talking points for the round as round 16 comes to a close. I mean, Zach Butters and his display last night for Port Adelaide, winning a second showdown medal. Was chatting with Cameron Ling today on AFL Sunday. It feels a lot like Patrick Dangerfield when he departed the Crows. Give us everything you've got, and then if you do decide to return home, well, it's hard to begrudge what you are doing. But the passion in which he played with alongside Jason Horne-Francis last night, I mean, one of the upsets for the ages in terms of showdown history as Port Adelaide prevailed and denied the Crows a chance to move to 4th on the AFL ladder.
Well, he gives a lot, Zach Butters, doesn't he? And that rivalry, it gives a lot as well. It just keeps on giving.
Yep.
Huge win by Port Adelaide.
Yeah, fantastic. Josh Carr's doing a hell of a job. I had them as bordering on basket case this year. They are not that. They've got a lot of work to do, no doubt. But he you know what he gets him to play with?
Heart, soul,
spirit. They were very good. Bad loss for the Crows. That could come back to absolutely bite them on the backside. But I must admit, I know it was an upset, a big upset, but I wasn't necessarily surprised. In that game, often the underdog gets up in that game. It's a great rivalry.
Yeah, Port are good enough.
Not as much as you think. I did the numbers on this today, which surprised me. So ladder position going into the showdown.
Yeah.
25% the team lower on the ladder has gone on to win.
That's a big ratio, isn't it?
Q Clash 31%, Battle of the Bridge 33%. Not as big a sample size in those rivalries, but yeah, Derby's 19. That's a faux rivalry.
No, that's not a rivalry. No.
Yeah. No. 25 is pretty big, I guess. 1 in 4.
1 in 4 for an upset, for an underdog. I reckon it's better than normal, I would think.
Okay.
I would think.
Yeah, probably. That's if you're lower, you're not expected to win. Yeah. So this is why we often talk about the dead cat bounce with coaches, and we talk about it like, they've won half the time with the dead cat bounce. That's not very often, or as often as we feel like it happens. It's like, well, they've taken over a pretty ordinary team generally.
Yeah, there's a reason why.
There's a reason why the coach has just been sacked.
There's a reason.
So for the Adelaide Crows, it's a quick turnaround. We've got a double header again on Friday night. So Sydney and the Western Bulldogs. The Crows travel to Perth to take on the West Coast Eagles. So it's a chance for them to try and respond after a disappointing loss to Port Adelaide. And for Matthew Nicks, the concerns around Isaac Rankin with that knee injury will be the one concern. Good news for Mitch Georgiades with the match review officer. No case to answer for that bump that took place last night. The round kicks off with Thursday night footy, Geelong and Brisbane from down at the Cattery. Big wins for the Magpies yesterday over the Tigers. It was a cold afternoon, but Collingwood did what they had to do against the Tigers, while the Fraser train continues on for Josh Fraser. 6 consecutive wins. They take on the Tigers next week, so a chance to make that 7.
So they'll go from 1 and 7, or 1 and 8 to 8 and 8.
Potentially 8 and 8. So as it stands at the moment, Collingwood sit in 10th spot, 7 wins, 7 losses and a draw. The Blues are in 12th spot, 7 wins and 8 losses. Those two could be heading towards a wildcard meeting, but the run gets tougher for the Blues after that match next week. So that's when we'll find out really as to how much this team has improved. Under Josh Fraser, there's been comparisons around their defence, which is now up to the top 4 in the competition. But after that, it's Hawthorn, Collingwood, the Suns, Brisbane, St Kilda, the Bulldogs and the Dockers on the run home.
Yeah, it's a challenging back end of the season, so we'll find out who they are.
Who would you prefer to be in the shoes of at the moment, Collingwood or the Blues? Blues are playing better footy. Collingwood have got some holes.
Yeah, no, I think Carlton. And can you imagine yourself saying that a month ago?
Well, at least you didn't tip them to finish bottom of the ladder.
Like you did.
Well, so was I right or wrong? I mean, legitimate question, because I'm getting a lot of feedback weekly from Carlton supporters going, yeah, well, you were wrong about us. Was I?
You should have factored in that the coach would be sacked and there would be a monumental
I was so right, now I'm so wrong.
To stop the fight when the coach gets sacked, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a fair conversation.
Certainly if it gets to court proceedings, the feedback, that's what I will be putting forward as Exhibit A.
I think once he gets sacked, he can stop the fight. You win.
For what it's worth, I think you're right, Bob.
Thanks, Benny boy.
So probably the best game of round 17 next week is the early game on Saturday. Hawthorn take on Melbourne from Launceston. So the Hawks in third position. The good news is Nick Watson has been cleared of serious injury, but whether they'll risk him next week, and the Demons looking to try and, well, they're not at the MCG, so that's where it becomes a bit more challenging, but Hawthorn is a good test for them.
Yeah, that should be good fun. We like the way the Demons play, and the Hawks are in pretty good form. It was an ugly game Friday night, wasn't it? Hawthorn and Giants. It was an ugly game of football.
And the D's coming off their bye.
Oh, well, who knows how they'll go. It's an interesting... I would have thought perhaps if you had your perfect world glasses on, that they'd play the Giants in Tassie and they'd play the D's at the G.
Yep.
As opposed to the other way around.
There is a reason as to why they're playing that game there. I can't remember it, though, and the construction taking place, so they can only get a crowd of about 5,500 in. So it's going to be well watched on TV and listened to on radio, but they won't probably get the crowd in which it deserves. But Hawthorn's midfield with Will Day back is a different beast.
Well, he makes Newcombe better. There's not as much expectation on John Newcombe to go and dominate, which he's more than capable of doing. But to have a Robin to a Batman.
There are some players that come in, and whatever they are in terms of the units of what they produce, that's what you get. And there are other players like Will Day. You get what he gets you, and also the effect it has on those around it can.
Yep. And what it's
multiply.
What it's done for their scoring from centre bounce is astronomical. It was 10 goals or something on the weekend for the Giants, 10-1. Out of centre bounce or stoppage or something, one of the stats. And his ability to influence centre clearance is phenomenal. He's a bit of a special player. Will Day, actually. I quite like watching him.
All right, so that brings our coverage to a close. It all kicks off next weekend. Thursday night footy, Geelong and Brisbane. Can the Lions back up what they did on Thursday night? We shall see as they head down to the Academy.
Game.
Thank you, Half. Thank you, Bob, for your contribution. We'll hear you on ABC 774 Melbourne tomorrow. Benny and Half with the podcast tomorrow on your way to work. Thanks to Lauren Borden and Jules Hayes. Back at base to Stu Birchmore at the back of the box. The Roos by 14 points. They record 3 consecutive wins for the first time since 2019. 10-19-79 to Essendon 9-11-65. On local radio, some of you are off the